You're watching TBPN. Today is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. We are live from the Palace of Party Rounds. Oh my God. It's YC Demo Day. Welcome to our YC Demo Day stream.
That is insane.
We have Gary Tan joining us. Wow, you absolutely destroyed my laptop. That is insane. We brought lots of party favors. We brought lots of activities for when we talk to founders
chaotic.
who are doing extremely amazing things. If that's going off every time a founder hits $1 million in ARR or signs a term sheet, I think we are going to be up to our necks in confetti.
We got a lot of action.
We got a lot of
here,
confetti.
folks.
We got some gifts we're going to be giving out. We got some surprise gifts, some hats. We're going to take you all through it. Gary Tan, welcome to the stream.
There he is.
Here
What's
he
going
is.
on?
The president of Y Combinator, Gary Tan, good
Brothers.
to see you.
Great to
Thank
see
you
you.
so
Always
much
great
for
to
hopping
see
on.
y'all.
There's a line around the block still.
Yeah.
Is that right?
People
Yeah.
are pumped.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's absolutely slammed. Take us through, what are you seeing? How's this one going? What's actually changed? Because we're in a different location.
Yeah,
Not
we're
intentional.
literally
Break it all down.
in the middle of, this is like our HQ, you know?
Yeah.
This is, we got the spring batch together. This is the first spring batch that we've ever done.
So it's X25 now?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Paul Graham doesn't like X,
Okay,
so
what
we're
are we gonna
slowly
do?
replacing it with spring.
Spring? Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
You know, when you create a place like this, I think you
Yeah.
get to dictate little things like,
Sure.
not
Yeah.
liking X.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a legend.
So we got to write out spring.
Okay.
But, I don't know. What do you think it should be? It could be P. Maybe if it's not
Yeah.
X, it's pronto.
Well, do we have to go back
in
to like a
French.
mathematical
Yeah.
notation for this stuff?
Maybe,
Bring
yeah.
in some like different, we have the Y Combinator algorithm.
That's
we need
right.
a different algorithm to define the different seasons.
I think
That's right.
just full word.
Full word,
Winter, spring, summer,
25.
fall.
Yeah.
Summer, fall.
Well,
It's
I mean,
clean. It's
the
clean.
the energy from the founders is really electric. Honestly, it's insane.
Seems fantastic.
Like downstairs, we got a. Well, the fun thing about hosting all of the investors in our house
Yep.
is that I got a whole "Whose house? Our house" chant downstairs. So we got
Give
the.
us an overview of the. We heard a little bit of your talk earlier, but give us kind of a breakdown of how you introduced today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dude, it's like 90% AI. It's about 10%, 11% hard tech,
Okay.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then the really crazy stat is, how the last 4 batches, about the last year, the batch itself as a whole has been growing revenue by 10%. This time it's 12.
Wow.
There we go. There we go.
So we're actually inflecting up, and
That's
that,
amazing.
that's what you would expect. We're in the middle of the age of intelligence.
Yep.
6 months ago, 9 months ago, the models were 90 IQ. And, then they were 110. Now they're about 130.
Yeah.
We're sort of entering super intelligence zone.
Yeah.
And
4-digit IQ incoming.
yeah, that's right.
1,000. I don't even want to talk to that. It's
But,
intimidating, but yeah, probably very valuable.
I thought Sam's essay yesterday was
Very
just
cool.
Yeah.
very prescient
I liked it
in
a
that, that's sort of the silver lining. Like everyone's sort of worried, what's going to happen to the jobs. Like to me, what's going to happen is the exact. It's actually an opening,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Like. The wild stat that we're seeing is actually the number of 18 to 22-year-olds applying to YC and getting it is up 110%.
Wow.
Incredible.
Year on year,
People.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Is that driven by people liking to drop out of college or skipping college entirely? Is that because they're viewing college as kind of like, there was always a meme about like, you put YC in the education section of your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh wait, no, YC could actually be the replacement. Is that intentional?
Well, the
What do you
extreme
think about
meme
that?
here
Yeah.
that is interesting to think about. Like, I don't believe this,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the memes among the 18 to 22-year-olds in particular is this might be the last time you can start businesses.
Oh, interesting.
Because once super intelligence hits, then the moats that the businesses that will exist will sort of ensconce like the 7 powers of the moats out there.
Sure. They're
and
just
then it'll be
maximally efficient.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
they
And
just
so-
reach
Yeah.
their terminal value immediately and maintain it forever.
So you're trying to get
Very,
network
very
effects. You're
fancy.
trying to build.
Yeah.
We're trying to get brand.
Yeah.
You're trying to get a cornered resource.
Sure.
And then the wildest thing here is that, this perfect. Someone was telling me yesterday. Right now, if you look at college grads, the rate of unemployment for CS grads is actually 2x that of art history majors.
That is
I have
crazy.
not looked this up yet.
Yeah,
so,
I heard that
Everybody's
too.
been quoting that. We've heard that too. We
Yeah,
talked about it.
there might just be something crazy going on with art history
It's
majors. They
ChatGPT
found some
hallucinating.
hack.
Yeah.
They found some hack, and they're all getting employed. It's full employment for them. Very interesting. Question on the AI side. How are the companies feeling about the current battle between little tech and big tech? What we saw with WWDC, it feels like Apple's kind of retreating from some territory. We could be seeing more
And creating opportunities for developers.
For like mobile
Yeah.
apps. We could see another mobile app boom because Apple's saying, hey, look, maybe we're not the company to build every single AI experience on the iPhone. We're seeing new hardware maybe come from OpenAI.
That'd be
There's
great.
different stuff going on with open source. What's the interplay between the average YC company and the Mag 7 right now?
Oh, I mean, the good thing is we still have, we have net neutrality.
Yeah.
So, and that thing we have 7 companies in the mega tech world.
Yep.
But you know what? Like anyone can just put something on the internet and they get distribution,
Yep.
right? So I think that the most important thing right now that I think all of us should really be considering is we need platform neutrality, right?
Yeah.
The second that today you open your Siri and you don't get to choose, do I want Perplexity, do I want
This is good
do I
tech.
want ChatGPT on there?
Yeah.
No, like that. This is actually the next sort of unfolding that needs to happen.
Sure.
Like we actually need the platforms to allow other people to
Yeah.
enter. But if we do that, we can actually have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of companies, each of which can get to $1 billion net revenue.
Yep. Totally.
And like you could do it probably with 10 people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you link up these two super mega trends, like that's the future that we want to live
Yeah,
in,
yeah, yeah.
right? Like you can be 18 to 22. You
Yeah.
know, you don't necessarily have to go in. Like the credential matters a lot less. You know what matters now? It matters. Your agency and your taste.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like go and get anyone's
in
permission
the nature
for
of
that.
LLMs, you could actually get a better tutor from an LLM than you could from at times working under somebody at some big company who would maybe explain, here's how you make a financial model for a software company. But now you could just talk enough with ChatGPT that you
Yeah.
can probably figure it out even better than having like a mentor in
Yeah.
some cases.
I want to ask about applying to YC. Have you noticed that the apps are becoming more GPT driven? Are people using AI to write their apps? Do you recommend against that? What do you think?
I mean, if anything, like I think the best apps, in the past we might say, oh, this is AI slop. I
Yep.
think because the models are now smart enough, like my writing process, for instance, has totally changed
Yeah.
to this point. Like I am, you're actually able to come up with better ideas, I think.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I would rather people actually prompt to get like all of the ideas out there. One of the things I've been using in ChatGPT lately is like, give me 10 options for different concepts or ideas that might fit here.
Yeah.
And then what I'm doing is I'm using my prompting to do that.
Yep.
And then on the back end, it'll give me like 10 things. 5 of them make no sense.
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them in my brain, I'm like,
That's it.
I didn't think about
Yeah.
that. That actually is a useful thing that I can put in with these other concepts that are in my head.
Yeah.
And so I think it's actually, the computer is a bicycle for the mind. Like
Yeah.
if you can prompt really, really well, using it you have to treat it like a vehicle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It is not a destination of its own. It's actually, this is like the self-driving car for the mind.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even just
Yeah, or treat it
YC
like a
app
coworker.
review.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that matters is the end output.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you're working on any type of project, not working with a smart collaborator is
Yeah.
going to lead to a worse output.
Yeah, and
And O3
condensing
Pro is-
down condensing down these ideas, because I've read a lot of apps where it's like, wow, there's actually like some really incredible KPIs in here, but you buried it in paragraphs of exposition that were completely unnecessary. And I know that the people that are actually reviewing the YC apps are not going to read this
Yeah.
far. And so just having it as a co-pilot seems like a really, really good.
How have you and the other group partners pushed to guide the batch around reporting on revenue, right? There's a lot of conversation around what is ARR? It's sort of
Yeah.
this flexible definition.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of pressure for every founder coming into demo day to like show results. How do you guys kind of guide
Yeah,
founders
absolutely.
on
I mean,
reporting?
what we'd like people to do is put contracted ARR if it is, and then if it has an opt-out clause where people can sort of get out, they should just have a little star on it, and
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
opt out at 30 days or whatever.
Sure.
I think it is very, very important that founders are just don't engage in securities fraud. It's like kind of a basic thing,
Yeah.
right? So I think that it is the amazing thing about the tech today is like the demos are so impressive that people are willing to take a big chance.
Big companies are willing to sign up for big deals.
Yeah.
And they obviously want some flexibility, but being really clear about that. I mean, these are non-GAAP metrics.
That's right.
There is some gray area, but we need to define new metrics as we move forward.
Are you seeing companies able to pivot more times within a single batch and just iterate faster
kind of rewrite
to
the
get to better
entire code
outputs?
base?
Because historically, it wasn't unreasonable for a company to pivot a few times to get to something great, and maybe they only have 2 weeks at the end to really sprint and show progress.
Sure.
Now I could imagine certain companies like really, really, really pushing it. Have you seen that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, something like 30% of the companies change their idea during the batch, and that's actually great.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course, you discover
it means
something
that
as you're researching and building.
Yeah, and I think that that's always been true. I mean, some of the biggest companies end up being, literally pivots from like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I think that, people might say, oh, that, that kind of sucks, or, why is that? I mean, I think it's good news. The good news is like, you can just do things. The good news is like,
so when I think of the YC mantras, I think build something people want, talk to your customers. Is you can just do things. The third that we're adding,
so,
is that important to have that volition, that agency?
Yeah,
it's the distillation of agency, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it actually. I think the most important thing that I feel like everyone has to learn the hard way is to learn, the sound of your own voice.
Sure.
To say, not to get all bicameral mind about it, but that's
Get
sort of where we're
bicameral
at.
mind,
Actually,
do it.
Well, no, I mean, if you read, PG's old essays, like one of the things that really jumps out at me is like to what degree, your childhood, your schooling. Like he has so many essays about, what high school is like, being a nerd,
moment.
like all these things are like, really spoke to me, and that. The process of becoming actually a founder is actually a journey inward to actually learn the sound of your own voice, that like you can make your own way, you can have agency, just because, I mean, actually by definition, the startups that create new categories require a level of courage that like people have to find within themselves, actually. You have to say, actually, you know what? Like I know the Wall Street Journal says that, and the hater decel journalists say this, and all this stuff. You have to actually separate yourself from the default view of how the world works, and then you're actually trying to divine secret knowledge by going into the markets, going to talk to people that have never. Even touched ChatGPT yet, right? Like they don't know it's like that meme where you're in, you're the tech guy like in the corner. And then like everyone's dancing and they just don't know. They don't like that's where we're at still. Like it won't be like that for another year or two. But like for now, that's still true. You go into any business in the world, they don't know this revolution is about to happen to them.
Crazy.
And we get to create it.
Yeah. Like last demo day, we talked to a company that was doing AI voice interactions to help the elderly process Medicare receipts, essentially. And they discovered that the elderly were talking to their chatbots for like 3 hours. And that's just something that like you might be able to predict intuitively, but I thought it was just a very funny like discovery that only happens from actually trying to build in that market with the latest and greatest technology. And that's what I love about YC Demo Day.
What's your latest thinking on batch sizes? Or is that are we staying where we're at?
The high level is like we want as much prosperity in the world as possible. Brian Chesky's on my board.
Oh, cool.
Paul Graham and Jessica Livingston, Carolyn Levy. The board has given me my directives. It's what we need to. This is the tree of prosperity. Let's have the tree of prosperity grow. But I think that YC fundamentally is the managed marketplace. You look at an Airbnb. I'm still bullish on Airbnb, and that you look at the amount of space in the world. The amount of space that has been listed on Airbnb is still a tiny fraction of what it could be. And what does that unlock? And it unlocks new experiences, travel like a human, like all these things. It's a $100 billion company from nothing. And I think that the same thing is about to happen to innovation and venture, but we have to do it thoughtfully, right? Like, we're at Demo Day here. We have more than 1,000 of the top investors in the world all congregated here, right?
Wow,
we have 1,000 people in this building.
That's amazing.
And
incredible.
We need to grow them thoughtfully. Like we need, what I need YC to continue to provide returns, right? And can't comment on the rumors about scale this week, but like we need a lot more things like that, and
Totally.
we're getting it.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this
yeah.
is sort of uniquely the
Yeah.
community where that happens.
Talk to us about the 2 new partners that were added to the YC partnership.
Oh yeah, there's 3 actually.
3?
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry,
wow.
2. Yeah, Andrew Miklas and
Okay.
John Shu actually.
Okay, cool.
Sorry,
But, what about
I almost
Tyler?
announced. No, yeah, Tyler too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, that's Tyler too.
Got it.
I mean, all of them created companies that exited for hundreds of millions to PagerDuty as
Yeah.
a public company.
Wow.
North of $1 billion is.
That's remarkable.
Those are exactly the kind of partners that we want at YC.
great.
It's like they've been there and
Yeah.
they've done that.
So roughly how big is the partnership now?
It's 15 partners
15
total.
partners.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you can still keep the actual group sizes fairly small
Yeah.
within the batch.
I mean, that's the main. You can just basically guess at what the batch size will be because each partner can do 10 to
15
25 companies,
Yeah.
depending on how hard they want to work. But I don't think it's a numbers game. I think it's we want to fund all the really, really good founders, and I feel a little bit embarrassed about we're accepting companies at a 0.8% rate right now.
Wow.
Right?
0.8%,
And so,
yeah.
I think that we're behind the 8 ball, actually.
Sure.
Like, I feel really good about this.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to keep growing what we
big.
got here.
Yeah.
But I also need to grow the partnership, and then we need to fund better and better companies.
Yep.
And then, this is a 10, 20, 50, 100-year thing. Like, we're trying to build Y Combinator into a multi-100-year institution.
It
and
belongs. We need it.
Have you had any
fantastic.
companies go through this batch and decide not to raise additional capital at this point because they're just making so much revenue that they have no need for
famously, Tom funded Axiom last batch.
it? Yeah.
And,
And they're doing hundreds of
hundreds of millions of dollars in pure profit. So,
I saw that and I was like trying to look back through our stream and like, did we
I mean,
have them
crypto's
on?
wild, man.
Yeah, it's a wild west. It's a wild west.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much for coming on the stream.
Thanks for
Gary.
having me.
Always,
Yeah.
As always,
It's
fantastic.
an honor.
Yeah.
That's
Have
great.
fun out there.
Thanks.
Great. Well, we will be moving into interviews with founders and VCs who are coming on the show, who are here at YC Demo Day. Stay mogging.
Stay mogging.
While we bring in the first. We're ready. Let's do it.
got it. Let's go.
Fantastic. I thought we were going to have to do news.
What up? What up? What up, y'all?
Welcome to the show. I'm John. Welcome.
Nice
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
What's going on?
Break
How
it
we
down
doing?
for us.
How we
Break
doing?
it down for us. How's Demo Day going? Grab a water. Introduce yourselves. Introduce your company, please.
All right,
Break it
Ken.
down. Ken,
Pull
nice to
up
meet
the
you.
microphone a little bit, both of you guys.
all
There
right.
you go.
Good.
Ken.
Cool.
CEO of Kaizen.
Nice.
Michael, CTO.
Okay.
You
what
guys
do you guys
just
do?
pitched like 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago.
Just
Amazing.
5 minutes ago, we came right down
Did it
here
go well?
to spread the word. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
are the nerves? You guys, was that like a walk in the park?
Yeah, it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun. It
'Cause
was.
you've done it at alumni, and
Yes.
then probably like 3 to 5 full partnership pitches before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I mean, I probably
Yeah.
said this 100 times,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
1,000 times, almost. It feels
Well, you
like.
gotta say it one more time. Give us the high level. You don't have to give us the whole pitch, but break it down.
All right,
What's the
so
company do?
Kaizen helps developers instantly integrate into websites without APIs.
Mm-hmm.
We work with companies across logistics, healthcare, and financial
Okay.
services to integrate to a wide variety of legacy portals.
Very cool. Talk to me about how you're doing that. Is there MCP involved? Are you kind of using AI and LLMs to read the HTML, kind of reverse engineer an API from the front end? What's going on?
100%. The
Okay.
latter of what you said.
Cool.
Computer use has changed the game. A
Okay.
lot of this stuff. You think about it. Hey, there's such a small subset of software that has APIs
Mm-hmm.
that people can integrate with, build products on top of. But now with computer use, computers can do anything.
Cool.
Anything available on the internet, and
Yep.
that's what we help companies
Okay,
do.
reactions to O3 Pro. Have you tested it yet? Is it improving things, or do you build on open source? Like, what do you like? What are you excited about in the AI race at the foundation model level?
Yeah, I mean, we love using all of them. We're
All of them.
friends.
Okay.
We're Switzerland, right?
Okay, Switzerland.
Google,
We feel the same way.
Anthropic,
We'll have them all on the show. Your CEO of Foundation Model Lab.
please
Safe space
let
for
the
you.
fox in the hen house. We're Switzerland. We're Switzerland.
Yeah, no, I mean, truly, like, different models are different for different things.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Clicking on an item on the page.
Okay.
Like, we like the computer use model from
Yep.
Anthropic for that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like, pulling data from a very large table. Gemini,
Oh,
they come in
interesting. Yeah,
clutch a little
is that
there.
because the bigger context window?
Exactly,
Got it.
100%.
Okay,
So,
cool.
I mean, our approach, we abstract all this away from the end users.
Okay,
They don't got
awesome.
to think about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It just happens. It's
So walk me
magic.
through some of those use cases. Like, what's the first customer that you've had that has been like, this solved my problem, this is amazing? Walk me through like a very concrete demo.
One of our favorite customers to talk about is, they're are a voice agent for hotels.
Okay.
So in the Rio, the hotel in
Yeah, yeah,
Vegas,
yeah, no way.
you call down, you say,
Yeah.
hey, I want a burger up to my room, or I don't
Okay.
know what kind of fancy stuff you all order,
Yeah.
but yeah, you'll talk to a voice agent. And the voice agent will take your request,
Sure.
right? And then they'll
I'm
use
always
Kaizen.
like calling to get like last night we were
Toothpaste,
staying at
yeah.
the Rosewood, of course.
Of course.
And we
Surprised
called
not
to
the
get
Ritz,
we called
but
to
yeah.
get toothpaste, and we're like it's you gotta. I don't even want to wait I don't know, 20
Yeah.
seconds while it rings and, let me transfer you here and all that stuff. You should just be able to pick up
Yeah.
toothpaste, please.
And it just happens.
It just comes.
Exactly.
So how does your service integrate with that experience? Because I know I pick up the phone, I'm talking to a voice agent. I
Yeah.
imagine you're using voice APIs to actually mediate that, but then you're designing that interaction, right?
Or rather, our customer is traversing, and maybe I want to shout them out. They
Shout out
are a
to them.
voice agent
Okay,
for
cool.
hotels.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then they use us to write the data back into the property management system,
Oh,
create that
interesting.
service order. So a toothpaste goes right up to your room.
Yeah,
So
yeah, okay.
instead of talking to a person and they're trying to understand you, all this stuff, it just happens
What
instantly.
were you
Very
guys
cool.
doing before this?
I was head of engineering at a company called Truck Smarter. I've worked with small trucking companies my
Nice.
whole career.
Okay.
Love them. Great
So, yeah.
people.
Big truck guy.
Big truck guy.
But lots of experience working with legacy systems,
Yeah,
web forms,
exactly.
that type of
That's where it comes from. Like
Okay.
every shipper in the United States is a completely different website. I
Yep.
must have written dozens of these. I managed teams that wrote hundreds.
Yep.
And
Probably a lot of web scraping.
Exactly.
But now you're on to
And
the
we're
next
building
thing.
Kaizen so that no one has to
Let's
do that
it ever
again.
I love it.
There we go. There
Talk
we
to
go.
us about the metrics. Did you share a headline number of users, ARR, something to get the investors excited today?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars of ARR.
Let's
We
go.
started working on this. Yeah, let's blow. We got all the acronyms, all this, what the A16Z,
Yeah.
Met
Did
table
you-
came
did-
out.
Oh,
so we're all
yeah,
on the
you're
race.
tracking
Did
it.
you already?
Yeah,
Did
okay,
you already?
good.
You guys got term sheets yet?
Yes. We're closed around. We have a lead.
The first term sheet of the TBPN YC demo day stream. Congratulations.
I love this. I love
These
this
things are
energy.
spreading so much debris across this
Such a
room.
mess.
It's terrible.
Anyway, thanks for playing
Uh,
along with us.
Guys, this is awesome. We're super excited for you.
That's awesome. What's next on the build out? How big's the team? I imagine you're raising money. You're going to scale that, or are you building like a much smaller team? How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a massive opportunity, and
Okay.
we're excited to sprint after it.
Cool.
We actually have an employee right now.
One?
Yeah.
Nice.
Crazy
Let's
enough
go.
to join us during the bash
Cool.
with the 500K in the bank account.
That's great.
And we're doing a work trial.
I love it.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
So
okay. There
we
we
go.
have the money. We got to go spend it,
Yeah.
and we're going to build a big business. That's what we're
Fantastic.
excited
Well,
about.
we're rooting for you.
Amazing, guys.
Anyway,
Congratulations.
thanks so
Meet
much
you
for coming
soon.
on.
Yeah.
Ken.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Good luck,
Thank
Michael.
you.
Oh, man. Good stuff,
Thanks,
guys.
Jordy.
Yeah.
Peace.
We'll see you.
All
Fantastic.
right, these party poppers are a big problem. It basically was spraying little shards of paper everywhere. But
I
we'll
think
keep
it was
doing
good.
it. We're not going to stop.
I think as long as it didn't go
We're
in
not
my
gonna
Red
stop.
Bull, I think we're good. Let's ideally bring in the next person. You want to come on? Let's come on. Okay, we got some people coming into the stream. The YC Demo
Let's
Day
do it.
stream 2025. Welcome to the stream. Come on and sit down. You're gonna have to rush off all the confetti.
Let's go.
We got a little excited.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
See you, man.
What's going on?
All right.
Hey, congrats. What's happening?
Thank you.
So we've emailed or chatted before, right?
Yes. Back
Awesome.
in the StackShare days.
So now-
people don't know your history, by the way.
They don't.
I was talking to a bunch
Okay.
of founders. They were like, "What?
Yeah.
He did what?
Yeah,
Crazy
yeah, yeah.
Tell
Lord.
them.
Crazy
I've been
Lord.
around.
CTO.
Around Silicon Valley for over a decade. YC 2012. My batch.
12. Let's go.
Good times.
Let's
But
go.
we're here to talk about your batch.
Yes.
What are you
Yes.
building? Introduce yourselves.
All right. So we are building Cursor for DevOps.
Okay.
Let's
Basically, the challenge right now is you're using Cursor,
Yep.
and it's like this futuristic agentic experience,
Yes.
right? And then as soon as you leave the code
Pull the
editor,
microphone up a little bit.
you're back in the past.
Okay.
And so you're dealing with broken CI builds. You're
Yep.
dealing with exceptions. You're
Okay.
dealing with outages, like service outages from PagerDuty.
Yep.
All of those things are manual.
Yep.
So what we're doing is we're bringing AI agents to all of your developer tools outside of the code editor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walk me through how that actually works, because in Cursor I'm in the IDE. Are you puppeteering the AWS dev interface, or are you operating at a lower level? What's the actual interface? Is this are you rune pilled? Is this like a text is the universal interface play?
Yeah. So basically, you land on a developer homepage,
Okay.
and you see all of your tasks from across those tools. So like exceptions from Sentry, and
Okay.
then you see an autofix button.
Okay.
For each of those
Oh,
tasks.
okay. Oh,
yeah, So
interesting.
it's like a priority inbox.
Got it.
Right. That prioritizes everything across those developer tools, and then gives you one-click actions.
Got
through
it.
agents.
How much of what you're doing requires just building on top of an API for something like PagerDuty, or actually doing a deal with them to integrate at a deeper level, or just puppeteering and computer use, and not
Yeah.
even know they're never none the wiser.
Yeah. So we're actually doing both,
Okay.
right? So some of the dev tools haven't built out a lot of agentic features.
Sure.
So we're building on top of their API.
Sure.
And then other partners, like one of our first integrations is with Sentry.
Okay.
And we integrate with
I
Sentry
remember
AI.
Sentry. Yeah, okay. I remember Sentry.
Yeah. Co-founder's actually here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
Did you guys come in with this idea? Did you have to iterate to it? What did that look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
We came in with it. So before this, Daniel here, at Netflix, I was on the team that built the internal developer portal, which was the most used engineering tool at Netflix. That
Crazy.
helped accelerate the company. You probably heard they shipped like ads and live streaming and all these
Yeah,
things, and
yeah.
it really helped the organization move
Everyone
faster.
thought that they were going to have to partner with Microsoft, and I think they wound up doing it internally because they moved
Yeah.
so fast, right? Yeah, that's a great
Exactly.
narrative about Netflix.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So it really helped accelerate the team, and that had no AI.
Yeah.
No AI in it,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you can squeeze all that productivity.
Yep.
So then Jonas and I were chatting, we're like, wait, what if we did this developer first? We did it with AI. How productive could you make engineers? You just go from cursor to star sling, and you're just talking to agents.
You're just slanging.
How-
Slanging
Slanging-
bits.
exactly.
Slanging
Slanging
bits.
How? What is the go-to-market motion? Cursor obviously just goes bottoms up directly to the dev. Is this something that like a DevOps engineer can bring in, or do you need to go through a CTO, get approval before you do an enterprise deal?
Any developer can actually just sign up, connect your account, and start using it.
Wow.
The beautiful part is this isn't for DevOps engineers. This
Sure.
is actually for all the engineers
Okay.
that have to touch those tools.
Sure.
And so it's like pretty much every engineer at
Yep.
a modern software engineering org can just sign up on their own without
Yep.
talking to anyone else and
Very
start
cool.
using the product.
How's the progress? Are you live? Are you growing? What metrics did you share with the Demo Day crew today?
Yes. So less than a month ago, we launched.
Yes.
And we have over 400 companies that have signed up for the private beta,
Wow.
including
Congratulations.
DoorDash, Snowflake,
Congratulations.
Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs?
Yeah.
Goldman.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for big
They want
finance.
agents.
Give it up
So,
for-
Everyone
yeah.
wants agents, yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. Where are you guys going from here? Did you close the round already?
Yes, we have closed it.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yes.
We were happy to give you these ramp
Oh,
outs.
awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you
guys. Enjoy.
Right.
Limited
So we put the
edition.
money in ramp. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
That's incredible. What's next for the company? You guys hiring, scaling?
We're hiring very slowly. We're gonna
How
hire
big
two
is the company
engineers.
right now?
It's just the two of
Just the
us.
two of you.
Yes.
There
we
we go.
literally
Classic, the old
incorporated.
school YC.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the way it was. Now there's folks coming through with 25 employees.
No. We
No.
incorporated right after getting into
Really?
YC.
No
So
way. Awesome.
We're like, all right, the
That's
two of
great.
us. We're just
That's
gonna
great.
Build the MVP.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
What were you
ship it.
doing before, by the way?
So I started a company called StackShare. It was
Yeah.
a developer community.
Yeah.
We scaled it to over 1 million developers.
Yeah.
By the end of the journey, it was used by over 40 million developers.
Yeah.
And
I think we did like an interview or something,
yes,
right?
it was
A
an
blog
interview
post, yeah.
of the Soylent tech stack.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was
way.
like,
So
how the
funny.
hell are you shipping all these calories? And so we talked about all the tools.
Yeah,
So
funny-
it was a
funny
big
tech
developer
stack back
community,
then.
and then sold the company last year.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Congrats. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
You guys are in an incredible position.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good about this.
Yeah.
You should be confident. It's going to be hard, but I think the confidence should be high.
It's a good
I mean,
market.
it's amazing how much we can get done now
Yeah.
just with like
Oh
two
my
people.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's never been done before, so
Yeah.
we're excited.
It also feels like an interesting market in that we've seen like it's just less monopolistic. It's not like trying to break through a social network where it's like you're either $1 trillion company or zero.
Yeah.
Like I feel like in DevOps, in enterprise, like you can understand the roadmap ahead, chop wood, create a great product, and carve out like a fantastic business.
100%.
That's why we see so many companies going public every year, so many decacorns in this category. So congratulations.
Thank you, man.
I'm really
Who
rooting
else
for
should
you
we
guys.
keep an eye out
we're
for in
huge
this
T-
batch?
Yeah, we're huge TBPN
Yeah.
fans.
Come on the next
Only
time you raise
podcast
money.
you should be watching if you're a founder.
There we go.
Love
there
you.
we go.
Have a
Awesome,
great rest of your
guys.
demo day. Good luck.
Congratulations.
out
Thank you,
there.
guys.
Thanks
We'll
a
see
lot,
you guys
guys.
soon.
All right.
And we will bring in the next crew.
Stoked for you guys.
Oh yeah,
We're
bring
gonna
the phone
we're gonna
out.
run out of these things
We
real
are going to
quick.
run out of those. How many more do we have? We have a variety of goodies. Oh, I love the sweatshirts. You're owning a color. Much like
There we go.
Ramp
There we
owns
go.
yellow. You guys are
we're
owning
owning
pink.
pink.
You can have those if you want.
There we go.
Feel
What's
free.
happening? What's happening? You
They're
can throw
limited
the pit
edition to
vipers
this
on it.
demo
There
day.
we go.
You can only get them this year.
Lock
There we
in.
go.
There we go.
The colors are working together perfectly. Roughly the same saturation.
everything's
Roughly the same
on the
saturation.
orange background.
On the
This
orange
is brutal.
pink. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this is
All
a
right,
fever
all right.
so
dream.
sorry to
This
all the
Jazzberry, it feels kind of vintage.
Okay.
It feels like I've known
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I've known it. What are you guys
Yeah,
building?
break it down.
Oh, we're building an AI agent for bug finding.
Okay.
So right now we have a PR bot.
Yep.
So you make a pull request. We'll take your code, clone it into a sandbox, and then we let an agent just go ham at it.
Okay.
And then we tell you how we break it.
Okay.
There we go.
How much of this is just about speeding up the pace of development versus like, is there a pen testing angle here? Or is that just a completely separate cybersecurity play?
No, I think we do some pen testing.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we want to basically find any kind of bug.
Yeah.
So a lot of people take like a limited approach at bug finding.
Mm-hmm.
So they either do like coverage testing or they try and find integration bugs.
Yep.
We really want to basically build an agent that can do any of that or kind of what's best for your tool.
Okay. Talk
So
to me.
you like when people are vibe coding because they're just creating bugs all the time?
Exactly.
You're just
We're
like, yeah,
just
keep
standing every
vibe
day.
coding. Yeah,
Yeah,
coding.
We're
No, we
10X
love
it.
vibe coders. We're here to help you make better
Yeah, there's
code.
nothing, no problems with it whatsoever as long as you buy our software.
Yeah. You vibe code, we'll test it.
Yeah.
Then you take our output, you put it back into Cursor.
Yeah, just feed it back in.
Yes.
Talk to me about the prompts that you're using to actually have the agent go and hammer it. Like, I imagine that that's not just try and find a bug. You've probably gotten very
Don't
good
make
at
mistakes.
designing flows.
It's vibe code on
There's
vibe
probably a
code
lot of work that
violence.
goes into that. What,
Yeah.
what goes into actually getting an agent to effectively hunt for bugs?
Yeah, so like the most important part is just to have like a sandbox where it can run code, can compile your code, it can run like unit tests.
Yep.
And so then we just get the agent to go ham, and each time that it like runs a small experiment on your code, it learns a little bit more.
Okay.
And it's able to run a better test the next time. And
Yeah.
so it's able to search your repository, able to run commands to see if you've changes you made actually were propagated through all the files. So for instance, we found a bug which was that someone updated a path but didn't update it everywhere, and so
Sure.
that was these sorts of things. So the agent's able to run these like
Yeah.
any command that a person would.
Yeah. Are you doing stuff like trying to stuff multiple variables in a single function, like that type of stuff where like there isn't as much fault tolerance built into the code? Maybe they need like a if else try except like clause in there or something like that. Is that the type of like bugs that you're trying to find, or is it more about like scalability of code? Like, okay, you're making a database call right here. It looks fine now, but if we scale this up and there's a lot of demand, you're going to get cooked.
I think it really depends. So we
Okay.
use the pull request as kind of the initial seed.
Okay.
So what change you make there kind of determines the path that we use for testing.
Sure.
So if you're trying to scale, then yeah, we'll kind of test as if you're trying to scale.
Sure.
But if you're making path changes, we'll test as if you're making path changes.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we find is like vibe coding often. There's a different flavor of bugs that are happening because of vibe coding.
Okay, interesting.
So LLMs don't make the same kind of errors that people do because with people code grows organically.
Yep.
LLMs is like one-shotting things.
Yep.
So it'll often like forget to add functions. So it's not as easy as pointing to a line and going like this variable is wrong. It's like no, you like fundamentally missed like this whole section of things you were supposed to implement.
Got it.
So yeah, I think it's
Okay, talk to me about the
Yes.
go-to-market motion. Is this just a landing page? You're driving traffic to it. People sign up by themselves. Are you doing founder-led sales? All of the above.
No, we're landing page. Like this is our go-to-market right now.
Let's
go
go.
to
Let's go.
Jazzberry.ai.
Jazzberry.ai.
Go sign up.
Yes, go sign up. Yeah, you can just go. You install the bot. We have a 7-day free trial.
Okay.
So it's
Consumption
there's no-
versus seat-based pricing. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's seat-based pricing.
Okay.
So for every developer, it's $20 a month.
Okay.
Just simple, kind of flat
Are
rate.
you running into cost problems? Because we've seen this, like, the latest and greatest LLM comes out, it's really expensive. GPT-03 just dropped by 80%. So anyone who was having a problem with their costs is probably fine right now.
Yeah.
But how are you
Same.
thinking about that side?
Yeah, you go
Yeah,
for
we
it.
found that like actually for just like, running lots of experiments on your code to find bugs, that it's actually better just to have a really fast and small model.
Okay.
And so we've actually, we haven't had these sorts of problems yet.
So what does that
Incredible.
mean? Like llama, fine-tuned? Are you? We've talked to LLM training companies that have trained even smaller models, like just for JSON to formulation, or just translation models, or just profanity finding. Are you thinking about going so small you could run it on a gaming GPU, or are we still talking about like the big boys?
Yeah, so like right now we've actually gotten like a lot of mileage out of Gemini Flash. We started by we fine-tuned with RL a model that was specifically good at using tools. And so we're getting ready to do that. Once we find all our pain points exactly in our current architecture, we can train the exact right thing, and these smaller, faster models that are targeted for the specific use case are better. So
what were you guys doing before YC?
We were both researchers, so I was doing research in software testing using large language models.
Cool.
And Mateo was doing his PhD in reinforcement learning and formal methods.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So our kind of research has come together to make this happen.
Trouble.
How are the metrics? How's the raise coming together? How's the pitch for Demo Day? What are the goals?
Excited about Demo Day. Goals are raise a lot of money here.
Let's go.
Let's
Good
go.
luck.
We're going big.
Bring some big napkins around. Recommend Sharpie napkin. Just do it here.
Perfect. And then we're slowly kind of growing. Well, I wouldn't say slowly. We've doubled our growth kind of every week for the past kind of couple weeks.
Nice.
So that's a better way to frame it.
There we go.
But we've gotten, I think we're up to like 18 different kind of companies using our tool.
That's great.
So it's been awesome.
Cool. Well, good luck to you.
1,800 soon.
Yes, 1800. After this, when all of you go subscribe, then we'll be at 1,800.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks,
Amazing.
boys.
Congratulations.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. We'll talk to you soon.
Show the Crocs off too. Show the
Oh,
whole
he's
thing.
got
Hit
the
Crocs.
full
Boom.
fashion.
Boom.
He's got everything. Let's bring in the next team. How you guys doing? Welcome to the stream.
They've got the shirts
you have the
tucked.
Ram hat on?
They're the shirts are tucked.
Do you need one?
I need one. Thank you.
Okay, take it.
Welcome.
Eddie.
Good to meet you
Nice to meet you,
guys.
I'm John.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Logan,
John.
nice to meet you guys.
Looking
Logan,
sharp. Thank you
pleasure.
for
Looking
tucking your
sharp.
shirts in.
Yeah, look very
We're
good.
keeping it respectful out
Okay,
here.
introduce
Thank
the
you.
company. What are we building?
So we're CodeTool.
Okay.
We are building AI agents for security teams.
Cool. Sorry.
We're building AI agents for security teams.
Okay, is specifically cybersecurity teams, are we talking DDoS? Are we talking somebody goes in and tries to steal secrets, steal data? What are we talking about?
So you can think of cybersecurity as split into like AppSec and OPSec, where
Okay.
AppSec's defending, your deployed software out into the world. And then OPSec is like operational security,
Okay.
right? Where it's like, protecting your employees from phishing. We're definitely more on the automation side for the OPSec side of house. So think of basically allowing security teams to triage their tickets a lot faster for impossible travel problems, or for
impossible travel problems. That's like a buzzword for what happens.
it's like Eddie signed in from Singapore. Is that legit or not?
Yeah,
And
it's like, well, he was in the office earlier today. He couldn't have possibly gotten there because hypersonic
Exactly.
travel doesn't exist yet.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not quite yet, but
Not quite yet.
just
That's going to make it really complicated for
No, it's gonna
cybersecurity
get a
teams
lot-
when you
a
can
lot
get
more
from
problem.
LA to Tokyo in
Yeah,
2 hours. Everyone's going to be like, well, I guess he did log in in Tokyo.
No,
He
but
was
yeah.
going for sushi.
It's funny because I think a lot of people have this hacker aesthetic in their mind when they think of cybersecurity,
Totally.
which is a lot of in the movies fucking around on a terminal or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And it's just when in reality it's most of the time it's people triaging tickets day in and day out,
Sure,
and that kind of
sure,
thing.
sure.
So our goal is basically to automate a lot of the BS that these teams have to go through, and
Yep.
a lot of the annoying stuff, and then allow them to get back to work,
Okay,
kind of thing.
so what's the go-to-market motion? Are you doing enterprise deals, founder-led sales, selling to other YC companies? What's the scale of company that needs
So
to use
our
your
first
product?
customer was Ramp.
Oh, no way!
Wow.
Let's go, baby.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
That's
Yeah.
tough. You're kind of starting
Yeah,
at
let's
the
go,
top.
baby. We gotta keep it in
Time
the
is-
family.
Yeah, time is money, save both. Come on.
There you go.
That's right.
Eric Ramp is
remarkable.
just an incredible CEO.
He's a YC alum.
But the motion is we really want to embed with this the most cutting edge, the best teams like Ramp
Okay.
that can actually inform us as much as we're helping them on
Cool.
how the best teams operate.
Wow.
And so we're looking for sort of tech forward. Enterprise is totally would
Yep.
be awesome, but anyone that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible automation wise.
Okay, and what does the integration point look like? Is it a single security person at a company can get set up, or is it something that needs to be deployed throughout the enterprise and has a much more staged rollout?
Yeah, it's. I think basically where it is ideally what we would have is we'd probably first start working with your detection and response team and get that team plugged in. Basically we're heavily leveraging AI tool calling. So the idea is we plug into all the different points in your Slack. Think Okta, think Panther, think all of these different products kind of thing. And basically then what we're able to do is deploy out allow these teams to write their own agents. So they're in there customizing their own system prompts and all this kind of stuff to go out and tackle their tasks day to day. So I think the initial go-to-market motion is work with these high-tech teams who are really used to automating already, and then basically kind of like build up a nice collection of agents, kind of start getting a good network effect, IKEA effect, where like people are like building their own agents, sharing them out into the world, and then from there we can kind of like move out to wider and wider and like less technical teams, where it's basically like we can kind of like start to plug into people's stacks and like wholesale automate out of the gate and like solve a lot of these problems.
How did you two meet?
So we grew up together in Santa Barbara, California.
Oh, nice.
We have lived together for since we went to school. But yeah, our third co-founder is just outside. He's
Nice.
he's probably watching this right now.
But that's great.
But yeah, we were really stoked when you guys watched our launch video. For the
We did on the
We
show.
were the mole.
We're the
Wait,
mole
you
video
guys are
yeah.
that company.
Wait.
They did
Oh,
the
that was the
rippling
best.
deal.
That was the single best.
That was
ad.
incredible.
That was the single
We-
best ad I've seen this year.
At 100%.
No, we
Like,
were
you-
pumped on
like,
that.
because there
That's
were so many
incredible.
ways to do that and have it be just bad.
Oh yeah, it could have been
Like
that a
it-
million ways.
But it was extreme. It was tasteful. It was funny.
It was funny.
It was perfectly timed.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It just made it funny.
Where did that come from?
Well, so it's funny. We were scared it was gonna flop, to be honest. I mean,
Totally.
like we didn't know how it'd land, and we're happy with how it did. But no, we came with the idea. We worked with like one of my friends growing up does comedy in LA, and I live in LA. But like, she knew a director who like was like amazing, and his friends who were also like actors and stuff got in and acted for us, and so it's like it all came together with friends of friends. And
It looked incredibly polished. Can you give us an order of magnitude on the budget for that thing?
it was let's see, 5 digits.
Five digits, but not six.
extremely low. Extremely
That's
low.
amazing.
Extremely
That's
low 5
amazing.
digits. We were
Because
able to work.
It looked like a $100,000 project.
But it was
Yeah, yeah,
actually
my-
it was
Which was
actually
great.
pretty funny. We showed the original idea came from Gary actually.
Really?
We showed him the demo on the first week of and he's just like we start like showing him how you can like query Slack and that kind of stuff. He's like, oh, you guys got to do the rippling thing. And we're
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
That's
we got to do the rippling
incredible.
thing. So it's just like literally. And then we showed him like the final cut like the night before we went with it. He's like, you guys should tweak these couple of things.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
like, fuck, okay. And so we like, got back and we're like
Like-
editing and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's
But it was
amazing.
it was funny.
It's funny because it's like YC on YC on YC
Oh, I know,
violence,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
really just like, look, like they're gonna sort their thing out. You guys are just having
Did
fun.
that
and, hey,
did
at least
that
you.
ad catalyze around for you guys?
it did.
In some ways,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think a ton of investor inbound off that.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah, no, it makes it really grounds it because it like not everyone works in cybersecurity every day. It can be a little abstract. There we go.
There we go, boys.
Hey, let's go.
What do you do with that? You push it up or something?
Yeah, we're figuring out. We got a lot of these. but-
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Exactly.
No, it's. I'm super excited for you guys.
I think we got to give him a different hat for this. I mean, it's the best.
Oh, man.
We can give you, we can
Yeah,
give you two
yeah.
of these.
Oh, let's
You
go.
get
Let's
double
go.
hats.
It's a
There you go.
special edition.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Come
so
on,
much.
man.
Yeah.
Really great chatting with you guys.
Yeah, great chatting
Super
with you.
excited for you. We'll follow up.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Talk to
cheers.
you soon.
Cheers.
That was fantastic. I'm so glad we got to talk to those guys. That was such a
Out
good
of the year,
video.
out of the year.
Out of the year.
Out of the year, right
and right at the perfect time because we were just hitting like peak vibe reel, right?
Yeah, and if they
And
had
then
dropped it even a month later, it would have been the
stale.
joke would have been gone.
Welcome to the stream. I'm John. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm John. How are you doing?
Or die season 2 soon?
Everyone died.
Everyone died. No, you didn't hear the story about PMF or Die? They died.
They died. Yeah. It happens sometimes.
Never lock yourself in a room for the 90 days.
No,
Instead,
live stream
move to
never.
sunny
Yeah.
San Francisco. Do YC. That's our recommendation.
Basically the same thing.
From
I came
here
from
on out.
Philadelphia, so.
Anyway, please introduce yourselves and the company.
Yeah, I'm Tom.
Tom?
I'm Eric. Yeah,
Are you
Eric,
guys?
nice to meet you.
You guys look. Are you? You're not related
guys
at all,
meet?
right?
We're not related.
You could go by brothers. People
Oh, cool.
ask us. People ask us. Are you guys
people
brothers?
like us.
But,
brothers. What does the company do?
We're doing agentic people search. So
Okay.
we have a people database of around 200 million people, and
Interesting.
We use agentic search to search over that for companies and businesses to do like sales, recruiting, GTM, and more.
So are we talking about specifically like I am a recruiter and I need a salesperson and I'm going to go to you to try and hire them?
No. So basically, like, you can put in a criteria. Like, essentially what we do is
hold
we,
the microphone up.
yeah,
a little bit
Here, push
closer.
the microphone a little bit
yeah,
closer
yeah.
to you. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
I mean,
Oh,
essentially what we do is we like deploy an LLM,
Okay.
assign every profile to that LLM, and then given your criteria, that could be like one paragraph long, we just ask the LLM if if this profile like meets that criteria, and then we built like a load distributor to run like 10,000 LLM calls in parallel.
Wow.
Do that at scale. You know, we can search over like 5 million profiles in like 30 minutes. And then,
Okay.
Insane.
So walk me through one of the key examples. I'm sure this is live. You have customers.
Yeah.
What's an example of someone using this?
So,
in
for example,
production?
you know, we had a query come in yesterday. Actually, it was just like every founder that was acquired, that was a CTO of their startup, was acquired by Databricks or Snowflake in the last 3 years, and they still work there. And then there's only probably like 25 people in the world that fits that profile, and we found all 25 of them just by using, because we can use and have an LLM go in, just because we have like we can throw as much compute at the problem as we want.
Interesting.
And then the LLMs get better the more compute you throw at it.
It's interesting to be able to find. You're able to find information that is historically effectively impossible to find without doing all the work that you guys did ahead of time.
Makes a ton of sense. So what buyer or what buyer archetype within an enterprise or business is most excited to buy your product?
Yeah, I mean, like mega recruiters by far.
Recruiting firms?
No, just like people that, you know,
Hyperscalers.
Or like a big recruiter at Meta,
I mean, we work with Mercor right now, for example.
Oh, Mercor, okay, cool.
So, you know, like just like people hunting for talent, but it's like a generalized type skill, right? So for example, you know, like an AI Lab's training a new voice model and they need like people that speak Cantonese. Sure. So then it's like, okay, like find me every Cantonese speaker in the US that has like a podcast presence.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, great, these guys can come train our voice models, right? Like that's kind of.
Or they might even need someone who speaks Cantonese and also is an expert in biology.
Yeah.
So they can talk about the biology terms. And that's something that, how are you going to search for that on LinkedIn?
It's so funny because I run these type of queries in my own head where I'm like, we need a videographer who's in LA. That has experience in film, but you know,
I mean,
but it's also part of Teapot. That's basically what we need. Oftentimes, like has a sense of humor. It's like, how would you even know that? Well, if you look through their posts, I'm sure you could figure that out.
I mean, it's basically like as close as you can. If you just give like a criteria to human recruiter.
Totally.
So you can imagine like 5,000 human recruiters just like manually looking over profiles, and then you know.
Okay, business model. Are you most recruiting firms? They charge on like a per fee basis, $30,000 to place an engineer somewhere. Are you doing like a seat-based pricing, consumption-based pricing? This sounds expensive if you're talking about running 20 million LLM queries at the same time.
It's actually not as expensive as people think because you know open source models have gotten so good.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm guessing like you know any like deep research query costs us like $10 maybe.
Okay.
But then, you know, like we charge for conversion with our B2B customers.
Conversion, okay.
Yeah, we charge by conversion
for
B2B customers.
So that's probably pretty expensive, which is great.
Yeah. And also, we have like a platform that's just available to everybody. So they can pay us a subscription fee, search as much as they want.
Very cool.
And then do email enrichment phone number.
I feel like we could use this. This is, we might be potential customers.
We need a guest that doesn't hate tech that can talk about this. How did you two meet? What were you doing before YC?
Yeah, so we met in elementary school actually. So we were originally from Canada.
Let's go.
We went in elementary school, and we became close friends. Yeah, it's been great here. But we became close friends when Eric he uninstalled Windows on my computer.
Nice.
And I was really pissed at him for a day, and then we fixed it. So then we became great friends after that.
That's how great
friends. You just couldn't load anything.
Yeah,
you didn't even install Linux.
I had homework. It was during school, and then
ultimate prank: uninstall Windows on your best friend's computer.
Boys being boys.
And then we spent one semester at college each. So I was at Penn, he was at UC San Diego, and then come January we were both like why are we even there?
Let's drop out.
So you guys 18, 19?
We're both 18 right now.
Let's go. Here we go.
What's the youngest team that you've met here besides yourself?
17. There is a high school senior.
Okay.
I met when I was in
Okay, yeah.
Doing some robotics.
It is getting younger,
Yeah, we have a bottle of wine here. We're going to give it to you.
To the youngest.
We received one from
hopefully you're not going back through YC in 3 years. Hopefully you're at the NASDAQ or something.
Talk to me about traction, metrics, anything that you're sharing here at Demo Day, anything to get the venture capitalists excited.
Yeah, 270 paying customers.
Wow.
First version of the. So I don't know if you guys heard about Linked.
Linked? No.
Yeah. All right.
Explain.
So a very early version of this product we launched, which is like Rank Stanford, like Stanford Rank.
Okay.
Which was so we basically built this. We basically scraped the entire alumni database of Stanford.
I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, they were okay with it. We put it online, and then we had this app where people can like see two random alumni put next to each other, and then you vote for who's more cracked.
Who's more cracked?
And that version of the app picked up like 80,000 users. Was how we got into YC and stuff.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then we came down here, 207 paying customers, about 16,000 monthly recurring revenue.
That's great.
Since 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Profitable. Yeah. No, but,
wow. Is
What,
the team just you two right now?
So there's 3 of us.
Three of you.
We're two co-founders,
cool.
our founding engineers from high school.
Cool.
He just graduated.
Same high school.
Yeah, we all went to the same high school.
That's
it's
amazing.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I'm super excited for you guys.
Congratulations on YC.
you.
We're gonna get on the
you.
product, and I actually have a bunch of people to send this to.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
fantastic.
you should give it a try.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you
Awesome,
soon.
guys.
Bye.
Great meeting you guys.
Fantastic. Let's bring in the next team if we
Absolutely
have one.
wild.
Come on down. How you doing?
Aaron, what's
Hey,
up?
how you
Aaron, so
doing?
this is a YC alumni.
Oh,
he
fantastic.
He
Here,
just
sit
raised
down.
the Series A
Great to meet
today.
Congratulations. Here,
Yeah,
sit
we
down.
just happened Series A.
Here, sit here.
Yeah, so we were trying to make this happen for the last week.
Amazing.
But he just announced his Series A today, 17 million, right?
17 million.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There we go.
Well, I mean, we have stuff to celebrate.
I already got
17
the
million.
hat,
Yeah,
so
I get the
I'm-
hat.
Go.
Hey!
Congratulations.
Seems like you've done that a couple times.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Who
But
did-
this is the biggest round of the day.
This is the biggest
so-
round.
All right.
yeah.
Who did the round? How far along are you? How big is the company? Give me some stats.
Yeah, okay. So 8VC did the. By the way,
cool.
guys, this is awesome. I did like the interview with VentureBeat, and I'm way more starstruck by this. So like, I'm not just saying that, but I'm like,
amazing.
all right.
Thank you.
So 8VC led the round.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. What,
Joe
what
Lonsdale,
partner?
absolute dog.
What partner are you working with?
Jack Moshkovitz.
Nice.
cool.
He's great.
Awesome.
He is fantastic. Yeah. So how far along? So we're.
And were you in the last batch?
We,
or
no,
a couple?
we were a couple batches ago. We were summer 23.
Cool.
Great vintage.
Was that still remote,
excellent vintage.
or was that back?
No,
in
we were the
person?
first back.
Back.
We were,
There you go.
we had an advantage.
Very
in that.
nice.
But yeah, so Outset does AI moderated research.
Okay.
So what does that mean? It's like when big companies have to do a ton of research, like Nestle has to go figure out whether they should launch this weird version of DiGiorno pizza or something.
Sure.
They go do research.
Yep.
So either they're running massive surveys and they're getting like very low fidelity data. They don't really know much. It's just a bunch of numbers. Or they're running interviews, and that's where it's a one-on-one interview with everybody, right? Which is not actually cost effective. So,
Yeah, totally.
So now you can run AI-led interviews. That means AI is leading the conversation, digging in, following up, probing deeper, and synthesizing all of that for you.
Got it.
And we work
How
with,
big is that? How big is the legacy market in that space?
So the research market is like 140 billion. It's
Let's
actually
go.
a really big one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just like, and there's like huge companies that you probably may have never heard, like Ipsos and Kantar and like these like big guys that are just kind of sitting there. So there's a lot of opportunity. And we work with like Microsoft, Nestle, Weight Watchers. So we've been super enterprise focused. And we're a couple years in.
What are the interaction patterns that you like or you think are kind of unlocked by AI? I imagine that voice phone calls is top of mind versus like forums, which was always like available and already computerized essentially.
It's actually, I think the cooler thing is what you can get from participants and synthesize. So it's like, so now we do video interviews and they do audio and they can even share their screen.
Yeah.
Right? So like, all of that is being ingested.
Interesting.
And then like people ask like, does AI have an avatar when it's interviewing? And we actually did research and people don't want that.
They don't want the avatar.
No, they don't want the avatar.
Yeah, that was
the avatar
obvious.
is something like weird uncanny valley stuff
that
where I'm
makes
like,
sense.
and you're just like
And
a
people
random.
are used to phone calls.
Yeah, people used to phone calls and they're fine sharing their video, but like if you suddenly see an AI, you're like, I'm trying to make $15 doing some research.
Totally.
Like, you like suddenly see that, you're gonna be all weirded out. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually
Black
much
Mirror,
better to
yeah.
have AI come through with voice and text.
Yep. Talk to
Yeah.
me about recruiting. You said $15. That's enough to get someone to jump on, but how do they even find out that $15 is on the table?
Yeah, so we partner with a number of different like companies that do nothing but panels, like
Panels.
nothing but
and recruiting.
nothing but recruiting.
Got
So
it.
you have like user interviews and Prolific are
and
like
they
big
probably
partners.
get some demographics and some basics.
They get all that, and they have millions of people
Got
that
it.
are like ready to. It's like gig work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so
So
they
you say,
connect.
okay, I need 100,000 people that drink
Talk
energy
about,
drinks to give me feedback.
Exactly,
Got it.
exactly. And
What-
you could you
And
could
they're
do
all
all that
tagged.
through our platform.
Is there a certain unlock when an AI doesn't need to like, if a human is scheduling research calls, you can imagine they do like 4 30-minute blocks, and then they take a little break and they do some more or something like that. I don't know how it works, but an AI could hypothetically talk for hours and hours and hours and hours, like kind of
100%. So there's like, I think a lot of AI stuff is like, oh, where can it replace the human thing, and now it's cheaper. But actually, like this is taking on the stuff that like humans can't physically do. We only have 24 hours in a day, and so it happens that people use it to like interview 500 people, right, in a day or two, and that's like it's literally not possible. It's like just the laws of physics don't allow it.
Yeah.
And so they're able to do that. They can do multilingual. They can kind of do it all at once. So you can wind up like unlocking actual like stuff you've never heard. Can I curse on this?
Oh, we usually don't, but
all right,
you're free to do it.
Stuff that they like would not have uncovered anywhere else. And they actually are able to get that like in this way.
Yeah.
What's your stack under the hood? What models are you using, getting the most value out of?
Yeah, we're using a combination. So it's it's like we're hitting multiple models constantly, but Azure, we're using a lot of Azure actually. So OpenAI models under the hood through Azure.
Yeah.
And it's
cool. Is their model router helpful? I saw they announced that at Build. I haven't talked to anyone that's actually used it.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't think we've played with that yet.
Rolling it out,
so basically, like what we need is just an incredible amount of reliability, because what we'll have is like 3 customers are all running like 500 simultaneous interviews.
Sure,
so we have to actually scale very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And also, like a lot of our customers, like the Nestle's of the world, like they care a lot about like super safe, super reliable. So we kind of like wind up needing the kind of Azure.
Yeah, and then you're also probably going through like peak LLM usage hours too, because you're not doing it in the middle of the night.
No, we can't just like process it on our own time. It like has to happen in that moment. But then we also fall back to OpenAI. We use Gemini for stuff, so we're like hitting a lot.
Yeah, talk about is the voice modality beyond the uncanny valley at this point? Is that why voice is valuable? Are you using voice a lot? Because you could imagine that this might have been possible via text interactions. You're texting your responses back and forth. Probably get more out of a voice interaction. Are we just... Well, if we talk to you again in like 2 years, do you think it'll be like, okay, yeah, now I'm a believer in the avatar thing because it is photoreal?
Okay, so 2 things. So one, right now, what matters most is obviously the modality of the participant. Like if you think about like all we care about is the most deep, thoughtful, in-depth data that we can like pull from you. The response.
Yeah,
so that matters
and that's
way more.
Way better than text.
And that's way better than text. Our first product that we
gotta get them talking.
Yeah, our first like pilot with Weight Watchers back in 2023 was like all text, and it was actually pretty good, but like it's nothing compared to what people actually say.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so that's what matters most is like video screen share, voice from the participants. From AI, so we use voice a lot. So there's a voice-to-voice mode where there's like no buttons, it's just conversation. And like people like it, but like not as much. And I think there's still just, if it's not a person, then it's still got the minor imperfections, the kind of slight bits of latency. And so I do think in 2 years we'll talk more about that. But ultimately, like people know it's a computer, like they know it's AI. And like they're kind of cool about it. Like we've done a bunch of this research. We're like, do you care that it's AI? They're like, no, like I get it.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, they like have even expressed that like they'll share more because there isn't a person.
Sure.
It's this idea of like social desirability bias. You're like, I don't want to come off as a person that is X, Y, and Z to another human.
The robot. I will just tell you, look, I want this to be faster. Or I want this to taste better. Or
like the real reason I'm not using your product is this. I'm not going to say that to a PM or a researcher who's like at the company. Right, but instead you'll tell the real truth. And that was like our initial pilot with Weight Watchers was all about weight loss. And like that was like a thing people don't want to share a lot about. But with AI, they like shared everything about their life story.
I mean, it sounds like you've done you've worked with really big companies and that's where the money is. But when you went through YC, or if you're here, there's a big theme of talk to your customers. Has there been any pull at the lower end of the market?
It's funny. I sometimes you get a founder reaching out like, I really want to use this because I don't want to talk to my customers. Normally like talk to your customers.
We don't want you as a customer if you don't want to.
Exactly. There's basically I think a good reason not to use an AI moderator is like if you could sell to that person. Probably don't outsource that, right? Like maybe to build the relationship yourself. The truth is, especially all the B2B stuff, there's not as much. We usually turn around and say, come back when you're like a couple hundred people, and like you're kind of scaling that out. But with some consumer stuff where you really have millions of people you're trying to learn from, it can make a ton of sense.
Talk to me about the data processing and the intelligibility that goes into once you have all that data. It's very nice to be like, hey, we have
we
5,000 hours of video.
Yeah, we prepared a 200-page report.
But nobody reads that. So how are you thinking about actually compressing it down? Because that seems uniquely suitable for AI. There's still a lot of art in terms of a lot of people say, oh yeah, I did a deep research report, and then the next next query was, give me 10 bullet points about that, because I didn't actually want the full report.
Yeah. So all right. So our vision here is like we are building the like deep research, but for primary research. So you think about deep research is like, all right, all desk research is now commoditized.
Yep.
So what if you just ask a question, you just want to like learn from real people that's much more up to date, that whatever, like your own proprietary data, it should be the same kind of idea, right? End-to-end agents are doing that. But today, like the premise of AI kind of scaling your qualitative research is like you also have to help them do something with all that conversational data, right? Because otherwise you're like left with just like hours and hours of transcripts and I'm not gonna review that. Right?
The application of this, I know this is not what you're focusing on, but if I was a VC that wanted to write a multi-$100 million growth check, being able to like get live interviews with like 500 customers.
I mean, people already
like,
do this with GLG and
that's right.
Yeah.
No, this is a huge opportunity actually. I have a whole side thought. Like, I think one of the challenges there is with the expert networks is all about finding the right people. But if you're in a situation where you can find the right people and you can find 100 of the right people.
Well, we just had Plato AI on. You should talk to them. They're in this batch. They do like LLM-based people search, so you can find like every person that at Databricks that was a former founder. You know?
No, there is an opportunity to connect all of that through that. But what I was going to say with the synthesis is what we do is basically taking all the video stuff and then we like process it and we give you basically reports. But it's like not just a like, here's what it's telling you, like deep research style. But what you can do is like start like slicing and dicing it. You could like, we quantify it, we give you breakdowns, we like build highlight reels for you, and then like people can like cut it and segment it, and so it's like a whole analytics suite on top of qualitative data, which is like not a thing that has ever been done. Because
what were you doing? What were you doing before this?
So before this, I was a VP of product at TripleByte, if you know them.
Harsh Tagar.
Harsh hired me.
Partner.
Yeah, exactly. He anyway, so I worked at TripleByte, at Jumpstart, another company. So I was like leading product and design teams. But earlier in my career, I was a consultant where I was doing like this work nonstop. Where I was like,
are you a nominative determinism guy?
Yeah. He's looking for the capital
You're an absolute cannon
to fire $1 billion into research.
I have not capitalized on that.
I was looking at that too.
But we're big. We're big
into the names or the truth. The names
I
are
like
the
that.
truth.
I like that.
Yeah, it works well for you.
I have a friend who always calls me the loose cannon. Like,
that's great.
That's like you can never know what to expect.
Cannon, that's a little bit too much. You dial it in the capital cannon. He's like, you can trust him with your capital. Just give it to him and fire it in the capital cannon, and boom.
Yeah, I'm gonna pivot off of loose cannon onto capital cannon. Yeah,
Aaron Capital Cannon. There you go. Anyway, this has been fantastic.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for hopping on.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We'll have you back on sometime.
Yeah.
$17 million Series A.
Let's go.
Fantastic. Biggest round we've heard yet. Let's bring in the next guest, Operative.
There we go.
The
He's throwing the Pit Vipers on.
The Pit
Vipers are going on.
Pit Vipers. Welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good to meet you. I'm John.
Eric,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Hey, good to meet you. You're going to want to keep those mics close to you because it is noisy here at YC Demo Day 2025. Good to meet you. Can you introduce yourself
special operatives
and the company that you're building?
Awesome. Yeah, we're Operative. Cool. I'm Chris. I'm Chris Settles. This is my co-founder Eric Quintanilla.
Very nice.
You can introduce yourself as well, but we're friends from high school. We met at West Aurora High School in Aurora, Illinois in 2014.
Cool.
We were doing our first
Java
programming class together.
Wow.
And 10 years later, here we are.
Deep. What did you guys do between then and now?
Yeah, do you want to
learn
tell
other programming languages?
Do you want to tell more of the story, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, we went to college.
Or maybe you still write Java. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we went to college, worked at a couple big tech companies, worked at a couple startups.
So let's hear big tech.
Let's hear
Amazing
big
pipeline talent.
R.I.P.
Yeah, Chris was at Uber. You can talk about that.
There we go.
Cool. Nice. Did you wear the Pit Vipers during your main pitch?
Sorry? You're asking where the sun.
Did you wear them while you were pitching the full?
Oh, no, I just got these from Marco. I don't know.
There we go.
We saw Marco in here wearing these. We're like, Marco, you look so cool.
Yeah. So break down the company.
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
All right, so we're working on web app code generation for internal APIs.
Okay. Awesome.
So you can imagine having like a Lovable plus a retool for your company where you can on demand just create any kind of application that you're thinking about, whether it's like a new dashboard or it's some kind of like app to manage your airflow, and you want to have a nice UI with it, and you want to connect it to all these different pipelines. I mean, that's just one use case you can think about, but you can build any kind of front end application that connects to existing APIs that you have in your company company.
Yeah, I remember like when you set up like a Django website, you kind of get like the Django admin like out of the box, and you can just investigate all the different classes that you've kind of defined in the database. What are some examples you could give us of these internal APIs that typically float around in companies? Or you can either give like a precise example or just a general example.
Yeah. Do you want to give one?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the use cases are centered around like customer service. So people like want to interact with like a database. People who are doing support want to like change like payments and stuff like that. Data visualization, stuff like that.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, is it unique about like bringing different services together? Because a lot of like smaller companies would say you want to look at the payments admin, head over to your Stripe dashboard because Stripe's already built that. Where are companies currently falling short? Is it that they're not bringing the data together across services, or is it that they're developing like their own databases and their own tables that just don't have an API out of the box, or don't have a web app in front of their API out of the box?
Yeah. So definitely startups, it's super easy to just say, okay, check out the Stripe dashboard, manage that, and then that's what Stripe does.
That's a typical customer service flow. It's like you go to Shopify for this, and then you go to the CMS for this, and then you go to Stripe if there's a problem over there, and then you go to payroll. It's all SaaS products.
Yeah, but one of the things we noticed, especially at our jobs in big tech, is that eventually your product gets really complicated, and you actually there's not a SaaS product that those services offer, and so you end up needing to build something on top of it in order to manage it, and then you end up needing to build all these different internal tools to have all of that organized in a nice way where you can connect it all together, because the traditional SaaS doesn't support the features that you're looking for.
Got it.
And so then as a result, you hire a team to build out those kinds of applications, and then
spend a lot of money.
And that's what we're trying to bridge that.
What was the aha moment for you guys? Were you seeing the kind of explosion of tools like Lovable and things like that, and then you saw, wait, why aren't people doing this internally, or what was the kind of moment that you guys decided to focus on this?
Yeah,
I mean, I think for us, we saw we launched this like Lovable type product, and we saw a lot of people from companies using it
as a consumer product actually at first.
Yeah, to build internal tools for their company. So we were like, oh, we should just bring this directly B2B.
Cool. Yeah, in some ways it makes sense being able to like quickly generate something, test it, and then it's very different than sort of these like ephemeral products that exist and ultimately will need to be, I don't know, sometimes completely rebuilt.
Talk about the go-to-market motion. It sounds like this is not a company where you can just sell to every other startup in YC. Who are you selling to? How are you actually convincing them to take the leap and go with you?
Yeah. So we're starting from the initial sort of traction we saw with the consumer product. We decided we want to work on this enterprise direction and/or like larger organization direction because of these like use cases we saw with people signing up from all of their work emails and building apps. So we're starting some design partnerships with large organizations. I can't say I won't say the exact name, and we're planning to kind of just leverage our warm intro outbound network, or warm intro network, to be able to talk to some more organizations. And I think like there's some there's actually a large percentage of companies that even will try to use like Retool to build internal apps, and so we think we can work with some of the other YC companies that are doing things like that or using that, and but maybe have.
Do you guys work with Retool, or
demo day?
Are you guys are you guys working with Retool, or you compete
kind of
with
kind of competing in some sense a bit.
Well, good luck when you talk to the founder. He's an absolute dog.
He's like such a smart team, but I think
good luck.
It's
a big market.
Yeah, we have a pretty cool direction that's like pretty unique, at least at the moment. So we're excited
talk to me about the actual instantiation of the web app. I'm sure you're using AI and code generation. What's working? How much are you leveraging O3 or Claude or open source or Gemini? What are you looking for? Where are the models falling short? Where are you kind of like trying to stay ahead of the puck because everything's developing so quickly?
You want to take it?
Yeah, so I think on the platform, I think the foundation models provide like a nice foundation. But like we try to leverage good tools. So like viewing a file tree, we had a browser agent on top to test and validate the app.
Okay.
The models fall short in, I think they're good at like going 0 to 1, but I think like if you go 0 to 1 and then there's a bug, going back and finding what file it is, what's implicated in it, I think it's very hard for the models, and it's better to just start over.
Okay. Yeah. Have you benchmarked against how long it takes someone to build a web app for a on top of a private API using Cursor and just saying, I'm going to vibe code this myself versus your product? Because it feels like it's getting faster and faster. And there's a lot of, I mean, there's whole open source projects for like build out the API docs around an API just from, this was programmatic. This wasn't even AI. You just have like, oh, you want to put this, you want to instantiate this as a blog. Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
What are you benchmarking against?
Actually, maybe a cool story, like on the backstory of how we came across this, is that we actually started with people wanting to develop apps like inside Cursor, and so one of the kind of unique insights we had is that today, like it requires, like developing any kind of like front end requires that you ask Cursor for a prompt, and then you open up the web page and go click on it and just verify that it looks how you want it to.
Sure.
And then you can go and like then tell Cursor like, okay, I want to move the blue button inside the black box. And then you have to like just keep prompting it until it does that. So actually, the first thing Eric and I worked on was like an MCP tool.
Oh yeah.
That allows people to opens up a browser agent that can go and view changes that a coding agent makes, and it will just test to see if visually if the app actually works. Actually, there's one of our users over there, Nil. He's actually just giving us feedback on it. And we grew that to like around 1,000 GitHub stars.
Yep.
And so people got really excited about that, but we wanted to bring those same tools into a product like Lovable or like CodeGen, and be able to have all of this code generation with testing built in, so that way we can allow users to like just go from prompt to a working web page without any interaction.
Very cool.
Are you guys still raising right now?
We're still raising. We've been backed by Weekend Fund,
Nice.
and also a few other angel investors, and we're still raising and
One
open
of the
to
early
chatting
investors in Retool,
with other investors.
Oh,
we have an angel investor in Retool invested in us. So
play the hits.
Play the hits.
Play the hits.
Find something you love and just.
Do you have any metrics that you shared here at Demo Day?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we had the GitHub repo. We like scaled to 1,000 stars.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
And we just launched the consumer product. It got around 2,500 different users.
Okay, cool.
Building using Operative to build apps.
Is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And right now there's like about a 4% conversion from free to pro plan. We have a pretty generous free tier, so you can go and use the app however much you want. But for the power users, like there's around 4% of them converting. So we have about 1.5K monthly revenue at the moment.
Amazing.
And that's with the consumer product, but we're planning to scale more revenue.
Yeah, I think the enterprise, you could probably get that on your first contract.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for stopping by. Please,
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much.
Have fun out there. It's great having you on.
Thanks,
awesome.
guys.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Let's bring in the next crew. We are at YC Demo Day. Hey, how you doing,
Hey,
Misael?
what up?
In.
What
What's
up? It's time to talk sleep scores.
Let's talk sleep scores.
We
How did you sleep last night?
It was brutal. I was at the Rosewood.
The Rosewood doesn't have 8 sleep. This is a big problem.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
I think like
90%
90% of the guests are.
Good.
What's happening? Good to see you.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I want to talk F1. You just did an interview with Charles Leclerc.
Yep.
Break it down. What did you learn from him?
His obsession for every single detail in his preparation. He goes for 2 weeks at the mountain in January to prepare for the season.
Is that just for elevation
training?
Elevation, and then he does every sort of skiing, but for like 8 hours a day, and then he goes to the gym, and then he brings the pod. He sleeps on the pod while he's there. That is when he really prepares the season.
Yeah.
And then his obsession for every single detail when he travels, all the gadgets that he brings with himself, from devices for recovery, ice bath, obviously the pod.
Yeah,
the neck training.
Is he doing the leg compression thing? That's a big one right now.
And I don't know if you saw it. So Charles was talking to us about the fact that when he's on the grid, it's really hot.
Yeah.
And a lot of athletes in Formula One now, they use these vests, cooling vests.
Oh, interesting.
But they don't really work.
Okay.
And so the way you want to really cool your body, you need to cool the palm of your hands.
Oh, interesting.
And so I was with my co-founder, Max, and we said, what if we build cooling gloves for you? He said, that would be interesting. So we built the gloves in 3 days.
No way.
That's
awesome.
And then one of our people, they flew to meet him in Barca. In Barca, there were like 35 degrees Celsius. It was super hot. And so Charles started using these gloves, cooling gloves that we built for him. And then as he goes in the box, Ferrari takes a picture of him, just for Scuderia Ferrari, blah, blah. And so he was on the cover of the Instagram account
with the
with the 8 Sleep.
Let's go.
And so it was free branding for us with the device we built for him.
Right.
And so now
you see that with the tires. They have the tire warmers, then you have the hand coolers. Every different part of the F1 machine needs to be temperature controlled.
But
it's
then
the perfect
other athletes saw him using this. And so paddle players, tennis players, they all say, "Oh, can I use it?" And say, "But man, we didn't.
It's a one-off.
And so now we have a team that is building these cooling gloves for a few athletes.
That's incredible.
Great partnership.
What has YC Demo Day been like for you? Are you here just trying to sell 8 Sleeps, or are you also doing some investing? What are you getting out of YC Demo Day today?
Yeah, I do a bunch of investing. Okay. I invested like probably 20 companies in this batch
already.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh, amazing!
You gotta get it. I'm sure that you gotta get them in here.
You need to start early, or then you're out.
Oh yeah, you gotta get in early. You gotta get in early.
And so in every batch, I try to invest in around 20% of the batch.
Oh, cool.
More or less.
That's great.
And I have been doing this for 2 years.
Have you seen anyone doing cool hardware, cool consumer devices? I know that there's a ton of AI. There's some hard tech, defense tech's becoming cool. But I like the 8 Sleep because it's a gadget. You can give it to someone for Christmas, and they like experience it every day in a very different way than just nap on their phone.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything?
So I'll answer your question, but it's cool because I walk around with my hat, and people stop me and they say, "Oh, I sleep on your product."
Yes.
I just met two founders, and one had a 75 score, the other one a 48 score.
Oh no, that's
48 the night before.
We're never
that doesn't work.
I've been smoking Jordy this week. I beat him twice in a row.
I got it. Yeah,
I'm up in the 90s. I'm doing great.
I've had a rough one.
But there is not a lot of consumer hardware.
It's hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I was just talking to a few founders. Even when I look back, other companies starting with us, they were struggle.
Yeah.
So we have been so lucky to be here today.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of really cool stuff now in robotics.
Yep. Matic robots. We've played those.
We
They've
have
been really
in the
cool.
office and at home.
And so usually there is an hardware section, and that is the first section where I go. So hard tech or hardware, that is my passion.
Yeah.
And then AI is everywhere. So.
Yeah. I mean, you see a lot at CES. You'll see the AI connected oven and the AI connected toaster. And YC's kind of stayed away from that because it feels like it's hard to build like an independent business around. But I am optimistic that once the software side of AI is so commoditized and so just ubiquitous, we'll see another revolution in hardware, another turn.
I think with the robots, things will get easier because robots will explode and a lot of consumer will buy different shapes of robots.
This is what Nat Friedman was talking about. He wants the robot that picks up the leaves one by one instead of leaf blowing. And it's like a funny idea, but it feels like, that's only a couple of years away, and then it'll just be a company.
Even for security, I have this idea about a robot that goes around your house for security,
cameras everywhere.
with cameras and lights. Right? I would immediately buy that if it could go around my house and make sure that...
Especially if you could put a gun on it.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon did launch a drone that will, or maybe they just launched a video about this. There's a drone that takes off from a base station where it charges, and it can fly around your house and kind of patrol inside your house. But
I wanted that when the fires were happening. I figured out that a lot of fires in LA are just started from a single ember landing in like a backyard or on a house or get stuck. And you just realize that there's probably an opportunity for drone-based.
Yeah, there's actually a couple companies that did like water turrets that you mount to your roof, and then if they see fire, they can just spray it right there. It's a hose. It's literally just a hose on an articulated arm. It's like not that complicated, but you could.
What about at 8? Any other hardware coming down the line that you can kind of allude to yet?
So actually, we have an office in SF. So I just landed. I came here. I'll be here for a couple of hours. Then I go to the office to see the new products.
Very cool.
I'm already sleeping on the next generation.
Sleeping in the future.
I mean, that's such an edge. That's such an edge. You're on pod 5. I'm already on pod 6.
All my friends, they always make jokes because I always sleep on the next generation and there are new devices. And so they buy the latest, but I'm already one generation
That's
ahead.
your edge. This is how you win. This is how you win.
We started working with some new sensors that are incredible in terms of computer vision.
Sure.
So we really want to double down on body scanning and scan your body while you're asleep to save your life. And that to me is one of the most exciting things, because if we can convert your bed in a health platform and save your life, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What are the companies that you're most excited about in the batch? Without picking too many favorites out of the 20, anything that you're most kind of excited about?
At the end of the day, I just get excited with founders. I mean, I just met this guy, and he's a high school dropout. He's 18, and he's here. And what?
Yeah,
because I was at school, I decided to drop out. I thought there was this opportunity for AI to help teachers, and so I dropped out. I built it, and now I'm selling it to my teachers. I said, what?
That's amazing.
And so when you see these people, right?
Yeah.
I don't care what happens with your company, but I admire you so much that can I?
Of course, because I want to back the founder,
right?
Exactly.
And so that is what excites me, like to stay young
and
see these generations shaping the future.
That's fantastic.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank you
stopping
so much.
by. We will see you soon.
Great job, guys.
Thank
I love you.
Yeah. Glad you did.
It's been great. Let's bring in the next team. Welcome to the YC Demo Day 2025 stream.
You good? I put so much of the confetti in your
it's
Celsius.
okay. I'm working through it. How you guys doing? Oh, you guys already got the hats on. We'll see if there's other surprises in store. We might need to blow the whistle. Welcome to the stream. How you doing?
I like how you guys just said made in SF, not made with love, made with savagery.
I mean, taking shots.
We have a made with love in San Francisco as well.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, what is Throxy? Break it down for us. Explain the business.
We're building AI agents that help people selling into traditional industries such as manufacturing, distribution. There are sectors in which selling is very hard, especially from a B2B perspective.
Sure.
So we're helping those companies prospect into legacy industries. And we manage the entire outreach to those. Whenever someone's interested in speaking with my clients, I connect them with their buyers.
Sure.
And to help them grow.
So that's like selling super technical products. What does that look like?
Yeah, it's selling super technical products, but also professional services such as consulting. The important thing is we help people selling into traditional spaces like manufacturing.
So there's a manufacturing company out there. They're making microphones, for example. I am a company that's going to sell, better software design software that runs on this or automates the facility. You're going to help me find clients to sell to. Is this more about the prospecting and developing a lead list, doing the actual outreach? Is this an AI business development representative SDR play? Are we going to see a billboard on the 101 for you pretty soon? What's going on?
So it's a bit of like everything you've mentioned. So like, we don't like to market ourselves as AI SDRs because they have like a bad reputation.
They have a terrible reputation.
And we think like focus is a multiplier on like the work we do. And that's why we're like serving these traditional industries, which are like traditionally like underserved. Everyone's ignoring them, but they're like huge market opportunity and like really high average contract values. So we can like have people serving these industries, both with AI, but with a bit of human in the loop right now. And now we're automating those humans in the loop as models get better, as agents improve, and like rolling them out.
So talk about the Copilot era. Where is it important in the sales process to keep the human in the loop right now? What is the most automatable part of that process?
So the most automatable part is qualifying the whole companies. So like, actually like we just like pull a list of companies from like our crawlers, and then we look for like specific stuff with AI agents, and we just qualify them.
So could they even be a buyer? Do they have budget? Are they big enough? Are they declining in sales? Are they about to get rolled up into some private equity thing?
The thing is like, because we're focusing only in manufacturing companies, we can check for very specific stuff. For like, does this machine like fit like any specific specifications? Do they have like this grind type? Do they do like CNC milling? That kind of stuff, which is really important where like horizontal AI SDRs fail. And they fail to serve them because they're too generic.
Because if I'm selling CNC software and some manufacturer doesn't use CNCs, why should I even talk to them? So you're saving me time that way.
How did you guys get into this?
So I think I was in sales. I was doing a lot of manual work myself. I've been an SDR at 3 companies, completely different value propositions. But I think one of the big issues was actually finding the company I can sell to. I was doing all of that very manual research. Do they have buying power? Do they have this specific certification? When I was selling into hospitals, I had to check what their team staff looked like to see where they fit my software. And I hated my life. I was like,
but you were still performing. You were still performing, right? You were putting up big numbers.
Yeah, I actually was, and but yeah, I generally felt like my job was going to be replaced soon. So I was like, let me be the
I gotta
first.
get ahead of this.
Let me replace myself.
Disrupt yourself.
Talk to me about what it takes to actually qualify a lead. What are the data sources? I've heard LinkedIn's extremely rich, but it's very locked down, and they don't let you play with the API anymore. Obviously, you can crawl around on Google search, and some companies have a lot of information on their websites. Some of these manufacturers barely even have websites at all. How are you getting data?
That's our insight. Like our insight is like LinkedIn doesn't like serve these manufacturing people because the owner of like a manufacturing company is not on LinkedIn. Their prospects are not there. So we've built our own like crawlers, which are like crawling the whole Google Knowledge Graph from scratch, and then like sending agents to qualify these people, which have access to like specific tools with directories of other manufacturing companies or API like access to like machine specification, access to vision, so we can like check out the content of the website, like take a screenshot.
Oh, interesting. Take a screenshot. Hey, that's a CNC.
Exactly.
This is a CNC company.
Talk about traction. When did you guys come into YC with this idea and you've just been working on it, or did you iterate towards it?
Yeah, we came in with this idea. In 6 months, we've gone to 1.5 million in annual.
Let's go. That might be the biggest one we've heard yet.
That one of the big ones.
Let's go. Oh, 1.5 million, baby. Let's go. Congratulations.
That's sick.
That's amazing. So the round's already closed, I imagine.
Yeah.
Oh,
we gotta do another round.
Absolute dogs. Absolute dogs.
That's great.
That's fantastic.
What's your guys' backstory? How did you get to YC?
We met in high school, and we've always been like building stuff since we were kids.
Awesome. Love it.
Pablo was like, I hate sales, but like, I love money. I was like, let's go build a company together. I was working in AI at JP Morgan. It was like the most boring thing to do ever. Working in a bank. So I was like, let's go do it.
For the money. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
How big is the team? I mean, it sounds like you've already scaled this business a little bit.
Yeah, so we're a team of 4 right now.
Okay.
Focus is very important.
Yeah.
So when you're asking where does humans perform better than AI, that's what we're testing.
Sure.
Is whenever AI does better, we'll automate it. But if not, we have us actually doing that work.
Yep.
We want to be very thick into the workflow, understand the problem, and at the end of the day, it's my reputation down the line.
Yeah.
It's not the AI SDR of Throxy. It's me. So we're showing face in front of our clients and ensuring that this works.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Well, good luck to you.
Amazing, guys. Congratulations.
Fantastic.
Awesome,
Enjoy
guys.
the rest
Thanks
of
for popping
Demo Day.
on. Cheers.
Nice meeting you.
We will talk to you soon. And we will continue our coverage of YC Demo Day 2025. We will bring in the next guest. I see some people out there. Come on down to the Palace of Party Rounds. Tell us about your company. How you doing? Morphix in the studio. I see one hat.
Let's
I think I got to give out a second hat. How you doing? Welcome to the stream.
Good catch.
Come on down. Good catch. Who are you? What do you do?
We are Morphic. I'm Avi, and we build open source multimodal search for AI agents and applications.
Okay. Open source multimodal search. What are, give me some examples of the multimodality. What are we searching? Because some of these data sets, I'm imagining if you're trying to search over YouTube videos, YouTube's going to shut you down if I'm trying to search across that.
No, that's a great question. So for multimodality, it includes not only like just plain textual documents, but documents that might have pictures, photos, images embedded inside of them. What a lot of other people approach it as is trying to do OCR parsing on top, but that doesn't work because documents are
PDFs are a nightmare. The PDF spec is a disaster.
Exactly.
We know
it's
this.
a disaster.
We've known this for decades. It's not getting any better. Adobe, clean it up.
What we do is we
take
embed pages directly as images and retrieve over those. That is much higher accuracy, much better performance.
Very cool.
Are you guys going to be able to fix the Photos app? Searching in Photos, very hard.
We'd love to if Apple gives us a chance.
Yeah. Give them a shot. Give them a shot, Tim.
It does seem like they're trying to do that type of multimodal search on across of it, but they're just not there yet in terms of like, I'll be searching for, a dog jumping on a couch. I know that I have it in my camera roll, but it's a video. And that scene happened later and they haven't indexed it properly. So lots of opportunities. Talk about where people are implementing this. Is it enterprise private data sets? Is it public, scrape the web? I want to search everything. Narrow it down for me.
It's a little bit of both. The most adoption is in the legal tech space.
Oh, interesting.
Also in the health tech space. They have like lots of documents with like tables, charts. Patent drafting, for example, has like a lot of technical diagrams in them.
Yeah, of course.
And it works really well for those people as well.
Okay, talk to me about the other major players in the space. We saw Glean yesterday raised, 150 million at 7.2 billion. This feels somewhat adjacent. You're kind of eating off their plate a little bit. Is that a direct competitor, or is there something different where you can play nicely with them?
Yeah, so I mean, the kind of benefit for us is that we provide APIs and we're much more of a developer tool.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the way we see this going is actually not as a competitor to Glean, but like more of like a provider to Glean.
Okay.
Right. And not just Glean, but to people that are building like Cursor for X, and you need to deal with multimodal documents.
Sure.
That's exactly what we can help you with. So we're starting with search, but that's not it, right? One of the things that Cursor, the reason why like tools like Cursor and like coding agents have become really good is because code is low entropy, which means you can predict like well into the future what code is going to look like. One thing that we can do is help you get that low entropy with multimodal information. And so like what video editing looks like, kind of like 3 or 4 steps in the future, if I've like cut a clip and like cut another clip, I kind of know that I'm going to delete the thing in the middle, right? And so if you can use that and essentially provide that to models as like code, that ends up like performing a lot better. And you can start building Cursor for video editing, and you can start building Cursor.
How did you guys meet? What were you doing before YC?
We're both brothers. Before,
no way.
Yeah, before YC, I was a software engineer at MongoDB.
Oh, cool.
And this guy dropped
So
out
the
from
open
Cornell.
source thing tracks.
Dropped out of where?
Yes,
right?
exactly. Cornell.
Nice.
Very
nice.
cool. Yeah, talk to us about the open source strategy. How closely are you mimicking MongoDB? We heard earlier on the show that MongoDB didn't have a managed service, a SaaS product, until they almost went IPO. Are you planning to monetize the open source program earlier? What is the play between, am I using the open source version or am I paying you, look like?
Yeah, good question. The way we see it is for people who, if it benefits a single community member, then we want to open source it. If it benefits a team, then we want to leave it closed source.
Interesting.
So things like SSO, things like connectors like Google Drive, etc., or maybe like speeding it up for like making queries much faster.
This is all going to fall apart when people start building one-person billion-dollar companies, because you're going to be like, it all has to be open source because you only have one person.
That's true.
That'll be a good problem.
That's a good problem to have. But digging in more into the open source, what's the traction been like? Do you have a GitHub project that has a lot of stars? What are you tracking in terms of rollout?
2,600 stars today.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
4,000 monthly downloads.
Amazing. Thank you, Jordan.
And 200 active deployments in production.
Fantastic. There we go. There we go.
Audience is probably mad at me in the chat for that one, but it's amazing.
Yeah,
milestone.
it's fantastic.
You guys came into YC with this specific idea, or did you iterate to it throughout?
We came in with a much broader idea. We weren't too focused or indexed on multimodal before. We were like, hey, we want to be the data layer. What sort of helped us was trying to narrow down on the multimodal aspect, seeing how people are building more and just, building on from there.
Did you always want to start a company together?
Yes. That's been a dream since we were kids, but yeah.
Incredible.
That's great.
How's fundraising going?
Fundraising's going well. We're kind of close, but
Nice.
looking to do it faster.
Another one. Well, congratulations. It's been great chatting with you. Good luck on the next stage of your journey.
Very exciting.
We'll be following along
Yeah,
closely.
we're excited to use Cursor for video. Whenever
That would be
whoever
huge
builds
for
that,
us.
send them our way.
Yeah, they'll probably build it on top of your company. So thank you so much for stopping by.
Sounds
Awesome,
good.
guys.
We'll talk to you
Thank you
soon.
so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
See ya.
Do we have anyone else?
Good
There's a little
stuff.
bit of lunch break going on, giving you some inside
We got
baseball here at
Clyde
YC
coming
Demo
in.
Day 2025. But we have
Clyde
one
in the
more
house.
team. They don't need to take lunch breaks.
They're owning purple.
They're working.
They're owning
too
purple. They're
hard. They're owning
verticalizing purple, folks.
And
more Pit
the Pit
Vipers.
Vipers have made a return. I think it's all one pair of Pit
Is it a
Vipers that
single pair?
keeps recycling.
We know the Pit Viper
There's
founder.
not
He
enough
listens
color
to the
going
show.
on here. Let's put on some yellow hats
There
as
we
well.
go.
Let's just really get crazy with the fever dream that's going on with the orange, the purple, the yellow. We love
Clydey.
this.
All
Introduce
right, what are you
yourself.
guys up to?
What are you guys building?
We're building automatic technical documentation for Codebase.
Okay.
So saving 30% of employee time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain the first customer. Are you going after larger enterprises? Are you selling to other YC companies?
Yeah, ideally to enterprises.
Okay.
But we're starting off with Series A, B onwards companies.
Okay.
Majorly because that's when you start onboarding people.
Yep.
You need internal documentation to
Yep.
actually give like technical specification for your product, so on. So yeah, initial focus is Series A, P.
Specifically for companies that are delivering APIs that they sell access to?
Not just APIs, but any sort of like, right now it's a web application, but any sort of application in theory. So like API is part of it.
There's a number of open source projects that kind of allow you to stand up a boilerplate for open source documentation or API documentation. How is your product different? What are you hydrating? Because at a certain point, if there's kind of internal sacred knowledge around how an endpoint works, you have to get that from the person that designed it, or can you instantiate everything from the code?
Yeah, that's the plan. Like the idea is for us to not depend on one person.
Yeah.
The idea is like we actually go across the organization, all the code bases, and understand those like technical specifications like in the background.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no dependency.
How are you dealing with security? I imagine that if you're going across all the code bases, all of a sudden there's like secrets that could leak. There's internal tooling that maybe they don't want to have out there in their documentation.
Yeah.
How do you think about that?
So we make it completely self-hostable, the best part. So especially for an enterprise when they have to be compliant, they have
of course,
the regulations and so on.
Yep.
So we completely make it self-hostable. People can actually just use our product. Like it's packaged, so you can spin it up, you put the repositories in, and nothing leaves their network.
How did you guys get to YC?
Like in terms of the place?
Yeah, what's the backstory?
You want to go?
Car, plane, what was it?
I mean, through plane, that was the last time. I've known this guy. We've been through so many places. I've known him for about 10 years. We met in uni, hackathons, tons of projects.
Very cool.
And to get to YC, just a couple failed applications, and here we are now.
There you go. Story.
Always a failed application.
So many. Everyone has one at least in their belt. How's the traction been? What are you sharing today?
Yeah, so we launched about 2.5 weeks ago. We already are around 3,000 in revenue.
Congratulations.
Let's go.
There we go.
We have about six, 7 customers now.
Oh, amazing.
So we are, it's going well. We're increasing over 30% week on week actually.
There we go.
Week on week. Just do that for the next like 1,000 weeks.
We're good to go, hopefully, yeah. Never need to raise again.
You're good.
Nice. How's fundraising going? You guys in the midst of it?
Yeah, we're about 40% there,
Cool.
40-50% there. So
Great.
we're getting close.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Yeah. What is just you on the team right now? Do you have anyone else?
Just two of us.
Okay.
Keeping it that way for a while, or you think you'll start really scaling up?
We are thinking of getting people on board, but we want to make it. We want to keep it lean.
Yeah.
We're trying to automate documentation, so
you got to
automate, right?
Yeah. You got to live it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the stream. It's been
congratulations,
fantastic.
guys.
Thank you so
Awesome
much.
day.
Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good
And we are
stuff.
ready for our next guests coming into the Palace of Party Rounds. Welcome to the stream. The hum of YC Demo Day has died down as people move across the street to lunch. Good to meet you. How you doing?
What's happening?
Nice to meet you. I'm John.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you. How you doing?
What's happening? What's happening? Big day.
Keeping up? Yeah, it's a big day for us.
Yeah.
How'd the pitch go? Smooth?
We're gonna be in the afternoon today.
Okay, in the afternoon.
Yeah.
How are the nerves?
Good luck.
How are the nerves?
Honestly, we are used.
Yeah,
By
this
this
is
point,
done.
we are used.
Alumni Demo Day. They do a good
Yeah.
job of kind of like getting you so many reps that it just feels like anything else.
Yeah, honestly.
They work you up
just
to
another
it
talk.
very easily.
Yeah.
Introduce the company. What are you guys building?
So I'm Francesco, the founder of Kua. Alessandro is the CEO. So we are building computer use AI agents.
Okay.
Meaning AI agents that can solve any problems like a human would do in the terms of clicking, typing, scrolling.
Okay. At what layer of the AI stack are you working at? Are you sitting on top of just like a Chromium instance, or are you actually sitting on top of something like a browser base, or do you compete with them?
We wrap an entire operating system
Okay.
on a isolated environment, kind of like a Docker for computer use AI agents.
Okay.
And that means that we can use system level events for injecting these commands like click, type, and really any bash or PowerShell commands.
Yeah, and then what's working in computer use right now? There was a theory that you just read the HTML at some point.
Yeah.
Now there's more multimodal image generation, like actually take a screenshot, process that, understand where to click. What's working?
Yeah, so screenshot is working way better than accessibility tree for operating system. In general, you don't have any HTML DOM to parse really.
You don't parse any of that.
System.
You just throw it all away.
We just like use screenshot mode, screenshot and pixel based model
sense.
for that.
Yeah.
And it's also been proven by research that's working way better than interacting with
What
DOM.
categories of agents are you guys seeing the most, having the most excitement around traction? I think anytime you're building agentic infrastructure, you got to have companies that are building great products on top of you. That can be a challenge, but I'm sure there's a lot of other companies in the batch.
So we haven't chased any verticals, meaning that
you haven't chased any verticals.
Any
yet.
verticals,
okay.
meaning that we
Just
really
build
like
tool,
the infrastructure.
figure out what people want.
Yeah, exactly. Because like actually first month in YC, we were getting the most esoteric ask from the users in terms of, hey, I have this bunch of contractors that are simply trimming videos on video editing software on macOS. Can I use Kua for that?
Sure.
And like really, we couldn't converge to like very common workflows, and that's why companies that are our customers are chasing those verticals for us.
Okay. Do you see the market fragmenting? Do you think you will find a vertical and niche down, or do you want it all?
Honestly, we want it all.
Okay, let's go.
And we are here to.
Then what is the what are the key deliverables that you have to optimize against? Is it speed, reliability, price, some sort of combination? How do you think about that?
Like probably for computer user AI agents, we are still like 6 months away from the ChatGPT moment. Maybe for browser user AI agent, that's still the moment is today. So. Once we get that level of intelligence for models, we need to come prepared with a very good infrastructure to scale this isolated environment. Because like our leap of faith is that 5 years from now, most of the AI agent, a multi-agent system will rely on API, maybe 80% of the scenarios, and the other 20% are going to be based on browser and computer as tools.
What were you guys doing before this?
I was working at Microsoft for over 5 years.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Myself, I was in Notion, and I built also a few startups in the past. So.
Nice. Are you guys Italian?
We are Italian.
Nice. When did you come to the US?
3 months ago now.
3 months ago.
For YC.
Yeah, first time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How's it been? Living up to expectations?
Yeah, definitely. People ask me.
Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Yeah. People ask me, how is San Francisco now? Is it better? And I don't have any comparison.
How old were you when you knew you wanted to do YC? Was it?
I think it was pretty recently, like 3 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, maybe since I was 16 and I'm 26 now.
Wow.
So it's been like a long dream for me. And
that's remarkable.
Still like, I don't know if it's reality or not, but
living the dream. Living the dream.
Yeah.
What's the go-to-market been like?
So the go-to-market right now, we've been focusing mostly on startup and scale-up because we wanted to prove that we were on the right path and eventually fail also faster.
Yeah.
But we have an open source framework over 8K stars.
Whoa.
8K stars. Oh, you hit that. You buried the lead on us. Buried the lead on us.
And please go and start out.
Yeah. You head over to GitHub right now.
Yeah.
Give it another star.
Get on Kua.
Yeah, try Kua.
That's amazing.
/Kua. Kua.
Yeah. I mean, what's the monetization strategy around that open source project?
So we, like first month in YC, we were all these customer inbound that were basically asking us, how do I even productionize on a computer user agent today? So we are providing a pathway for the user from the open source to bring the same workflow that are working locally for them and scale them on cloud. So we're really charging only based on compute today. You simply have to input an API key on our platform, but what's going to happen also for us, we're going to become LLM inference provider for these computer user AI models. Because maybe the public sense is that there are only two computer user AI models, maybe the one from OpenAI and Anthropic. And that's only because they have a better PR office than other models. But honestly, like even on Hugging Face, you'll find model from ByteDance, UiTask 1.5. That's also outbeating OpenAI and Anthropic.
On computer use benchmarks?
On computer benchmarks like OS Word.
Sure.
And they are so hard to set up and also hard to discover. And also we're going to be the go-to catalog and platform where...
Yeah, how good are the evals right now, or the benchmarks for computer use? It feels more abstract than just, do some math problems.
Yeah, so I was actually working with the Windows team when I was at Microsoft doing evals for computer user agents on a benchmark called Windows Agent Arena, which is derived from OS Word. Really like this benchmark. They tasks are not very meaningful. Like for instance, you will find tasks like, hey, can you go and open VLC and add subtitles? Who's using VLC anymore? So that's the question. Even like using LibreOffice instead of like Office or even Google Docs. So what's gonna happen? My leap of faith here is that the next generation of benchmark will measure like real world tasks.
Yeah, do you think there'll be a sort of like LM Arena style benchmark where a human is watching two computer use models use computers, and there's kind of like a vibe check almost.
Yeah, or even like a wiki race where you have like
a wiki race.
Yeah. Even like
no.
Okay, so wiki race is like you start with Y Combinator and you have to end at Christopher Columbus. And how many clicks do you have to click to get from one to the other? So you might say YC has San Francisco has America has Columbus. And so you try and race through, and it's an intelligence test, but it's also great computer use test. That's hilarious. But also I imagine that there could be like a big model smell, like a vibe check on the computer use, because if it looks very jerky and it looks confused, like that's something that might not even come across in a quantitative benchmark, but a qualitative human might evaluate it differently.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And also like there is this whole problem. Okay, I have this workflow that now is working maybe 80% of the time. How do I make sure that I'm able to reproduce the same kind of workflow all over again? So we're also working on episodic memory that will let you basically use RPA 1.0, the old-fashioned RPA in UI automation for workflows that are very deterministic, and then say that you have a deviation from one trajectory due to noise or changing on a web page. Then that's when you use like full computer use, where it really makes sense.
That makes a ton of sense.
Any other Italian YC founders in this batch?
We haven't met many.
Are you guys hometown heroes back in the Italian tech scene?
You got to go do the local press in Italy.
Do the press.
Now you're in YC.
Delian
does this in Bulgaria. He's like a celebrity over there. And over here, he's just another VC with
you know,
couple
there is a YSkey WhatsApp group now. They're arranging like this week on the mountains.
Somewhere in Italy.
They call it?
We call it YSkey. That's reason enough alone to apply to Y Combinator.
But then
most elite group chat.
Anyway, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you guys. Good to
we'll see you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much. Let's bring on the next. Do we have who do we have next? Oh, Delian! We were just talking about you. What's up? How you doing? Oh, you got the hat on already.
I got the hat.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh.
Let's go, baby.
Shots fired.
Let's go. Shots fired.
I can't believe you hit him with that. We've been doing that when we hear like big numbers, big ARs. We didn't bring the gong.
Should I? So I was a Y Combinator summer 14 company.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you want me to go through my summer 14?
Please give us the pitch. Give us the pitch.
So hi everyone. My name is Delian Asparohov. I'm the CEO of Nightingale. We build software that helps autism therapists that work with young children to basically help them capture data on those children's behaviors, put that into reports that you then send off to your insurance companies to get reimbursed. Today, all of this is done by paper and pencil, super manual. Takes these therapists like 30% of their workday just doing a bunch of bureaucratic actions. We cut that down, make it super fast. They get reimbursed more quickly, and they get to spend more time with the kiddos rather than on a bunch of paperwork.
It's cursor for autism.
I was about to say cursor.
It's cursor for autism. So if you ever wonder where all the autism came from, it's because my first company, literally, all I did was spend time with autistic kids. And so, if I had some in me already, it got amplified.
How did your demo day go? Did you raise? Like, what was it hard to raise back then? It feels like everyone here can put together $1 million seed round pretty easily.
What was like the comp that you used? A lot of YC companies obviously like to give some
Uber
type
for,
of like, Anduril for dog walking. Et
yeah, and like summer 14, like you have to remember, like at the time, it's not like there was a ton of like healthcare SaaS things that had worked. It's like you had like Epic as like an EMR that obviously done
no
super well,
really
but like
Epic the story fully.
Yeah, and like we weren't really an EMR. So honestly, I think like I remember like Sam, at the time, because he was like the head of YC back then, 2 weeks before demo day, basically told me like, your pitch is fucking trash. And then I went and, we're going to say this on live stream, but I took some psychedelics on a weekend and like, really thought about my pitch, for that weekend. Made a lot of improvements. And then Sam afterwards told me, he was like, relative to where your company's at and like performance, phenomenal presentation.
Wow.
But phenomenal presentation in 2014 turned into like 600K seed round. That was a fucking grind to get through. I was like still 2 months after demo day, like, doing individual calls.
Crazy.
And it's just like, when you look at like the amount of capital that's like, whatever, like the next door building.
There was like somebody said there was like a 2-hour wait this morning. If you tried to show up like right at the start, there was like, the line was like 2 blocks down.
Summer 14, like we like filled up like a small little like area, like cocktail area in like the Computer History Museum down in there. So it's like
if you just given 10 grand to like every batch member with you, you would have $1 billion now. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think Summer 14 did have some hits. I'd have to go back and remember who
Summer
the biggest
2012,
were.
my batch had a ton. Coinbase, Instacart,
that was a good
Zapier.
batch.
Yeah, it was a good batch. There were a bunch of good ones.
But yeah, it's like interesting to study. Just like I feel like you can use Demo Day. This is my first time coming to Demo Day in like I think 7 years or something like that. Partially like in 2018, I went, spent a bunch of time on it, and like honestly, it just like didn't lead to any investments. And so I was like, at some point, what am I sort of doing here? And then obviously COVID really killed it off. And so excited to be back. But it's also an interesting just like marker of like the industries, sort of maturity of just like the amount of companies, what the companies are working on. Now also the amount of comps that like you can like look at. Like in 2014, if you had said like my comp is like I would like to be a $100 billion publicly traded company, it's like, okay, there's like basically like 2 of those in the entire history of technology.
Well, now you have to come because people are doing Varda for X. You
gotta last fact, there was an Indian Varda, so gotta track those guys down and figure out how to like acquire them. So we have like a Desi Varda.
Yeah, that's great. Have you seen any of the hard tech companies yet? Any of the pitches? Gary said like 11% of the batch is hard tech.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Like, I mean, I remember in like 2018, 19, when I was doing like hard tech, industrials, defense, aerospace, it was just like so uninteresting to so many people. Like they would all like literally like, we talked about this with like Everett, my former colleague. He's just like, oh, like if anything is like, negative gross margins and like highly CapEx intensive, send it to Deli. And he like said that as a joke. Yeah. And then now everybody's realizing like actually CapEx intensivity is like the best mode ever. Because like if you just build software, AI slop can, replicate it basically overnight. Definitely looked at it, a handful of them. I think it's cool to see that like YC's leaning into this because it's not something that they've.
They also they had a couple hard runs with like Pebble was a really big like hard go because like they got so Sherlocked by Apple with the Apple Watch.
Totally.
Like, yeah, what are you gonna do? But then at the same time, like there's been now like Astranis and Oklo and like a few really even harder tech companies that have made it through and like scaled. So
Astranis, I do think is like the best. Like Oklo, obviously, like sort of from trading, but like hard to figure out.
Yeah, hard to figure out, but still.
But Astranis feels like it's got some sort of
real
Pico
Bioworks is another one. That's
it's like 300 feet down. I admit though, like, look, I think like, I mean, if you look at, the like YC deep tech, sort of portfolio and like hit rate and outcomes relative to like the FF or Delian seed deep tech industrial portfolio, there's definitely one that I would want to buy in the basket of and one that I wouldn't. And I mean, maybe I shouldn't be speaking. Maybe Gary's going to fucking kick me out.
I think like the bull case is that like it is great to have exactly what YC is, which is an incubator, an accelerator, like a pool for that type of talent to come out of. And if you wind up picking over at it at some point, like that's fine. And that's actually part of the ecosystem. And yes, like you're going to get earlier stuff, but it's nice that there's at least an ecosystem. Some of the people that go through YC with hard tech, they might become employees at these companies. They might become acquisition or acquihire.
It opens the Overton window for like the average Stanford grad to like not just work on AI stuff.
How many multi-stage VCs have pulled back from doing demo day investing at all and just saying, we're not going to try to go?
I mean, I feel like in like, sort of 2019, it was like the consensus thing. Like at some point, like everybody was like, why are we doing this? It's just like way too many companies. They're like, sort of seed rounds, feel like, and again, maybe Gary's gonna kick me out for this, but it's like the seed rounds felt like they were really overpriced. And especially as a multi-stage firm, it's like, well, you can just wait for the Series A and like on a risk reward basis.
It's not like the companies are gonna die if they
there's
don't step in. There's plenty of
like
players
YC specific funds that would come in and just write 100K check into tons of companies. So like everyone was getting their rounds done. But yeah, I mean, it just speaks to like how they're playing. Also, there's this weird dynamic where YC used to say, like, I don't know if you got this advice, but it was like, don't pitch any investors until YC demo day. And then everyone was like, oh, well, like the game theory is like, if I'm the only one pitching before demo day, I should do it.
All the interest.
I get all the interest. And so like, there's still like, I'm sure like you will take a pitch with a YC demo day founder a couple weeks earlier because they're inventive and creative and they got to you before.
Totally.
You just might not find them through this.
I do think there's some amount of like, a lot of the like, sort of companies have already closed their rounds by like the time this day happens, which was very much so not the case in 2014. 2014 was like maybe one company in the entire batch. And by the way, for what it's worth, like if you study those like early batches, there was basically like an extreme negative correlation between like the ones that like sort of raised early and that actually ended up being like the like sort of batch returning sort of outcomes.
I remember there was one company in YC Summer 12 that had a super viral video because they were in the viral video making business, and so they got a ton of attention, and they'd also like kind of ramped revenue by like saying like, we'll produce a video for $100,000. Like that's not really like durable, scalable revenue.
It was Clearly before Clearly.
The company that made the
and they raised a $60
deal.
million round before demo day, and everyone was like, what's going on? And Coinbase is sitting there at 8. And it's like,
Did you see that ad? It was a company called CoTool. They did like a skit based on the deal rippling thing.
No way.
They went super viral. Prank on it.
No, they did. You got to see this video. It's hilarious. But they're in this batch.
They have a service that will monitor Slack chats for honeypots and create honeypots for you and do all this different cybersecurity stuff. It's great.
I mean, I think back on I just had this memory from 2017 when I was at Coastal Ventures where Vinod would basically have the junior team go through and crawl through the entire batch of everybody the week beforehand basically. Yep. On the Sunday night before the Tuesday demo day, we would invite 15 companies to present at KV on Sunday from noon until literally midnight. We would be there. I remember letting founders in at 11:30 at night to come pitch the firm. Wow. And it actually felt like we had this really deep arb. It was alpha. Nobody else was doing it, etc. Yep. And then literally it's like you said, now there's these infinite sort of YC funds where I actually just feel the alpha there on doing the pre-work, etc. Getting into it. It's not to say there might not be some good outcomes, but many more people run that strategy. And then even the fact that something like this exists, the idea in 2014 that there'd be a live show that anybody would give a fuck about and actually want to tune into to talk to YC companies. Bro, we could barely get anybody pay attention to any of us, let alone the idea that there's whatever going to be 15,000 people on Twitter. So yeah, this entire industry's just gotten this is we are the new Wall Street. It's kids grow up in 2008 being I want to be an investment banker.
Yeah, the kid right here just said it. I knew I wanted to join YC when I was 16. And he's 26 now, so it's a decade in the making.
I mean, we talked about this in relation to the Teal Fellowship recently, where it's in 2012, the off-track thing to do was to drop out, build a company, join an accelerator, work in technology. Now this is the track, and so we need to practically find
there's a high school dropout in this batch.
Yeah. I mean, at this point,
there's an article in Business Insider today by Julia Hornstein, who wrote the first article about us, talking about how not even going to college at all is the new dropping out.
It's just the default.
It's just the default.
Versus in my year at MIT, I remember there was 3 of us that dropped out.
It was
a big deal.
The key is apply to college, get accepted, and then
get the branding, be MIT acceptee, but that's all.
I had a whole riff on this. It's Delian, you dropped out of MIT. I knew that I would drop out if I went there, so I didn't even apply.
Yeah, exactly.
It's I did go to a different college to graduate, but it's just you're a sucker for even having gone for a day. I didn't even go to MIT.
You paid the application
fee. What a
fucking
sucker!
Schmuck, paid a full year of tuition. God damn.
Boomer.
I want those $45,000 back. I could have put that in fucking NVIDIA and I'd be a billionaire.
Boomer mode. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by.
Good to see you, boys.
Thanks for almost blasting me in the face. We got some big news, new investment from you coming on.
Oh,
looking forward to
see you
that
guys tomorrow.
Can't wait. We'll see you back-to-back days. Welcome to the Demo Day stream. 2025. Good to meet you. How are you doing? I'm John. Nice to meet you, Dave.
Dave Munichello.
Did you photograph us out there, or was that somebody else at GV?
No, I didn't photograph you. Why? Who was photographing
you? One of your buddies, someone else at GV, Han.
Okay.
He took a picture.
Put us
on the
timeline. That was okay.
Oh yeah,
He popped us.
We love the paparazzi.
It was good.
Can you introduce yourself for the stream?
Yeah. So Dave Munichello, Google Ventures.
Cool.
I'm a managing partner there.
Fantastic.
I've been there about 13 years.
Yeah.
Investing in AI and enterprise software from the early days.
Lots
Done a
of
ton
good
of
stuff
YC
to do
companies.
here. Yeah.
I was just standing in a room downstairs hanging with a bunch of folks, and Gary came in and said, "Hey, you got to go do this." So
amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
I'm here. Excited to hang.
Yeah. What trends are you following? What are you seeing that you like? What's interesting?
Well, first break YC into chapters for us from your point of view. I'm sure you've invested in companies at this point, maybe not on right around demo day, but in every batch.
So, I was in Cambridge in the early days in grad school when Paul Graham and those folks were in Cambridge doing their thing. And so at that point in time, YC was the cool place to be connected to.
Totally.
Right? And I think, a lot of us, I met, a partner of mine that now runs our life sciences team, and I co-lead our digital team here at GV. We met in Cambridge, and we used to get really excited about any Cambridge YC events.
That's amazing.
So the place has totally evolved.
Totally.
Right.
It's a machine. It's
multiple
an institution.
chapters. Totally. Was fortunate enough to do GitLab in the early days. Knew Dalton from day one, and Sid has always shared his enthusiasm. Patrick Collison is a portfolio founder, comes in and talks to the batch, and then we hear the cool stuff from him.
What was the perception around GitLab at the time? I feel like I remember it, and it was kind of discounted because it was open source, and GitHub was already such a success. It was how are they going to do anything when there's already this winner?
I literally just stepped out before this, out to do the earnings call with the CEO and the CFO to do the investor callback because we're public market shareholders of the company.
Oh, wow.
So we invested just after the Series B.
Yeah.
We actually passed on the Series B.
Oh, no.
And we had a bunch of concerns, and if I look at those concerns, they were.
Here, hold the mic a little bit closer, or just angle
Sorry.
it. So yeah.
They were one of the first companies to be remote only.
Oh
So it
yeah,
was like
that was the
WordPress
thing.
and GitLab.
Yeah.
We're like, this
You're
remote
like,
only
"It's never
thing
gonna work."
seems strange. How the hell are they going to run a company like
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Sid is extremely technical.
Sure.
And I think remote only works really well for him because
Yep.
of the way that he shows up
Yep.
as a human. But he writes everything down. And so that works for a subset of people in society.
So he wrote down GV past, but then he still let you in.
I mean, we talked
Yeah, of
constantly.
course.
Like passing
sure,
out a
yeah.
company
It
is
happens
just
all the
like
time.
it's just like this
Part of the
stage
business.
isn't right for us, but we want to continue to
Sure.
talk to you over time, right?
Yeah,
What's your approach to
And,
demo day now? I'm assuming you don't have a lot of FOMO. You guys write bigger checks.
We've met something like 30 companies so far.
Okay, so you are
before
writing
demo day.
checks even at this early stage.
We write checks into YC companies. We love YC companies.
Amazing.
Yeah. So even though we're multi-stage,
Yeah.
like $100 million into a public company,
Yeah.
as we were just talking about, we also do seed and everything in between. A is
Yeah.
our sweet spot. A's and B's.
Great.
We do like an event a few weeks before demo day every year with all the
Sneaky.
YC founders,
Nice.
and then we know all the group partners, right? So
Yeah.
they'll like
Yeah.
constantly ping us with ideas and
That's
stuff.
great.
that they're
That's
excited
great.
about.
What is the integration with Google like now?
We're entirely separate. in
Entirely
every way.
separate.
Yeah. So we raise capital from Google.
Yep,
They're our
but that's
sole
it.
LP.
Yep.
It's an LP relationship.
Yeah, because it's such an interesting dynamic. Because on the one hand, like that could be incredible value add. If
It
it's
is
like,
incredible.
hey,
Yeah.
we'll introduce you. You can sell into Google.
The incredible thing is we have a stable LP that's
Yep.
there forever.
Permanent capital,
with
essentially.
Plenty of capital
Yep.
and an appetite for risk.
Yep.
So we have a great LP that we have a half an hour conversation with every couple years.
Yep.
And plenty of capital.
Wow.
We don't spend any time pontificating about where we think the market is. It's why I had to call our comms people before I came on here. It's like
Yeah.
we don't usually do marketing or,
Sure.
like comms events or podcasts or stuff like this.
Yeah.
Excited to talk to you guys.
Of course.
But yeah, I think we're unique in that we spend all of our time with founders.
Yeah.
So I shared the
It's
I
such
was in
a, I mean,
Cambridge.
it's such a hack. I mean, I think you're the envy of every, no matter how successful our GP friends and the GPs on the show, having a dynamic where 100 people could call you on a Saturday at 5 p.m. and you kind of owe them your time to some degree. And that's like that LP, dynamic.
I mean, I talked to obviously tons of friends at the GP level across different firms. It does keep them sharp. Like they get a lot of pressure from LPs, constant questions, deal flow, connectivity. I think that's really positive.
Yeah.
But we don't have to deal with a lot of that stuff, and so we spend time connecting with
you get the
founders
time.
and other GPs.
Yeah, well, what do you think the nature of those questions usually are? Is it just like trying to understand markets and trends and how the fund
Questions
is
from LPs?
positioned? Yeah, I haven't really sat on that.
You know
side.
what's
I went to
weird
one.
is,
I've been to like one or two LP days
so
for big funds.
LPs
So what's this
call
Transformer
us.
thing? I keep
Yeah,
hearing
yeah,
about Transformers.
I didn't want to say it, but I think that's kind of the
I've seen the
vibe.
movie, but
That's
give me a little
hilarious. I mentioned this idea of like we invested in GitLab in the early days, and
Yeah.
then now they're a public company.
Yeah.
Like hedge funds invest in the stock.
Sure.
They call us to ask us for our perspective
I'm sure,
on the company.
I'm sure.
And they're thinking about like what happens in 2 weeks. And I imagine LPs are like slightly farther out. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
90
yeah.
days
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
to like, what's happening today? What's hot today?
Yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah.
you in the right deals? That
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
things. Our LP doesn't care about any of that stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we don't have that conversation about like what we're in, what we're not in,
Yeah.
etc. It's like entirely focused on
do you have
backing generational founders.
Do you have a particular understanding of how the startup landscape is interfacing with the Mag 7, the big tech companies right now? We're in an interesting time. The big tech companies, they all kind of like went from 100 billion in market cap to $1 trillion very easily, and it was kind of like it was kind of like the easiest 10x of their entire career. In kind of some sort of unexpected way. You would think that would be the hardest one, but a lot of them just did it. At the same time, it feels like there's more opportunity for startups than ever, but the big companies have more resources than ever. What are you talking to founders
Yeah,
about?
I mean, specifically around AI,
Yeah.
we're wondering constantly, like, is AI going to make incumbents stronger? Or
Yes,
does the Mag
it seems
7
like a
get
sustaining
bigger?
innovation.
Totally.
And yet, I'm talking to companies that are doing millions of dollars in ARR over 2 days.
That's right. That's right. And I think the question for us is, does each incumbent, each big SaaS company, do they bolt on AI?
Sure.
Do they acquire
I know.
AI?
Yeah, we're seeing this with the
do a
Windsurf thing. Does
49%
every
investment?
big tech company need
49%
a
investment.
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's a new hot
That's
structure.
it's the new M&A. It's 40% investment.
I'll take 49 and all your best people.
Yeah, I could do this valuation or double it, and you get half. It's like the same number.
But I think having loads of capital right now
Yeah.
in a time when like the seats are shifting in tech is quite interesting. The Mag 7 might be the Mag 70 in the next 10 years, right?
Ooh,
you might
I like
have a
that.
different
I like
set
that.
of
Add a
humans.
zero to it.
I would
there.
like it. I would like more
that.
big tech companies. We're on the
So-
side of big tech, and so
Yeah.
we want there to be as much.
I mean, this
big
is
tech
actually
as
little
possible.
tech. The 70 would be little tech growing
No, but
into
we're
big tech, right?
we're fans of all of it.
All of it.
Just
All
of it.
high high technology.
We'll defend tech. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Totally.
I think this idea that like people want to say AI is good for big tech or it's an extending innovation, but it can be good for both, right? It can be so transformative. Like the internet was good for some big companies that adapted well to it. Totally. It was good for a bunch of completely novel ideas, and so we don't have to like pick one and pick a side. It can be an extending innovation, and it can also enable all of this.
Yeah,
I think we're in this exciting place where like the most high agency humans in our lives that we're all connected to, they're empowered not just to have like the underlying cloud be present for them, but intelligence be present for them. Yeah. And so now they're building. You know, I met a company out there that was like one person, no engineers, already have tons of revenue. Like I think that he told me it's going to be the first $1 billion company.
Oh, he's going for it.
Right?
He's going for it.
I always get hung up on that because it's like if you attach. It does feel like a vanity metric.
It's
a total. I mean, it'll be amazing when it happens, but a total vanity metric that can like guide you towards bad decision making. But
it feels like it might like happen accidentally. If it happens at all. It shouldn't be something that's maybe deliberate.
Or the way to do it is just get to $1 billion and then lay off every other person but yourself.
Yeah. The private equity guys are really going to be the ones that do it. They're going to be like,
not how we build
we bought a 10,000 person company and we fired everyone except for one person.
There are a few VC companies right now looking at VC firms that are looking at the PE roll up.
Sure.
Right? Like buy something that has massive distribution.
Have you looked at any
we
stuff
have
like that?
looked at them. We have passed on a lot of them. I think it feels like a PE play where you're trying to like get the multiple to change as a result of the industry that you're going after.
It's all a question of how big the AI impact is,
like,
right?
A lot of the founders that are running that strategy, they just should change the structure and just say like, we're going to run a PE playbook here, and we're going to be 2 and 20. We're going to be 2 and 20.
Yeah,
because it's if you can raise 20 million on 100 for the strategy and keep like a lot of the economics, sure, it's great for the team, but it should probably be like the comp incentive structure should look more like private equity.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
You guys are friends with a buddy of mine, Sean McGuire's been on here a couple of times.
Yeah, of course.
Sean introduced me to a founder on Friday night at like 9 o'clock over text.
Nice.
And I respond back and the guy's like, do you want to meet tonight?
Nice.
Do you want to meet tomorrow morning? Like, I'll come to you. I live like an hour away. I'll drive to you. I'm like, that kind of high agency humans can be empowered by, an entire set of tools, a whole software suite. AI will be the thing that powers all of these incredible humans that we're sort of meeting today.
For sure.
The thing I hope we get some more of these companies on. We've had a lot of developer tool teams on. I think this idea of like business automation is being heavily explored around agents. But we were talking with Dylan Patel last week, and he says like the next category besides consumer tech, with like LLMs like ChatGPT. Then you have code gen as like big revenue categories, and like this third category of just actual like business automation. So like how do you just make the machine work? Yeah. And everybody's thinking about it in the concept of like agents, which is like kind of I think like almost a simplistic way to view these things, and like what is the next iteration of that, where it's like actually like an autonomous system that doesn't have to interact like a regular employee. It's sort of so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it across an organization like a Sierra or a Decagon. Harvey is a legal AI company that we're invested in. Yeah. There's some medical AI companies. So like every vertical has AI, but it looks a lot like a human. It's like a replacement of a human.
It's replacement of a human, but how do you replace 20 humans at once?
Like whole
cross-functionally.
Yeah.
How do you worry when a YC deal that you're looking at gets hot? Do you worry? Do you think it's a?
We don't worry at all. No, I think
but I mean, historically, I think if you do look at the data, a lot of these companies, that some of the hotter companies at demo day don't end up, always.
I mean, we're investing in super hot companies at the A and the B, and the most sought after companies get marked up incredibly, right? So it's a sign of the heat is a sign of enthusiasm from great people.
Talent, opportunity.
Totally. And so like you have to, if you're choosing to get exposed to that asset class, you have to be willing to pay the prices to enter that asset class and play in that asset class. Here, the challenge is that you have like 3 months of data.
Yeah.
And so you're talking
it's like the company that grows revenue the fastest in 2 weeks, 3 months, whenever they actually launch, is not necessarily the company that's going to grow revenue the fastest over 2 years, 3 years.
We've seen that a bunch of times where we invest in a YC company, and then after demo day, it kind of chills out a little bit, and then it reaccelerates.
Yeah, that's good.
There's a founder in this batch. Right? Yeah, totally. Yeah. Founder in this batch that raised, I think, like almost $8 million of uncapped convertible notes, right? And so it's just like humans.
Dog, an absolute dog.
He's an incredible founder, it's an incredible team, and like I understand why people are sort of leaning in to working with him, but that makes it pretty difficult.
Yeah, yeah. You're thinking about that
posts.
next call in a year or two with Google being like, trying to explain like, entering a party round on an uncapped note. It's easy to justify if it works
literally
out.
has no visibility into
sure.
the deal.
That's good. That's good.
Like,
so maybe it's easier for
but
you
for
to do.
us, the thing that we care about is we want to be your lifelong partner. Like the thing that we think about for founders is how can we be for them there for them over every round and into the future.
What's your messaging around signal risk? Because I think there's this, like, if you're truly a multi-stage fund, you could do an early round, and you could say, we're good with our ownership right now, and like we're going to help you raise this round, but we actually, like, I think this concept of like signaling risk is like totally possible for you to want to invest in a company today and 3 years from now. So like just because you don't do the in-between rounds or
this is
specific
the exact
round,
conversation I was having when Gary walked up and said, hey, you should go talk to these guys. So I was talking to Niraj from General Catalyst.
Oh, yeah.
And we were chatting about like, do you play when the price gets to an uncomfortable place? What signal does that send? Like you're essentially sending a signal to the market that your firm is excited about this company. They have a separate seed program. So they can kind of categorize this as like, this is a seed bet. We're gonna put $1 million into this company. We'll see how it goes. We don't have a separate seed program. When we do an early stage bet, we use similar criteria to what we use in the A. Obviously, they don't yet have A metrics, but the question is like, if they had A metrics, would we lead the A in this company? So there is a big signal when we do it. So it makes it harder for us to do like 30 or 40 companies.
Yeah.
We talk to 30 or 40, we might do a handful.
Yeah, makes sense. Very cool. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having
guys.
us.
You're welcome on the show.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great to have you on.
Thank you. Take care.
Good to meet.
And we are ready for our next team or individual or investor or yapper. Who will it be? We will be surprised because we are at YC Demo Day 2025. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Good to see you. You already have the hat. Hi, how you doing?
You're looking around for the camera.
You are on live. You're on a live stream.
You can look here. You can look
You'll
here.
need to introduce
Wear
yourself.
this hat? Okay.
You can wear your hat. You don't need to wear that. Whatever you, whatever
I'm not
you
gonna wear that.
Yeah, don't wear the hat.
Let the-
Nice
I
to
guess
meet you. I'm
I'm
John.
John, what's up?
Jordy,
Andrew,
good.
Jordy, how are you guys?
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Andrew Lee. I'm a partner at Andreessen Horowitz.
Fantastic.
Both working in the games fund and also at A16Z Speedrun.
Very cool.
Nice.
Are there any games companies here today?
There are no game companies here,
None.
which is somewhat sad.
Is that you sucked them all into speedrun?
Is that your guys' fault?
This is your fault. This is your fault.
There's about 4 or 5
You took
of them.
the games from us.
I would say that for YC, there's about 4 or 5 consumer companies, which is pretty good.
So you can look at those.
Oh, for sure.
4 or 5 in the whole batch.
I mean, like there's like 5 or 6-ish.
Still.
But here's the
Single
good thing. I
digits.
mean, like there were a couple companies who previously in the past were like B2B companies. They're like, you know what? This is really boring.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Fun.
And a number of them like ended up in gaming and they ended up in entertainment. So that was exciting. And then also, I just generally think that like if you're going to build something that your mom or your 17-year-old DGen friend is going to go ahead and play, then it makes sense for them to go ahead and build B2B stuff as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to talk about the games fund. I've been super interested in how hard it is to get into the hot games because they kind of blow up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like
you're like getting on a plane to Sweden and you're like
it's more like investing
by the time
in
you
movies
get there
or
they've
something.
doubled ARR.
Yeah, like there was this Balatro game that was like a massive thing. There was Among Us. Was that the one? Yeah. Among Us.
I mean that was probably one of the top ones ever played during COVID.
During COVID, like these kind of like flash in the pan games that become very viral, but I don't understand if they're like necessarily good businesses.
Yeah.
So like, how are you thinking about finding great games or games related companies or even just consumer companies? Like, what are you looking for? Because the signal seems so much more noisy than if there's noise around a like an enterprise dev tool company, like they're probably selling that and it's probably going to be pretty sticky. Whereas like Balatro, I don't know. It seems like Local Funk, I think his name is, fantastic developer, but who knows if that's like going to turn into like Activision. Right?
I think fundamentally for us, the way that we tend to think about it is there's like a couple different things to care about. One is that if there's a large audience that has a bunch of folks that are going to play, that if you do one innovation in that audience that makes sense. For example, big fans of League of Legends, if you're all out there.
Oh, yeah.
If you're trying to create like a MOBA, that sort of makes sense.
Sure.
But I think that for us, honestly, the big wave we see is in the world of AI.
Sure.
Right? Whether it's like changes in 3D animation, we fundamentally think that the future of entertainment is actually going to be, there's going to be an AI Pixar. Mark my words, someone's going to make an AI Pixar. It may not actually even be Pixar, right? Because usually what happens is we tend to think that like an incumbent, for example, like Disney or something like that,
actual Pixar,
is gonna make like the next thing or potentially take the next wave. But I don't know if you guys seen any of these VO videos.
Oh, incredible!
I mean, the Bible Bros, the whatever, like stormtroopers vlogging all over the place. I'm like, it's astounding. And I don't think that's something that could ever occur. There's like a sort of innovator's dilemma that's occurring with the existing folks. Yeah. So
even just from like a PR pressure, like I don't know if you saw that show, The Studio. There's this whole sequence where they're very worried about the casting for this new Kool-Aid movie, and then it is revealed that no one cares about the casting. All they care is that they used AI a little bit, and it's this really hot button issue. There's massive PR backlash, and so that's this counter positioning where if you come to the market and you say like, yeah, we're an AI Pixar, we're just making AI stuff. You don't have the expectation. People expect Pixar not to use that.
That's right.
How are you thinking about investing at the game layer versus kind of the infrastructure layer? It feels like there's a bunch of new tooling around just creating these generative worlds that can turn into games. And is the Roblox of AI Roblox, or is it something new?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the thing is what we've seen is, we go where the founders go. And it seems the number one area that the founders are going is into more tooling and primarily using AI. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff. There's still a ton of, I think, experiments happening in the Web3 layer, potentially in the content layer. But the main problem is, honestly, is that distribution is tough. I don't know if you guys have like invested in any consumer companies lately, but it's hard. It's hard because there's a reason why every D2C company has basically had all their margin eaten by all the big tech companies, right? And fundamentally, I think that's the same problem. And Steam, which is like usually like the platform for folks who want to build games, is not nearly as liquid as it possibly could be.
Sure.
So as a result, I think the thing is, the one thing that I think we've seen that's very positive out there for
liquid
those,
as in there's not enough demand coming from Steam itself,
or really that like your ability to get more bang for buck, right? Like that it's fast enough that you don't have to pay a huge amount of marketing spend.
Yeah.
It's gotten a lot tougher, and you just have to be very good at it. So there's great teams that are able to do that.
There's a lot of gaming going on there too, with like wish listing driving early sales, and so you're paying people to wish list your product, and it's like there's kind of schemes on top of schemes.
Right.
Like,
and the thing is, like, I think we could do it. I mean, like, there's definitely people who do that, but it just seems that if you create a 10x product that is able to grab some great cut consumers out there, that seems to be something that has natural growth. I mean, I'm sure we're all familiar with Midjourney. That was built. It's built on Discord.
It's
right.
amazing.
Still built in Discord. It's not as if it was something that naturally would have grown. So the thing is, I think and obviously I'm talking about VO because that's like my latest thing that I'm just doom scrolling on every single night. But when you can basically grow from 0 to all of a sudden 120,000 followers with 4 videos over the course of like 2 days,
that's amazing.
That's an astounding thing, right? And if someone is able to do that, that shows me that there's like a natural consumer pull, and that's the thing that's pretty interesting. So mark my words, I still think that there will be an AI Pixar. I also think that fundamentally the world of AI, tech, and entertainment are going to converge, and we're going to basically see somebody create that 10x product that then hopefully just basically skips all the distribution problems.
Sure.
But I don't know. Who am I to know?
Are you seeing enough weird? Are you seeing enough weird stuff? Right, like there's this concept of like kind of trying to leverage AI in this sort of existing paradigm. But when you think about the intersection of like tech and AI and entertainment and sort of like I can just imagine like entirely new ways of playing games. You already have kind of seen this on some of these. People basically creating games within games. But are people being like, is the average pitch, really trying to rethink things from the ground up, or is it, hey, we think we can build the next Candy Crush?
Yeah, I think for us as a fund, we'd want to obviously have people who are going to be willing to build the next unicorn company. But that doesn't mean that I think great developers out there won't create amazing experiences. I definitely agree with you that you have to basically aim for the weird. Like, you have to do things that are basically in the frontier of what's possible, because otherwise then what you're doing is you're most likely just like basically doing a Me Too, which is then hard because in a distribution channel where you have to basically pay for your customer acquisition, that's like super hard. I think something that's also pretty interesting that I was telling some folks about was that the one thing that's interesting about both consumer experiences and games is that if there's a limitation, take for example on, let's say that like you can only network 20 people on a server together, right? Well, the way you do that then is you just make it so your game has 20 people playing all at the same time, and there's this thing called Fortnite, and then 20 people have to kill each other, and then it eventually ends up with only 20 that you'll be able to go network with each other.
Sure.
So the good thing is you can just basically change. It's not like a bug; it's actually a feature. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I think also generally what we're seeing in AI though is when it's you guys are probably familiar with this, which is the sort of cycle between B2B to the app side, which is basically you have B2B infrastructure that allows you, for example, to create really powerful video models.
Yeah.
That then allows you to have apps that use those video models and then create content that create new network models, for example, and then that leads into other things happening with the infra layer.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of that happening.
Unreal Engine was a B2B play.
Exactly.
Birthed Fortnite. And then there's another company in the Andreessen portfolio that does kind of like world scale sharding so that you can like basically build like a big MMO that you can walk through. I forget what this company is, but they were doing like some scientific computing and some economic analysis. It was years ago. But there's obviously a lot of work done on the infrastructure layer. And are they going to be the one to build the next great consumer game? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's built on top of their platform.
What are you seeing in VR?
Oh, yeah.
In VR, let's see here. So there is one great company that came through before from Speedrun in the past, and the very around the first one was this company called Trask Games.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where basically I think just like people grew up in the mobile generation, you need to have people who grow up in the VR generation.
Sure.
So if you talk to anybody who's under the age of like 16, most of them will be like, I play a lot of VR.
Really?
And it's crazy. Like
No
they
way.
all go home, they just play VR a lot, and they have to obviously have the device installed.
Yeah, of course.
But for them, they spend a lot of time there. So we backed this team that was like a bunch of teenagers who like they won a bunch of Apple Awards, and then they're just like, look, we just spent all our time in VR. So they built a game that basically is taking one of the bigger ones, attacking one of the bigger ones, which is Gorilla Tag. They made a game that is astounding. Their most recent game actually. It's called Yeeps. Yeeps actually has, I can't describe it because I'm too old. But basically, it's like, we're all in a world together and we get to go and do stuff together. But then we all collect Yeeps. We yeep at each other.
Okay.
And it's like.
We're yeeping.
Yeah, we're yeeping. It's all the
Yeeping.
Yeeps. All the shout out to all the Yeeps out there.
We're yeep-maxing.
But they're doing great because the thing is, I think ultimately it's not just a hangout spot for a lot of these kids, but it is ultimately taking advantage of, what VR and the general install base. I still think that like VR still needs like a shot to the arm in terms of, we all know this, that it probably needs more installs. It probably needs find a way there, but
it needs like lower churn relative to the device sales.
That's right. That's right. Or the device sales have to be way less expensive.
Yeah.
Or find a way to, just get as good of sales as the Meta Ray-Ban glasses potentially, right?
Yeah,
We need VR games that are truly addicting, not just novel.
Yeah, I was really hoping for the first.
You probably shouldn't. You
I remember.
I like Yeeps though, and the kids love it too.
With the original like PlayStation, like Metal Gear Solid. That game was like 100 hours, or like Final Fantasy VII. That was like a 100-hour experience. GTA 4.
Yeah.
That was like a 100-hour experience. And I've played a lot of VR games, have yet to find one that it's like, okay, the progression in this game is so addicting that I need to keep putting it on to play. It's like more like, okay, it's a cool demo. I set a high score. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I need to finish this. I need to know where the story goes. And it's hard because it's a very expensive investment.
I mean, I think that's why it's easier, honestly, if you're going to innovate in the world of entertainment, to innovate on that B2B layer, right? Which is where we're seeing it. We're seeing a bunch of AI sort of video creation tools. We had one company, Hydra, who came through, who was honestly just astounding. When the Studio Ghibli sort of content started exploding, people were like, well, how can I animate the Studio Ghibli content? And then everyone was using Hydra as a result.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw your partner do that as well.
Can we have a studio? So the magic of Studio Ghibli was that it could one-shot these beautiful outputs. And are you anticipating that kind of moment for sort of ephemeral gaming where I could like take a picture of the three of us and say like make a boxing game where we can like fight and you get swords, and then it's like it creates that and it's like fun and viral. Can that happen in the near, like, are you expecting that at all?
Well, never say never. I think that ultimately we have to get past this sort of distribution problem, but my hope is that it gets a mid-journey moment like we've had in the past. And the good thing is, I mean, I've talked to a lot of investors about this, that I think a lot of folks are in that cycle, right, between B2B back to the sort of like app layer, is a bunch of the investors are pretty interested in obviously the B2B AI side. And I think that will then drive a lot of innovation, which then gets you to 10x here. And hopefully if someone builds a good network, then you have sort of like unwarranted or really sort of differentiated customer acquisition.
That makes a ton of sense. Well, thank you so much for joining. This was fantastic.
Of course.
Come back
Good
on.
talking to you guys.
Come on when there's big game news.
Of course.
Games correspondent.
I'm going to take this hat.
Please
do it.
Enjoy it.
All right. See you guys.
Let's bring in the next person.
This guy is
we are
absolutely
at
eating
YC
data.
Demo Day 2025. Eat data, make chunks.
Make chunks.
Welcome to the stream. I'm John. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, John.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Shreyash. I am the co-founder of Chonky.
Chonky.
Yeah, Chonky. That's the name of the company, yes.
Name. What do you do?
We take really complex documents, we split them up into meaningful pieces, such that one piece is one idea, and then we send your LLM only the data it needs to answer a question.
Give me an example of a really complicated document.
Financial reports. You've got graphs, you've got actual text data paragraphs, you've got tables. And if you're asking about
10Ks are so annoying because there's like so much boilerplate, you need to just skip to the right thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, exactly. And like most of the time when you're asking questions to an LLM, you really only need one table, or maybe you need a summary. That's it.
Why don't I just throw all of that in a big context window, Gemini, 1 million tokens or something, and then just ask it what's going on there?
It'll work with like maybe one PDF, but you have a whole database of PDFs. You've got like 100-page PDFs, thousands of those, 10,000s of those. You've got schematics, which are really complex. Models get confused. We actually ran this eval yesterday after the price drop on O3, which is we took relatively simple documents. We took classic literature, David Copperfield, Les Miserables, everything like that. And we gave that to O3. We asked very pointed questions. O3 got a retrieval accuracy of 75%.
Okay.
Great. We chunked the data through Chonky. Then we asked O3 the same thing.
Always
100%.
Always chonk.
Always
100%.
Always chonk.
This is my favorite name since last YC
Pig.
batch, which was a company called Pig.
Yeah, I'm setting a trend here. You just like
Chonk,
large
pig.
animals.
I mean, it's
chubby
just
animals.
it's gonna stick. We're gonna be talking about this next demo day.
Talk about the pipeline. I have a bunch of huge PDFs on S3 or something. I feed it into your to your system. Am I getting a Postgres table? Am I getting a MongoDB like unstructured?
You get
JSON?
embeddings out.
Am I getting embeddings?
Yes.
Waiting? So it's like a vector database.
Yeah, so you get embeddings out that you can put it on your own vector database, or we can also wrap around your vector database. That's totally up to you.
Okay.
It's really developer friendly. The idea is to just make a dev tool that people just enjoy using, and they can have it be 2 lines of code, 5 lines of code, whatever it is.
So what's actually happening with it's not open source, right?
It is open source.
It is open source.
Yes, we have an open core strategy.
Okay,
and so we are like open source first. We started as a side project on the open source, and we love the open source.
So is this something that I should be running in like an ingest process as I'm generating new large documents? I'm chunking them and then loading them into my vector database, which I may be also hosting on AWS.
Yeah, you can async chunk, but if you're building a code gen tool, then you want a live chunk.
Okay, live chunk.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you're doing like code gen on the fly, or if you're like if you're working with a corpus that's changing all the time, then you want to do it live.
Did you come in? You came into YC with this idea. You already had it as an open source project.
Yes.
Cool.
We had an open source project all set up in like February, and we came into YC with
Who's
this idea.
we? How many people on the team?
It's just me and my friend from 7th grade. Just the
boys.
So many. It's just the boys group chat made it out of the group chat, and then we're now in YC.
Give us some
Chonky made it out of the GC.
How many chunks have you chunked? How many stars do you have on GitHub? How much revenue you making? What do you got for us on the quantitative metric side?
So the metrics I really like are we've got over 180,000 downloads.
Very nice.
And we've got over 200 projects using us.
Wow.
We're a codependency on projects like Llama Index.
Oh, cool.
And we've got like 10 to 12 batch companies using us.
Cool.
Good inbound coming in from there on.
Fantastic.
Round's already done.
What was that?
Is the round already done?
Round is almost done. We're trying to wrap it up this week.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Preliminary.
Yes, just weighing our options and just like making sure by Friday it'll be done.
That's fantastic.
Amazing.
Well, good luck out there.
Well, thank you so much.
For hopping on
Thank
the
you for
stream.
having me.
Never stop chonking.
Never stop chonking. We'll be following
What's the domain?
CHONKIE.ai. And if
Nice.
you want this merch, it's shop.chonky.ai.
Oh, he's already selling merch.
He's selling
I love
merch. He's
it.
selling merch.
Let's bring in the
Awesome.
next.
Great to meet
the
you.
next participant of the Demo Day stream, if we have one.
We got
Welcome
Godella.
to Demo Day 2025. We are live from Y Combinator in San Francisco.
What's going
Great
on?
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm John. Nice to
I'm
meet you.
Cinnamon.
Hi, Cinnamon.
I'm Cinnamon. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
I'm John.
Abhijit. Nice to
Nice to meet
What's
you.
going on?
Can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Cinnamon. I'm a mechanical engineer by background.
Cool.
Built hardware for Apple, Google, Slack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hardware?
Hardware.
Hardware for Slack.
Well,
Yeah.
what do they have? At
RF
hardware?
X-Way. Oh, sorry. The Stanford Linear Accelerator Center.
Oh, that. Oh,
Not
no.
SLAC. Not SLAC.
Okay, that makes more
Yeah.
sense. I was
Yeah.
like, what hardware device did I
Good
miss?
clarify. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm Abhijit. I worked as a researcher at Stanford, a
Okay.
researcher at Harvard. I was like an intern at Intel.
Cool.
Built a lot of stuff, I guess.
Can you pull up on the mic a little bit
Yeah,
more?
absolutely. Yeah.
And then tell us what your company does.
Yeah. So we're Godella. We're building a frontier physics model for mechanical engineers.
Okay.
So Currently, AI models can't handle physics accurately because a lot of them are language based.
Yes.
Ours are different. Ours are built to handle physics accurately, which means it can be used as a faster, cheaper replacement to simulations and physical prototypes.
Okay.
This is something that I think a lot of labs like to promise, right? Solving,
It was
they like
in
to bring up,
Salman's
they like to
blog
bring
post
up
yesterday.
this idea of solving these problems in physics.
So walk me through. It sounds like you're actually training a model. Is it all reinforcement learning with verifiable rewards, or are you generating a whole bunch of training data? Is there a human data labeling component? Like, what is the pipeline to create what you're creating?
So at a core, we extract embedded physics from data, and that makes it generalizable.
Okay.
Did you want to share more about that?
So we don't use reinforcement learning or anything. It's basically like this sort of like, encoding framework, like where we actually like take the mesh itself. Like we work with meshes, right? Because we're like in simulation and stuff. So we take the fluid mesh and then we like encode it into like this lower dimensional space, and that allows you to like learn the actual physics of the system.
Interesting.
And this allows, and when you do like symbolic regression on like the latent space, you get like a lot of, you get a lot more generalizability than you'd get with like regular models.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When did you guys start working on this? Did you bring it into YC, or did you pivot to this at some
We
point?
brought it into YC. So we were TAing a computational mechanics class together at Stanford, which was teaching undergrads in mechanical engineering how to use the traditional simulation software.
Yes.
Kind of bred a hatred for those softwares. Meanwhile, Abhijit's doing insane research at Stanford to use ML to model the physical world in these crazy accurate ways. He's like building ML models for Intel that are replacing months of trial and error in their plasma etch process. And I realized, like, hey, there's this huge opportunity to out with these old simulators. Let's bring physics-informed ML to the broader group of engineers who could really benefit from these faster, cheaper answers.
Okay. Try and make it a little bit more concrete for me. I'm familiar with like CFD, computational fluid dynamics. I have an engine, and I'm trying to simulate how the air will flow over the jet that I'm building. Is that an example that we could use to kind of build off of? Is it just faster inference than calculating everything deterministically? Is that the goal?
Yeah, absolutely. Like all of simulation. Every time you start with a simulation tool, the engineer is starting with a question, right? You've got a question in your 3D model. You want to know what is drag
What's
on
the drag?
Yeah, exactly. How is that going to change as I change thickness or angle of attack of my airfoil? Now imagine instead of needing to learn a simulation software, you can ask with natural language, drop in your CAD, and get simulation quality results instantly.
Interesting.
And when we say instantly, it's 4,500 times faster than a benchmarked GPU accelerated solver that we tested against.
Wow. Okay, very cool. What's the go-to-market like? I mean, I imagine you're selling to like very large aerospace defense companies, or who else is building stuff? I mean, Apple, Google, these companies could buy this?
Yeah, exactly. I think the huge benefit of physics-informed ML is we can tackle problems that traditional simulators cannot tackle, multi-physics, multi-scale. We make it extremely feasible to tackle those problems, and we can also fill in the gaps where your idealized equations don't suffice to capture the complexity of the problem. So these problems that Apple, Google, maybe aerospace are throwing millions at in terms of R&D and building and testing, we can give you accurate physics models that can replace your need to physically build and test a product. So.
And they can probably like reality check your faster results with the traditional system that they have in place whenever they need to,
and build that confidence in the
run
product.
that overnight instead of while they're live designing.
Traction, selling it so far.
It's been great. So we launched 2 weeks ago. We entered a $25K a year contract with an engineering firm to replace Ansys, which is a $30 billion incumbent.
Wow.
However, I think our stronger pull right now is we have some exciting opportunities with enterprise customers to, again, tackle those highest value problems where there is no solution for. For modeling something like drop simulation, right? Like there is no great simulator that gives you that fast, accurate answers, even though it's, governed by
simulation
physics
software
we know.
gets like 70% accuracy or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's also very slow though. It's like 2 weeks to compute
Exactly.
a drop simulation on a 14-inch MacBook Pro today. So like these really high value problems for enterprise customers, we have the opportunity to go apply our software and give them more accurate answers.
Very cool. How big is the team? Where are you going next? How's the fundraise going?
Yeah, it's 3 core, 1 advisor. The fundraise is going well. We're just about. Well, it's very exciting. We're just
yeah.
Amazing.
It's very busy.
Whoever's like bidding, I'm sure they're going to watch this. So.
Well, congratulations on a fantastic demo day. We've been
thank
giving
you.
out hats to folks who come on the stream. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you guys.
Great to meet you guys. Congratulations.
We will talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Let's bring in the next team or whoever it is, and
we got.
Don't forget to go to Vanta.com, Adio.com, numeralhq.com, AdQuick.com. 8sleep.com, Wander,
go to every
Bezel,
website right
Linear.
now.
Look at the bottom bar.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Dan, what's happening?
Good to have you on the stream.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to the show. Can you introduce yourself for the stream?
I'm Linus.
Linus, pleasure.
It is a pleasure. Do you want me to go into any more detail?
Sure. Yeah, a little bit. Let's get Justin's name.
My name's Justin.
And what are you guys building?
We're building Den.
Okay, what is Den?
Den is Cursor for knowledge workers.
Okay, so break it down.
We're an AI native Slack replacement. If you load up to the app, you'll see a bunch of AI agents. And
Slack replacement.
Slack replacement.
Okay, so I'm not in Slack at all. I'm just in Den when I'm doing knowledge work. Okay, what is the typical knowledge worker like experience with Slack? Because I feel like there's a lot of just like managerial overhead status updates that are going on. This sounds like something a little bit more mature than that. What am I doing in Den?
In Slack, there's a lot of kind of lost threads.
Okay.
There's a lot of like kind of lost information.
Sure.
And just a lot of communication, ultimately, but no actions.
Yep.
With Den, we're all about actions, and we work backwards from, what you need to get the task done. So,
give me an example.
Yeah. So, I guess in Slack, you would be asking, your coworker for how many users signed up last month. That's going to be like an async process where
that literally just happened in the Slack. In one of my Slacks I'm in. It was like, are we reviewing last week's numbers or the week before? Or the week before was a developer on a team talking to the CEO. Yeah,
for sure. In Slack, that task might just get lost in the background.
Totally.
You don't know what the status is in Den, and AI agent's just going to pick that up. We're all about like that multiplayer aspect. Your inputs are building the agents and kind of configuring your tools and configuring the tasks. And then we kind of provide like the multiplayer environment where you might be orchestrating like thousands of AI agents.
Yeah, talk about the path of AI agents, long-running agents. We have this idea of like 10-minute AGI, 20-minute AGI. O3 Pro seems to work for 13 minutes every time you kick something off. Are you putting these things on cron jobs? Is there some sort of like long-running process that can run through my Den installation and say, hey, like every single hour I want you to check on things that aren't getting done?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, we break it down into 3 things. Like you've got your ad hoc tasks.
Yep.
You've got your cron job tasks, your scheduled tasks, and then you also have things that kind of respond to triggers. It's like, oh, hey, run this task whenever I receive an email.
Got it. Okay.
There was this idea, I think it was in AI 2027, around the idea that like an AI would just spin up a Slack instance and use that to communicate.
AIs would use Slack to coordinate with each other.
And I can see a world where that makes sense. What was the catalyst for you guys to realize that you needed to kind of rethink the communication stack from the ground up to serve agents over, first and foremost over humans?
I guess what we realized was that there's tools like Zapier, tools like Relevance AI, but they're external to your communication source. Knowledge workers spend more than 80% of their time in Slack and Notion. And so we wanted to bring the agents to where people actually did the work. And the most important thing is now the agents can escalate tasks to like the CEO, the head of customer success, whereas they couldn't before because they were siloed. So we had to build it from the ground up for agents in that way.
Do you think we'll still call ourselves knowledge workers in 10 years if knowledge is instantly accessible by all machines?
Taste workers.
Exactly.
There will be taste workers and agency workers because knowledge is commoditized now and intelligence is too cheap to meter.
Like taste curators.
Yeah, exactly. Tastemakers. That's the only job that will remain in the future. Maybe. 100%. Who knows?
How you guys are creating a platform that other agents can work on top of? How do you rank the quality of different agents across categories? Obviously, there's like coding agents. We're friends with the cognition team, and the factory AI team and things like that. So coding agents are great. I haven't heard a lot of people saying like I love my AI BDR yet. Right? Maybe there's some use cases. Maybe they don't want to talk about it. But like, what are the categories that you guys are most excited about?
Yeah,
deep research is obviously another category.
Agentic workflow.
But
I think it's going to slowly move down like the stack. Sure. I spoke with Sholto Douglas, who is a researcher at
we had him on the show recently.
We have great like coding agents and kind of math agents because researchers like math and coding.
Interesting.
But
it's not just the verifiable reward thing.
It's that as well.
Okay.
It's that as well.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of building in the infrastructure that's going to allow those like iterations to happen where you do actually get like a really good BDR agent. We're already building like customer success agents that haven't existed before because we're providing like the primitives and the building blocks. And I think the verifiability will come.
Okay.
It's just
interesting. How's the traction been? What's the rollout? What's the go-to-market?
Go-to-market is handing out 500 business cards
to
everyone at demo day.
So you want every company here, all the small startups, the early stage companies, that feels 100%. Easier than ripping out some massive Slack installation, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we take a lot of inspiration.
Start with Den, stay with Den forever. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay. Seat-based pricing?
Yes.
Interesting.
Agent-based pricing?
Yeah, do the
You
agents
charge
have to
per
pay?
agent?
What if I have
Agents don't have
1,000
to pay.
agents? Okay. So the one-person company, you're cooked.
Exactly.
Good luck, though. You'll figure it out. I'm
Exactly.
sure it'll be fine.
Nice.
And have you shared
what
any
were you guys
numbers?
doing before
Oh,
this?
yeah.
I previously started a company when I was 19. We grew to like 0 to 5 million ARR, 50 people, post Series A.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Started this 3 months ago now, so it's been awesome.
Awesome. Very cool.
And
3 months
you?
right before YC. There
Exactly.
you go. Yeah.
Justin,
Awesome.
what were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, Linus is a beast. He hired me actually at his previous startup, so I was able
cool.
to kind of go from like that 500,000
great.
ARR to 5 million.
Yeah.
And we just loved working together.
That's awesome.
This is what we wanted to spend the next 20 years on.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well,
Fantastic. Thanks so much for hopping on the stream. This was fantastic.
awesome.
Good luck, guys. See you on the next one. And we are ready for our next guest coming on in to the Palace of Party Rounds
What's
to
going
YC
on?
Demo Day 2025. Welcome to the stream.
Eloquent.
How are you doing? Nice to
Eloquent.
meet you.
Very nice to meet you. It's
I'm John.
Tuche.
Tuche.
Hey, Jordan.
Nice to meet you.
Great to
Hi,
meet you
I'm
guys.
John. Pleasure.
What's happening?
I'm kicking this over. Would you mind starting with an introduction on yourselves and the company you're building today?
Absolutely. This is Tuche. I'm the CEO of Eloquent AI.
And I'm Aldo. I'm the Chief AI Officer of Eloquent AI.
Fantastic. And what are you building?
We are basically building an AI platform for financial services to automate complex regulated operations.
Okay. What's an example of that?
For example, in a bank, if you want to unfreeze an account or handle a regi dispute, run KYC, KYB, this usually goes currently to support teams. And you have a big queue, right? It might take up to 2 weeks to open a new business account.
Happens all the time.
So we solve that problem. Rather than that going to support team, it comes to our dedicated AI operator. Our AI operator takes on the job, and here's the real magic. It basically navigates your existing core banking portal just like your support team does. We don't need any APIs or any engineering. Exactly right. So this is coming from Aldo's research for more than 5 years. They developed this technology that allows us to do computer use and browser use in a reliable way for very specific tasks.
How much of what you're doing is purely enabled by the advances at the foundation model labs versus fine-tuning or any sort of scaffolding that you're doing on top of the state-of-the-art models?
That's a fantastic question. Do you want to tell a little bit?
Yeah, of course, it's a little bit of both, right? Foundation model, of course, gives us a lot of synthetic data on which we can train on. But we leverage an multi-agentic architecture to actually perform the actions reliably.
What's the response been from big regulated financial institutions? They are not traditionally the earliest adopters of new technologies, but everyone's talking about AI every day, so I'm sure they're excited to at least talk to you. What's the response been like?
Things have changed.
Okay.
We are finding it actually. We reached 500,000 ARR in 4 weeks.
Congratulations.
Love that.
Congratulations.
And the reason is because I think all these banks now have the mandate.
Wait, did you say 4.5? 4.5.
It was 4 weeks.
500,000 ARR
500,000
in 4 weeks.
There we go.
Right.
All right, just do that every 4 weeks for the rest of the year.
Well, at this stage, we actually have a waiting list. We have more customers than we can onboard. Because as I was saying, things changed in the financial industry. They want to bring this cutting-edge AI in-house as quickly as possible.
That's amazing. Very cool.
How's YC been?
Honestly, in any metric, it massively exceeded my expectations.
That's amazing.
Really amazing.
I'm a second-time founder, so I thought, okay, do we really need to come to YC? We already have the investor networks. But what was really beyond my expectations is the customer network, especially in financial institutions, is incredible. A lot of YC alumni are now running big fintech companies, banks, and they have been very welcoming. We can definitely feel the love.
That's amazing. That's
amazing.
Great. Awesome. How big is the team? Where are you going next? I'm sure you're raising money. What's happening down the road? What's in the next 12 months?
Absolutely. So we raised a big seed round. We closed last week.
Congratulations.
do I get another? That's a big one.
We closed the seed round, everyone.
I love that. I love the spirit here. That's amazing.
So impressive. That still surprises me every time.
It's amazing
not the
every
first
time.
Yeah, it does still surprise me.
It's
I love
great.
it. And yeah, we close the seed round.
Congratulations.
And at the moment, it's basically heads down. We are building. We are 6 people.
Yes.
Aldo is leading our technical team.
Fantastic.
I do sales. And we
Congratulations.
are hiring 10 more people. So
10 more people.
If anyone
10.
is watching who is looking for a new role, they are very welcome to
Reach
contact
out,
us.
reach out. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
stopping
you
by.
guys for
so
coming.
much.
This is
Very nice to
fantastic.
meet you. Take
We'll
care.
see you soon. Let's bring in the next guests. We are live
We
from
got guests
YC
on
Demo Day
guests.
2025. Book a Wander. Find your happy place. Find your happy place. Bring them on,
Come on
in. Go to wander.com.
Hey guys. What's
Welcome
happening?
to the stream. How you
What's
doing?
happening?
Doing good. Good to meet you. How you doing? Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Why don't you kick us off with an introduction on yourselves and the company you're building?
Sure, I'm Somi, and I'm Achyut, and we're building ULearn.
Okay.
It's an AI tutor for students.
Very cool. What's the go-to-market? I tried to build an ed tech company back in 2012. That was actually the first company I applied to YC for.
Oh, wow.
It was a disaster. It was extremely hard. Never really made a dime off of it. I think I got like 500 installs on the iOS app I built.
Hey, let's give it up for 500
Yeah. It was not exactly one of these. How are you solving that? It's notoriously hard to sell into,
It is, but I
into
think
education.
we're seeing a change,
Okay.
especially with AI.
Yeah.
We have over 200,000 students active
Wow.
on our website.
There we go.
And,
All right.
1,000 more than what I got during my YC days.
Thank you, thank you.
You got
You
something?
guys can keep talking.
Okay. 200,000. We love it.
Absolutely wild.
Well, what is the channel? Is it?
Let me
is it
guess, you got a
viral
bunch of TikToks?
Yep.
Okay. There we go.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube
crushing it.
Shorts. We have, I think, over 500,000 followers on Instagram and
That's
TikTok.
amazing.
And how long
You
did
gotta
it
help
take
us
to
with our
build? How
Instagram.
long
We're
did it
trying
take
to
to
blow
build
this
that
up.
up?
It was a
around
side
8
project for a
months.
while, but
Okay.
I think 8 months is like for the past few 8
Okay.
months.
Awesome.
What
and how do you? I'm picturing kind of like an LLM style chat interface. Is that the wrong?
Yeah, so essentially, like students upload their like learning material, like textbooks, and we give them like concise notes.
Sure.
Like you can have a conversation with an AI tutor as
Sure.
well. Like you can have quizzes, you can create exams,
Yep.
all the study tools.
You create like podcasts based on.
Yeah, so right now
chapters,
it's a
things like-
conversational
yeah.
experience. We
Sure.
want to make it like more proactive. So we have that.
So you can
yeah.
listen. Yeah, I remember audiobooks
And are
were
you
huge
getting to
for
the
me.
point where teachers and schools are kind of asking their students to get on
Yeah,
the platform
so-
and use it?
Yeah, so we're talking to a bunch of school districts and stuff, but I think our main focus for now is students. We just want to like get the product down for them and then move up.
And what level are we talking? Middle school?
Yeah,
Where's
so-
adoption been strongest?
High school?
Yeah, so undergrads, are
Undergrads.
like number one right
Okay,
now,
cool.
and then it's higher than that. And now we're seeing a lot of high schoolers as well.
How are you? Are you monetizing yet? Are you
Yeah,
charging?
So we have a freemium subscription.
Okay.
It's free for like a limited amount of time,
Sure.
and then $20 a month.
$20
I have
a
an
month.
idea.
and college
Surge-based pricing,
Surge.
exam
Right
season.
before exam
Just
season.
We
rack
actually
it up
do
$200.
Yeah, we give a discount on exam season, and
Okay.
that worked really
It worked
well.
really well.
It worked very well.
Even
Yeah.
post exam, like there's always a summer sale discount.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really good.
I think
yeah?
it just works out really well.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Wait, so how
Amazing.
long have you actually been building this? I missed that.
So we started 8 months ago.
8 months ago,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
and then YC.
Uh-huh,
Okay, great.
yeah, thank
So
you.
have you been focusing on specific growth metrics during YC to kick off Demo Day?
Yes.
Just growing everything.
Yeah, so
right?
MRR is like our key metric.
Fantastic.
And then retention as well. We want to make sure like a key part in learning is like retaining
Fantastic.
information.
Did
and
you
that-
share an MRR number today?
Yes.
Can you share anything with us?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Let's hear it.
We are at $75,000.
Let's go. Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank
Wow.
you.
I mean,
Thank you.
honestly, I gotta say sorry because just
Yeah, I know. 83
more,
83 would have been the 1 million. You're close.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
You're close.
Yeah, you're close. You're
next
close.
week.
Honestly,
next
yeah,
week.
yeah, for
Put
sure.
another sale on.
Oh, yeah.
Another
go
viral
to every
TikTok.
person in the back. Every
Subscribe
founder in
right
the back.
now. Subscribe
Let's
right
get him to
now.
1 mil. Let's get him to 1
That's
mil.
fantastic.
You actually,
Yeah.
we're not gonna let you leave till you get to 1 million of
Okay.
ARR. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You gotta stay in this room walking.
Yeah, that'd be
I mean, last question. Obviously, tons of developments from all the foundation model labs. What's working? What's most exciting? What are you taking advantage of? Are you focused on cost optimization, looking for open source? Do you want to use the best? Are you a beneficiary of the O3 pricing drop? Are you a beneficiary of O3 Pro?
100%. Every model improvement benefits us directly. Yeah, we want to focus on accuracy the most right now. We want to make sure everything that a student gets is as accurate as possible.
Our students cooked. by AI?
I wouldn't say so. I think they're
uncooking them?
leveraging it more just to study smarter, and that's what our vision is. And also an interesting thing is they really like our voice mode. So it's not just text-based. They can have a
like a natural conversation.
conversation.
So is it like you leave it open on your desk when you're studying? Type of thing,
Yeah, you can
just
do that.
Continue to talk
and
to
it can like create mind maps for you. It can create like flow charts. You can create whatever you want.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
How are you seeing the competition?
Did you guys drop out?
In the process.
In the process.
Legally not yet.
School for you, but not for me.
How are you seeing like the obvious competition between just like using ChatGPT, $20 a month? That's right at the pro tier or like the plus tier. There's a lot of Tyler Cowen's been writing about. I used to feed in a snippet from a book and ask ChatGPT about it. Now I just say, hey, summarize this book, and it already knows. Or you can just go out and find it. That feels like the logical competitor. But how are you differentiating in terms of actual UI design? Because it seems like as we move to the application layer narrative, there is a world where aggregating demand around AI tools around a specific niche works, but there's a lot of secret sauce that goes into the UI. What are you doing to stay ahead?
So yes, definitely a UI is a big component, but the main thing is we just ask our users, why do they use us or ChatGPT?
Sure. Yeah, what's the answer?
And they say, like, we have a feature called the quizzes and like flashcards, and we create that like very accurately for them.
Interesting.
And what they can do is they can upload like 1,000-page textbook, even 2,000 pages. Someone uploaded like the entire
imagine ChatGPT hallucinates and you just fail your exam.
I remember so I remember in college I had a textbook and I wanted a digital version. I took it to a scanning and they scanned it all and they were like, do you have the right to do this? This sounds illegal. I would try and download illegal PDFs. It was very sketchy. How are college students uploading 2,000-page documents?
So if it's available digitally, they can upload it.
Okay, like
but
an
if
EPUB
not,
or anything Mobi.
Yeah,
or
so I mean they can upload
files.
anything they want, but it's on them.
Okay, they have to figure out that part of it. Okay, got it. But eventually maybe you could do partnerships with
publishers. We want to
like
partner with like ebook
that makes
companies.
Tons of sense.
And
that'd be very,
like
very cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. Massive news.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Congrats on all the
See
progress.
you later. And let's bring in the next team. Let's do it. Lightning round. Let's speed these up, right? Speed these up. There's demand. Is there demand out there? Okay. Hey, we only have 2 seats. One of you can take a knee. Oh my God, there's
we
6.
got
We gotta go to
Army.
lunch.
We
Okay,
got
everyone,
Army.
come in. Okay. Realistically, only one of you or 2 of you can talk because there's only so many mics. Keep going. Can you guys move the camera to show everyone for a second?
We got a
Just
small
tilt
army
that
here.
camera. Look at this army. Yeah. Tilt over a little bit. Go to the wide. I want to show this whole team.
Are you guys? Is this the founding team? Or are you?
Yeah, what's going on
all
here?
the founding
6
teams.
founders. That's world record.
Yeah.
Who's the founding engineer?
There's
all
one
of
guy
us.
who cuts. There's one guy who
Legend. Let's go.
What are you building? Break it down for us.
So we are building AWS for AI agents. Like
Okay.
Imagine, we are 20 years ago, it was mostly infrastructure for software as a service. Now AI agents are becoming like the de facto new software. So we are building this infrastructure for the agents.
What is important about infrastructure that needs to be different? Why wouldn't I not just deploy this on AWS?
Yeah,
or Microsoft. I mean, you saw Satya Nadella at Build. He was saying like, we have model router, we have everything from DeepSeek to Llama to they vend every model. How are you going to stand out?
Yeah, we stand out because today, first, people who are building agents are not cloud architect, cloud infrastructure experts. So a new generation of software developers, software engineers. The second thing is agents are going to build themselves their infrastructure. So they need new interfaces to interact with the infrastructure. And the type of workload that they are using, like the technology they are using, the lifetime of the computing platform is not the same. So serverless is one thing, traditional virtual machine is one other thing.
I mean, even going back to the YC story, Heroku.
Exactly.
Was that story of like, yes, you could always spin up EC2, but Heroku made it easier.
Exactly, and right now we are doing the same for agents. So when your agent is generating code, it needs to have access to some resources to run this code. So we provide these kind of resources called sandboxes to help them to run this code for 15 minutes, an hour, or maybe months or years.
When did you start the company? Did you start it 3 months ago when YC started, or you guys have been at it for a little bit?
Yeah, so actually we both all worked in my previous company. We sold to a cloud provider, so we know also how it works.
The traders hate over here. Everyone laughed. It's like Intel again. What happened? They couldn't retain any of you. You couldn't be bought. I see what happened. They couldn't
exactly.
be bought.
Now it's the 6 of us.
That's
or
amazing.
Nothing.
Congratulations. You guys stick together. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
How's adoption been? Who are you selling to? Who loves this product?
So we launched 7 weeks ago, and like most of code generation companies from this batch, even in the next batch are starting using us.
Really?
Really,
That's
like
great.
paying customers in production right now.
The economic model, I assume it's consumption based on top of the underlying cloud platforms that you're building on top of. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. We started actually to do something with a unique subscription, with monthly subscription, just to be sure that people were serious about using us, being sure that we get the right traction. Like they are using actually in production our software. Now we want to expand, so we are basically offering more just a usage-based model for the next batch.
Do you guys live in the office?
So we sleep when we can sleep, but we live in the office.
Yeah, it's a lot of mouths to feed. Have you raised money?
Yeah.
Rounds
already.
closed?
Yeah, rounds closed.
Congratulations.
Yeah, last week. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. I think Jordan's got something for you.
Another one.
Spray them all with it. Spray them all with it. Fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
by.
you. Guys.
Fantastic team. Look forward to following your journey.
We got
have a great time.
Stuff.
We'll talk to you guys. Bye.
We got a good name coming in next. We got Waffle coming in.
Let's bring in Waffle.
Waffle.
Come on in to the Palace Party Rounds. Oh yeah, they're a customer. That's great.
Waxel customer. Love it.
Grab some seats. Put the microphones as close to your face as you can because we are live from YC Demo Day 2025.
You guys are building agents for agents.
No, we're building.
What are you building?
We're building an AI operating system for small to medium businesses.
Okay.
So what that means is we help you build your website, set up your business email address, your phone number, your bookings, your payments, all that kind of stuff.
Are you guys replacing Google Workspace?
Or
are you building on top of it?
We're starting off replacing Wix. So we've just launched our AI website builder 3 weeks ago. We've had 700 projects built on there.
Okay.
And yeah, people are building websites.
Okay, so you build the websites and then you also are able to instantiate all the downstream stuff. But I imagine you're not rebuilding everything. So who are you plugging into? Like you're not rebuilding Stripe, right?
No, we're not rebuilding Stripe. It's like wrapping on top of these developer tools.
Because there's so many of them now.
There's so many and they're so cheap.
Yes.
You know, like let's take just like outbound email marketing.
Yeah.
Someone could use something like
Klaviyo,
MailChimp.
MailChimp.
Yeah, and that's much more expensive than how much me and Diogo pay when we set up a project with Resend.
Yep.
Because it's a developer tool. It's super cheap.
Interesting.
And
So
then
you're
we can make
wrapping
money
lower
on the
level
spread.
tools. Okay, interesting. How's adoption been?
Adoption has been really interesting these first few weeks because we've done no marketing. We're just like full-time coding, working on the product.
Yeah.
So we've had people come in from the YC launch, from the Twitter, and now in the coming months, what we're doing is like going in and doing more go-to-market stuff. So one of the things we're doing is taking people's existing Wix or Squarespace website and just cloning it, putting it to Waffle.
And then just sending it to them.
And sending it to them.
We can do it. I've
That's very
seen
cool.
a lot of Wix and Squarespace. You see you see the ads, the Super Bowl ads, and it's always a small business, a restaurant, or a pub. And do you have a couple customer avatars that you really like or want to use to fuel your go-to-market?
Yeah, right now, I think what's really interesting is like these small family-run businesses, like these small family-run travel agents or law firms. I think long-term, e-commerce is really where it's at. They care a lot more about their website.
Yeah. How important is design in that? Are agents good at design yet? It doesn't seem like it's something that would come native yet. A lot of the AI art that's being produced is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. The default Claude, like if you just ask Claude to generate some UI, it's actually quite good, but
Really?
it's very unopinionated.
Unopinionated. And it's generic.
Yeah, it's just like some generic type website.
Sure.
I think if you start giving examples and just really working the system prompt, you can get it to a point which is pretty good. What we've been doing is using 21st Dev. It's a tool. They have a lot of UI, and they're building out their Magic Chat, which allows you to kind of take a UI component and like have remixes of it.
Very cool.
So they're working on that specific technology, and we're working with them. So yeah, it's actually pretty good at UI, but it's making stuff which is still quite generic, and we're trying to push the boundary.
Very
What were you guys doing before this?
Yeah, so we've never worked full-time jobs.
Yes, neither.
Let's give it up for unemployment. Just kidding. You guys are founders.
Yeah. So we both did computer science. I was at Oxford. Diogo was at École Polytechnique Lausanne. Met up in London.
Yeah.
I moved in with him, and then we've just been
And we
working
got
on
you out of
startup.
there. We got you to
Yeah.
America. Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Brain.
They said it was impossible to build a company in Europe, and you're testament to the fact that you got to come to America. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been insane. I was listening to you guys 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
And when the Cluely founder was on, and now we're here.
Yeah. It's important to get attention, but there is a limit. That's our message to you.
Where's the line for you? Cluely has their line around what they're willing to do for attention.
Pretty crazy.
Are
You know,
guys willing to go that far?
YC goes the other end of the spectrum where they're like, just don't focus on your pitch, let the numbers speak for you.
Yes.
And they're like,
Very
just put your
opposite.
graph up,
Focus
and
on
that's
the-
what matters.
I think it's good. Did you have a number that you shared today?
Yeah. So we got 700 projects built in the last 3
Fantastic.
weeks, and then that's grown 14% over the last week.
Congratulations. Well, good
There we
luck
go.
with the rest of Demo Day. We have one last hat here. There might be more out
You
there.
guys can share that.
You can share
swap.
that based on days. There's more hats. Let's give them 2 hats. We're running out. Are we out of hats?
Yeah, we don't want to run
Okay.
too much
Anyway,
out of hats.
congratulations.
Awesome, guys.
Thanks, guys. Great to meet you.
Let's bring in the next team. And let's tell you about Linear app. Use it to
I'm
manage your
guessing
projects.
at least half the batches.
I think so. Welcome to the stream. How you doing?
We're good.
Sorry,
Nice to
I
meet
dipped
you.
my hand in water. I'm gonna not shake your hand.
Good to meet
but,
you. Let's start with an introduction. Who are you guys? What are you guys building? And please, microphone as close to your face as possible.
Yeah, I'm Daniel.
Cool.
And this is Musa.
Cool.
And we're the co-founders of VibeGrade.
What do you guys do?
So we help teachers save time grading papers directly in their existing learning management system.
What's the response been like? Do the teachers love it?
Yeah, actually all of our customers are paying out of pocket right
Really?
now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Crazy. Yeah.
You said in their LMS.
Yes.
So who are you plugging into? Who's the most dominant platform providers right now?
So the main one, the best integration is on Google Classroom.
Oh, interesting.
So a lot of
Is
K-12
Blackboard not a thing anymore?
Not that much.
Oh,
There's
I
some
did myself.
teachers.
We got a request for it, but
Okay.
most teachers are on Google Docs and
Okay,
Canvas.
sure.
So like most K-12, which we serve, are on Google Docs and
Okay.
Classroom.
Yeah.
We have Toddle as well, but it's mainly those few.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but for universities, they like Canvas is great. Like they
Yeah,
can, it'll go and highlight like actual sections.
So can you add that on as like one of those like if I'm in Google Docs, I can
Yeah.
I can do an
Yeah, it's a
add-on.
Chrome
and
extension.
It's a Chrome extension.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we realized that teachers, they don't want to have to learn a new tool and go to a new platform
Yep.
to do that.
Okay.
So we built an integration that works directly with Google Docs.
Okay. Yeah.
And directly with Canvas.
Yep.
So it's easy as clicking a button.
Yep.
And then we open up a window inside Google Docs.
Yeah,
and
so
Canvas.
walk me through the typical like workflow homework. I assume
Yeah.
it's like the student uses the teacher
Daniel
uses
was just
ChatGPT
in-
to write the
yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
The student uses ChatGPT
Write
to
the
write the
answer.
answers, and then the teacher goes back and,
And
uses
then you
ChatGPT
guys-
to grade.
you guys grade it.
You guys grade it.
Yeah.
But what's the actual workflow?
No human in the loop at all.
Are students sending Google Docs links to their teachers when they're done?
So Daniel was just in high school, so he really knows how this works.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
a high school
I dropped
dropout?
out of high.
Yeah.
You dropped out of high school. Get the bottle of wine. Get the bottle. No, we're not doing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
High school dropout.
So the
absolute
workflow-
Chad.
Yeah,
You
teachers.
front ran everybody. Everybody that was like coming into demo day.
Oh yeah, I
dropping
dropped out of college.
You're
It's like that's so played
you
out.
had to one up.
Yeah.
I had to go farther.
Yeah, I mean,
So
like
you're selling. I think we heard about you earlier. You're selling it back to your teachers now, like that you at
I
the
mean,
school you dropped out of.
Sort of. I mean, they don't really like me that much
No?
for some reason. Yeah, like on my final exam. Well, I mean, I skipped finals to go fly to. We went to this EdTech conference in
Okay.
Orlando.
Nice.
So I guess they don't really like me because of
Oh,
that.
no.
But we had to bring it to more teachers.
Well, they'll like you when you're the commencement speaker in a couple years.
Maybe, yeah.
Hopefully.
So the workflow is where teachers, usually students submit on Google Classroom or like Canvas.
Yep.
They submit a Google Doc or a PDF, and then the teacher opens it up, the doc, and they grade it within by
Yep.
like highlighting certain sections,
Sure.
adding comments,
Yeah.
a summary of the feedback. So we do the whole process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right in the Google Doc, and then we have the teacher review everything.
Mhm.
They can speak to our system to
Yep.
understand their tone and their style.
Yep.
So then we add those comments. in.
How is the actual like testing and grading and homework process changing? Because I imagine that like the solution to ChatGPT homework is probably everyone's on a laptop typing the answers in the classroom, and there's a monitor watching that you're not just AIing it, and then it can be AI graded, and then that's a win for everyone.
Yeah.
Is that roughly what's happening?
Yeah, like the thing that we've seen is like people say all the time, like students are writing with ChatGPT, teachers are going to grade with AI.
Yep.
Like, what's the whole point? But well, the objective of the student is to learn. Sure. And if you're just using like ChatGPT and mindlessly submitting something, well, then you're not doing the right thing.
Yep.
There's always going to be a way to get around it.
Yep.
If you really don't want to learn.
Yep.
But like for teachers, the main like objective is to give students the best feedback and instruction.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is just enabling them to do that a lot better, because even in school, when like our teachers would give us just like generic copy paste feedback.
Yeah.
So we just want to give students the best feedback possible.
Okay.
Give teachers their time back, and they really get the value because they're the ones experiencing the benefits.
Yeah. Talk to me about the top of funnel.
Why would you not at one point just give the tool to students as well?
Yeah, 100%. That's actually what we're working on next. So we just signed 3 contracts with schools last week.
Okay, congratulations.
And they want to be able to give this tool to students so that while they're writing, they're going to get real-time feedback on their Google Doc as if the teacher were adding comments in real time. So it's sort of like, you submit a rough draft to your teacher, they have to grade it, and then give it back to you, and then you can do a final draft. Instead of that, why not just have like the assistant give you feedback in real time?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
On the doc.
Yeah, that's great.
Very cool.
Talk to me about the top of funnel. How are you telling teachers that this works? I imagine at the price point you can't do hand-to-hand combat sales. How are you getting in front of teachers these days?
So we have 100 teachers that are paying completely out of pocket.
Okay.
And all of that has been organic through either the Chrome Web Store. So they find us when they install another extension like Grammarly.
Yep.
And then they tell their friends about it.
Yep.
So word of mouth has been really strong. We got 600,000 views on Instagram and Facebook in the past 30 days.
There we go.
We just started posting like memes and things like that, and teachers really they share it, and then they look at our page, and so they find us there.
That's great.
So that's the top of funnel up until this point, and we're going to start pumping out more like UGC style content.
We're actually going to the biggest EdTech conference in the U.S.
Let's go
at the end of this month.
The Super Bowl of EdTech.
Yeah, there's going to be 20,000 teachers there, and we
It's
got
gonna
a
be a
really
madhouse.
big. We bought a 400 square foot booth there, and we're going all out for it, trying to reach as many teachers as possible.
Congratulations.
Yeah. How did you guys make your first money on the internet?
How did we first make
back in the day? I used to make websites for like random people. I charged like this pastor in New Jersey like $3,000 to make his church a website.
Wow, there we go.
That was back when I was maybe 16.
There you go.
I made like a mental health chat app in like grade 10.
Nice.
And like a couple of people, like one person in Japan found it and they installed it and paid for it.
They paid for it.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's amazing. Congratulations. Have a great demo day.
Great to meet you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Really rooting for
High
you guys.
school's cooked.
Excited.
Call us when you meet the first. Yeah, we're good.
We got middle school
The next
dropouts
middle
next.
school dropout. That's where I was going with that. Welcome to the stream. We are live from YC Demo Day 2025. Good to meet you. I'm John. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the stream.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Meet you.
We're gonna have you sit down here. We're gonna have you pull this microphone as close as you can. Talk directly into it. Introduce your company. What do you do?
We are building AI agents for insurance claims operations.
Okay. How's that going? Is business ripping?
Yeah, we're 200K ARR now.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go where the money is.
Yeah.
That's why people rob banks, because that's where the money is.
That's right, John.
Go to the insurance industry.
It's expensive.
Who are you selling to? Are there? I assume that the insurance industry is very oligopolistic. There's a few big players, but is that not right?
We're selling to third-party administrators, which are these like claims outsourcing companies, of which there is a surprising number of. Yeah, it's like 42,000 across Europe.
When
and
did
America.
you realize that you guys loved insurance?
It's like I was 6 years old. I wanted to process claims. No, I'd seen it in my job before. Like sort of had some exposure. My roommate is an insurance adjuster, so it was like look over his shoulder.
Like, I'm going to put you on a job so you can hang out and go to more movies on the weekends. I don't like you working late. I want to get video games with you. It's great. That's the best. That's awesome. So yeah, walk me through what you're actually building, what the product experience is like, how it plugs in. I assume this is some sort of like co-pilot experience right now, or is it fully agentic?
It's a fully agentic experience. So the goal is to replace like autonomously parts of the workflow for the adjuster. So the thing we're live with our customers is like a claim intake agent. So when you crash your car and you call in, you basically ask you a set of structured questions and then creates structured data and writes it into the system of record.
Got it. Okay. And previously that was handled with someone on the phone talking and typing everything in.
My roommate.
Your roommate. Yeah, there you go.
Did you get him as a customer yet?
No, not yet. He works for a very big carrier, so that's going to be a longer sales cycle.
Playing the long game with that one.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And what were you doing before?
I was doing product consulting and then worked as a software engineer at Agentive, which is another YC startup.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
How's the round coming together? What's
Closed
it looking
it
like?
yesterday.
Closed it yesterday. Congratulations. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. Good luck.
Thanks,
to you.
Good
luck with everything.
Congratulations. We're moving into lightning rounds. I'm going to give you one of these. Let's bring in the next team. We're moving through these quicker. Thank you so much for hopping on. We are live from YC Demo Day 2025. Welcome to the stream.
Gentlemen.
Come on, sit down. What do we got?
Text AI.
Text AI. That's a good domain.
Are we supposed to suit up for this?
No, you can wear whatever you want.
Of course.
We don't have the right gear.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How you doing? Sorry, we don't have an extra chair.
I briefly caught like 30 seconds of your 2-minute pitch.
But give it to us again. Well, what's the pitch today?
Yeah, we're AI agent right in your group chats.
Okay, in the group chats.
Yes, sir.
How are you plugging in? Because I feel like iMessage, they really don't like when other companies plug in.
100%. We're carrier based.
Okay.
So as long as you have a number that you can just add to a group chat instantly, it's right then and there.
Are you a beneficiary of the RCS update?
Yes, we are.
Explain how.
Yeah, we're working through a couple of providers that give us a number. So all working with all the carriers like Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T.
Okay.
And then we're applying for the RCS. It's still in the beta stages, even though it's rolled out. But SMS infrastructure is one of the best infrastructure in the world. So that's working.
Whoa, hot take. I feel like everyone's annoyed by it. That's why Twilio exists. But, is it good now? It feels like it was terrible for a long time.
Nah,
I feel like the big question around adding an AI to your group chat is security. Some things that happen in,
Signal group chats. You want to be very careful about who you add.
Yeah.
We've seen this in the
add
news.
journalists to the
how
group
are you
chat.
handling security?
No, great question, guys. We don't sell your data.
Okay.
You can kick out the AI whenever you don't want it, right? You bring it in, bring it out. Nothing compared to like Meta AI where it's always living in there ambiently. It's completely under your control. So we don't sell any of that data either.
What's the most obvious use case? Like the family group chat creating a grocery list or something? Like give me some examples of how people are using this.
It's actually a lot of friends using this to get a restaurant recommendations, roasting each other.
Okay.
When do we need to actually all meet up? Have reminders in there. That's our first agentic
reminders,
flow.
okay.
Yeah, because in when you're planning trips and trying to go out, there's always that one person that's like, no, I'm too busy, or this doesn't work for me, and someone has to put in the screenshot. Someone's always taking the lead. Simplified
this idea
it.
of adding agents to group things, it feels like I saw this meme that was like, I joined a Zoom call and it was 7 AI agents. Do you see this one?
Everyone's seen this.
Yeah, everyone saw this. And it was like the one poor girl and then like this person's note taker and Fireflies and Lou and this one and this one and this one.
Yeah,
and,
how are you thinking about building the agents yourselves
like
versus letting people build on top of text AI?
I think two things. Number one is like the quality control that has to come in along the things like you said on the data piece. We're a consumer company. We're like text.ai. People are interacting with us. You want to be very careful of allowing third parties to come in here and see what they do with the data. That's prevalent. And second is like we build it ourselves so we can really figure out specific use cases like calendaring, for example, working with other people's calendars, giving you a exact answer like, hey, between all 5 of us, when's the best time where we can actually grab coffee later this evening?
Yeah.
And it can actually find it, done and dusted right then and there.
How much of the go-to-market is just pure viral growth because someone gets added, you realize that it's text AI, and you add it to the next group chat, and it just kind of goes from there?
Can you add a Studio Ghibli machine to the group chat?
That is a great question. We have Ghibli images working. I wish I can put it on live stream right now, but we actually have collaborative AI where we can actually start doing images.
That's
People
very
can
cool.
edit it together.
I mean, that was the beauty of Midjourney is that they use Discord, right? And then so if Jordy writes a great prompt, I can kind of spin off that. Makes sense that would happen in iMessage and everywhere
There's so
else.
many fun, and I'm already thinking like anytime somebody shares any photo, just immediately make it like a Star Trooper version of that.
That's like half of our group chat. It's like somebody just me sending Ghiblis of all the other guys in the chat. It's great.
Isn't it exhausting that everyone like cuts and pastes?
Yeah, you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Make it so that everyone is accessing it equally
Yeah,
as they need to.
Yeah.
And the beauty is you can create an image, he can edit it, and someone else can edit it on top of it.
So it's much more collaborative.
There is no need to really copy paste images.
You guys want to get a fun use case that we saw just develop? This is the best part of being consumer, right? Is that you get to put this out there and you get to see what people do it. hinge dates.
Oh.
Someone goes in, brings them into a text thread, says, hey, by the way, I have my AI staff here, digital staff.
Yeah.
Do you have any restrictions? Do you have any favorite
Oh,
restaurants?
interesting.
And so
Okay,
you can
yeah.
imagine, like, this is well above beyond use cases you can have imagined.
Yeah.
It's going to places where people are being really thoughtful about how do you bring it in to make
Interesting.
it more easy for us to have a human connection.
What were you guys doing before this?
So I was at Tesla for 4 years, leading
Can
their.
you explain what Tesla is?
No idea. Your guess is best as mine. I was leading the digital supercharging team there and the vehicle subscriptions team.
That's great.
And then Prahar.
Yeah, I was leading an engineering team at Walmart. And then before that, I used to.
Let's give it up for big retail.
Can you explain what that is?
I wonder what Walmart is, huh? But before that, I was at Eventbrite and OpenTable doing a lot of consumer personalization.
So some of the same workflows.
So that's why
I'm
I think
sure.
one of the main reasons we founded Text AI was our rich sort of consumer background.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, no, I've had a blast of being in media for a long time. Most recently, I was the CEO of a B2B media company down in Los Angeles. We exited. I sold it over in October.
Cool.
I've known these guys for 8 years.
Yeah, nice.
Rishi's first job was at a crypto startup my wife was at.
No way.
She hired him, and then he wouldn't leave our house. He just like showed up. And so
That's
I've
amazing.
seen him do everything. And then Prahar, of course,
Yeah.
these guys went to school together. And so the opportunity after going in and doing a lot of executive jobs at like publicly traded companies
Sure.
and whatnot, I think if you want to know what's happening, you got to get hands on keyboard.
Yep.
There's no the executive talk and pretend like you understand it.
Nah.
You got to get back on. And so for me, this was a great opportunity to go work with these two guys and start from scratch and just get to know what's happening because this is going to be the platform for the next 15 years.
That's amazing. Well, congrats.
Thank you very much.
Quick
Enjoy the
question:
rest of your-
How's the watch game at in your guys' batch? I see you guys each the Texas
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Couple
what's
of
going
Pagani's.
on?
He has a better catch. He's leading
Hey,
the way.
I
You
might
earned
take
it.
this
My
time out.
first time
I
is
might
great.
be the oldest founder ever to go through YC, and so yeah. No,
What are you
That's
like?
wild.
32?
Oh,
Yes. Lucky
we'll see.
guess.
I'm going to
Lucky
stay with
guess.
that. Yeah. Closer to 50 than I am to 32.
Okay. Well, Cool.
appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Right,
Pleasure.
yeah,
Thank
James.
you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you
Cheers.
very
Goodbye.
much. Pleasure.
Up next,
Later,
we have
guys.
another team coming into the studio. Welcome.
guys.
Good to see you. Come on. Welcome to YC Demo Day. I see 2 sweatshirts.
Pull the mic up.
Hey. What is that? Why?
Preliminary.
Just preliminary. You just assume that they're blowing out their metrics.
I just assume that you're
How you
crushing.
doing? Good to meet you.
What's up? Hey,
Can you kick us off with an introduction on you and the company that you're building today?
Hey guys, we're building ValueMate. We're automating real estate appraisals.
Okay.
With AI.
When did you realize you wanted to evaluate real estate appraisals?
Yeah. So a little bit, family background, like things of the sort. We kind of discovered this pain point. We both study AI at CMU. We have families that have background in it, and seen appraisals and things of the sort. Super inefficient process. And we were like, it's one of those industries just perfect, like just ready, to become a lot more efficient. And that's kind of how we got into the space.
What is the structure of the legacy market today? You guys are providing a tool for people that do appraising.
Yeah, exactly. So like the current competition has literally existed for 40 years, right? And it's just like appraisal reports is like a snapshot of like a property value.
Human goes in and looks at things,
looks
takes
at
some pictures, and writes down
a lot
the
of
quality
takes
of
some
the
pictures.
trim and
exactly.
floorboards and mold.
So we bring this entire thing down to just a scan.
Okay.
Right. So you scan it. We build a 3D model, 2D
Yep.
floor plan. Our computer vision takes notes.
Sure.
And then we pull data from all these various sources.
Got it.
Right. And then we use AI to obviously fill out this kind of report. So it's a pretty time-consuming process that we're able to bring down.
Is it a partnership with Zillow to do a better Zestimate, or truly augmentation co-pilot for the existing true appraisal reports that are used in underwriting?
For the true appraisal reports that are used in underwriting.
Got it.
Because the issue with Zillow, and every appraiser will kind of tell you this, is like super inaccurate. Like Zestimate is like, like people are like,
yeah,
what's
it's mostly
Zestimate?
based on like recent sales in the area. It's not actually the quality of the building.
Exactly, right? So what we're able to do is
doesn't even take into account remodels.
Exactly.
Because they don't know.
Right? They don't know. They don't have the data. And what we're able to do is have this digital twin, like literally of a property. So it's actually along the way as we're building this and selling, software appraisals and things of the sort. We also have the most valuable property data set that anybody's going to kind of have to build future models. Because it's super accurate.
Give us what were you guys doing before this?
Sure.
Before this, we were students at Carnegie Mellon University. We dropped out.
Nice.
Sophomore years.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's a couple guys in your
Dropped out of
class
high
earlier,
school,
they dropped
so
out of high
it's
school.
not really special anymore. But you did reformed you. Talk to us about traction. How are things going?
Things have been going super well. We started selling 20 days ago.
20 days.
And we're at $124,000 in annual recurring revenue.
Congratulations. You were correct to bust the confetti.
Do you guys get the round done already?
We are still filling out our round.
Okay.
Late stage talks with some leads.
Good luck.
But it's looking like we're gonna fill it out.
Congratulations.
Last question. When did you first discover YC?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
First discover YC. So my freshman year roommate from Carnegie Mellon was actually YCF24.
Oh, there you go.
And
Told you about it.
In my mind since then, I was like, okay, I have to do this.
You got it.
And then we did it.
Well,
so.
welcome. You're in the league now.
You're in the league.
Playing the
welcome
majors,
to the league. Welcome to Silicon Valley. And welcome to Demo Day. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks,
We will
guys.
talk to you guys.
Thanks, guys. Good to meet you.
Well, let's
Have a
bring
good
in the
one.
next crew. Thank you so much.
We got a line.
We got a line out the door. We're gonna bang through these. These
guys got QR codes on their sleeves.
Bloom.
Yes.
Bloom. Are you building Bloom filters?
No.
What do you? What?
So the easiest way to
Bloom and
explain-
onions.
Nope.
No. Okay, break it down.
No. So lovable, but for native mobile apps.
Okay,
It's
cool.
The easiest way to
Oh,
explain what we're doing.
interesting.
We'd love to just like show you.
Please.
Okay, so have you guys tried to build mobile apps
3
before?
touches. What is that? I've never seen that interaction before.
Yeah.
He's got a UI from the future.
So have you guys ever tried to build
Yes,
mobile apps?
yes. I wrote Objective-C. It was terrible.
Okay.
I wrote Xcode. It was awful.
Perfect. You're the perfect.
Sucks. It's so bad. No, we love Apple, but we're very excited about the Anthropic partnership.
Yeah, so typically you'll have to write code, you'll have to build the app in Xcode or something, you'll
Yes,
have to submit it for
compile
apps to
it, submit it
review,
review,
you have to
yep.
get your users to download it and
Yep,
test flight,
yep.
enter an invite code. Okay, so with us, I can literally just like talk into my phone,
Okay.
build a native app, and then
Okay.
I can send it to you via literally bumping phones.
Oh,
Do
interesting.
you have an iPhone?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
Let's see this.
And it'll
Okay.
just load the app
Let's
right
see.
onto the home screen.
Okay. Malware installed. All personal information extracted. Here we go.
I don't know.
I got one. Let me see.
Let's try again.
We got half.
I mean,
Let's
this
see.
is
Live
just
demos
using
are tricky.
AirDrop.
I think. Do you need to turn it on again? No. Oh no! Live demos. They're so
Yeah,
tough.
AirDrop. Like maybe we need another iPhone.
Are you on the same Wi-Fi?
You want to try?
Yeah, I'll try.
Let's see. AirDrop. AirDrop is on. Oh, contacts only.
Yeah, that's
now it's
probably
on
the
everyone.
issue.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, cool.
Let's try it now. There we go.
All
It was
right,
it was
so
skill
it's
issue.
coming.
Skill issue, maybe. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it going?
This is
I
all
got
Apple.
the wave. You saw the wave, right?
Yeah.
I only
I
have
saw it
Ramp,
initially.
Public, Add Quick, 8 Sleep,
No.
Wander, and Bezel installed right now. Those are the only apps. I have.
Let's give it one more shot. You can take
Really?
it.
Let me try it.
Otherwise, we'll have to
refresh.
maybe try on your phone.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not like this is live or anything. Okay, you try. You try.
Yeah. We'll give it a shot. Anyways, keep while we're.
Yeah, so
try it.
so when someone like tries to build an
go.
app with Bloom, right?
It's doing the
I don't
wave,
know.
but it's not doing that.
I think it's
don't
the
know.
internet. The internet just sucks.
I think the internet is not
Let's
great.
blame the
Okay,
internet.
Anyway, so what
Yes.
you would see is you'd be able to open this app
Yes.
on your phones like instantly, right?
Okay.
And it uses app clips
Yes,
under
yes.
the hood.
Oh yeah. Okay.
very
Okay. So
cool.
that's how you're getting the app on
yes,
without me
exactly.
actually installing the full app. Cool.
Exactly. And then
Oh, so you're really hacking the app clips thing. That's awesome. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
And so the other thing is like when you prompt to build an app with us, we also automatically deploy a backend for you that real time syncs data between devices.
As I understand app clips, it's like there's like one app, like the Uber app exists, and then there's an app clip that ties to Uber. Are you creating like custom app clips? It's all around one iOS.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
It's
Okay,
one
yeah.
Bloom app clip
One
that
Bloom
then
app.
loads apps
whatever
from anyone. Like
so it's like an app store within an app store.
Yeah, kind of thing like
wait,
that.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, I
so
want to
no,
say that. We don't want to say those words.
We've
but-
talked on our show before about this idea of like ephemeral apps,
Yep,
like apps
yep,
as
yep.
like memes.
Exactly.
Like there's a lot of
Exactly.
things that should exist, but only for like a day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We've had so many ideas for like funny apps, but
Exactly.
we don't want to actually go pay, find
Exactly.
someone
Oh, it used to
do
be
this.
there's so many people
difficult.
people have an idea for an app, and you're like, well, you realize it'll cost like $1 million to build that.
Exactly.
It's like
So
it's
much
not
upkeep.
actually valuable.
Exactly.
Got it,
Like
okay.
with us, we built an app for Demo Day
Yep.
in 5 minutes that everyone in the audience could just scan to like vote on our valuation in 5 years, and it like had a graph that updated in real time for everyone because it
amazing.
has a backend connected to
very
it.
cool.
And so what we want to enable is a creator economy, but for
Yep.
software.
Okay, under the hood, what are the best code generation LLMs that you're using?
Yeah.
What do you like? What's exciting, and how's that market developing?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we're obviously for the smartest models we're using Claude
Okay.
4 Sonnet.
Claude 4.
But we're also experimenting with a smart mode and a fast mode because
Sure.
sometimes people just want to make like a quick edit to their app, and like literally you can just speak into our phones, right? You just go into like this like edit mode, and then you can just type, hey, add this feature or whatever.
Very cool.
And so sometimes you just want those changes fast. Okay. And what's cool is like if you had this app open, it would also hot reload on your device.
Yeah.
Right. So
very cool.
What use cases are you most excited about? What are you seeing? What categories broadly?
Yeah, I mean, so right now we're seeing people that already think of software as a creative outlet use this. So developers, designers, and entrepreneurs.
Sure.
So especially for designers and non-technical entrepreneurs, it's great because they can just like their creativity gets unlocked with this.
Yep.
And so we're seeing people build all kinds of things like personal apps, but also apps that I wouldn't have imagined before, like someone in Africa building like a wildlife tracking app for their conservation.
Cool.
And then people building like funny apps for
to
weddings.
find the most delicious animals to go after. To conserve the animals for my own hunting. For my next hunting expedition. No,
but yeah, what I'm really excited about is like the apps that I can't even imagine, right? It's kind of like when the YouTube founders put out YouTube, I'm sure they weren't imagining vlogging.
Mr. Beast or MKBHD.
Exactly.
Just like, you put out images in ChatGPT. They didn't really imagine Studio Dollar happening.
And for us, I mean, it's software, so you can literally do anything.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How's the round going?
Oh, round is closed.
Oh, there we go.
Let's go. All right. Pleasure, guys.
Goodbye.
Good stuff.
Well, bring in the next team.
stuff.
Welcome to the demo day stream.
I'm breathing in the microplastics.
Oh yeah, it's really, this is violating everything I know about you. You're putting your life on the line.
How's it going?
It's
Hey,
great.
what's happening?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm John.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Hey.
Hi.
I'll just give away.
I don't have long.
Yeah, no worries,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
worries. Can you introduce yourselves? What are you building?
Sure. So we're Morpho AI. We're building a software tool for engineers that are building new robots and new machines.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
Yeah. So I came from the manufacturing tech world.
Okay.
We both met at Harvard. I was an MBA.
Cool.
He was a postdoc, and you should talk about yourself too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I met her when I was at Harvard. Like she said, we got an introduction from a mutual mentor. I did my PhD at MIT, focused on automating the design of robots. So it seemed like, wanted to bring that into some sort of product, show people in the world how useful it was and how it could change the way people design. And she was super excited about changing all the pain points in manufacturing. So we're doing this.
What is exciting in terms of robotics in manufacturing? There's a lot of noise about humanoids, but we talked to a lot of people who are just saying
robotics in manufacturing, or is it a tool to accelerate the manufacturing of robots?
Second one.
Yes, the second one.
But the main app, beachhead market, is really in industrial robots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So give us some examples of what those look like.
Yeah. So the crazy stat that we found is, if you're actually buying a robot off the shelf, you can't actually just like put it in the factory floor. Like 90+% go through a customization process.
Wow.
So that's like 6 months of lead time, and it takes up a lot of engineering hours. So one of our customers, they were trying to build a full new industrial robot arm. 6 months gone in, arms not lifting. They came to us, and in 2 days we basically redid their entire hardware design.
Interesting.
So quite literally, we're allowing engineers to build new robots overnight is the hope, and in the future, in a matter of minutes.
How concentrated is the robotic arm market? Are there just a few companies that you really need to integrate with deeply, or do you need to create something more generalizable out of the gate?
So we're starting out with a little bit more of the OEM side of things, but also these integrators that are buying these arms and saying, I now need a new hand. So out of like the 50,000 robots that get deployed in a given year, most of them have a new hand that's made. And so now you have a generalist engineer trying to make a new hand for 4 to 6 weeks in a new design. So really plugging in that early stage of what do I build before we even get to the programming part of it.
Yeah, the whole idea is you just have to input the task specifications that you need it to solve, and then as much as possible, we're automating of the mechanical and somewhat the control design side of things.
Is there a lot of data that you need to feed in? Is there a lot of data that you need to pull from the manufacturer before you can?
We work with parts that manufacturers have and that they like to work with. And aside from that, it's task specifications, but we, unlike a lot of the Gen AI companies out there, we do employ some Gen AI solutions, but they're all trained from simulation and not from data sets.
Interesting.
And that's really important because the data for how do you go from design to how well it's going to work, that doesn't really exist. Nobody takes logs and curates data sets of things they built and how well they worked.
Sure.
Talk about traction. Sounds like you guys already are in market.
Yeah, so we actually just got a grant from the UK government, £2.5 million British pounds, the last couple of months ago.
Non-dilutive?
Fully non-dilutive.
Congratulations, we love it for that, Jordy.
Oh my God, my ears.
It's gonna happen.
Hey,
That's less loud in here than out there.
Non-dilutive funding from Europe just shooting themselves in the foot.
Not getting on the captain.
They're going to be like, why didn't we get
equity? At least like a quarter point or something. Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you. None of us are British, but they basically have this.
Well, we're setting up an office in London. Like, we're really excited about working with them and setting up an office.
Of course, there's benefits to the research community.
Yeah,
absolutely.
we have a lot of collaborators there as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That's great.
It'll be an amazing outcome for them.
So, I mean,
last thing, bull bear on humanoids.
Yes, humanoids. What's your take?
I'm bear, but like medium bear. I don't know. It was like, okay, if you're going to build a humanoid, which humanoid? Like, people come in all sorts of sizes and shapes.
Yeah.
A construction worker is not the same as like a toddler or something like that.
Ballerina,
not toddler, but like ballerina, exactly.
Yeah, linebacker looks different than a
So you're going to
sprinter.
need custom designs regardless of what you do. But I mean, the other side of things is just like, what is the application right now of the humanoids that isn't solved better by re-engineering the things around the humanoid? There's a long tail there. So we hope we can help people to design the humanoids of the future. Just don't think it's here yet.
Yeah. I think there's
you're not saying bearish in a 100-year timeline. You're
or
saying
even maybe a
bearish in
10-year
like 2-year
time. Yeah, I just think it's a little.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
Very reasonable stance.
Awesome.
Anyway,
All right, great to meet you guys.
congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you a salute so we don't have to deal with the whole.
Or we could do like an air fist, like it's COVID. Oh, okay, perfect.
Anyway, let's bring in the next team.
We're putting the word out.
Thank you so much. The table is now covered with confetti.
The UK
we predicted
is giving
that this
out
was going to happen.
millions of dollars for free.
Head over across the pond. This could be the greatest capital extraction event, the greatest wealth creation event in history. Since the Boston Tea Party. Anyway, good to meet you.
What's up?
Welcome to the stream. My name's John.
Rajat.
How are you doing? Can you introduce yourself and the company?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm Rajat. We're Prism.
Okay.
Prism is an agentic observability company.
Okay.
So we let developers configure agents to watch their production systems.
Okay.
So read logs for them, watch videos of their customers using software, and then enable them to take certain actions. So like create issues on Linear, GitHub.
Yeah, Linear. Sponsor the stream. Let's
exactly.
Hear it for
Yeah, I did that on purpose. And, and send reports to Slack. So
That's great. That's great. Well, how's adoption been? How are you selling in? Are you going medium-sized scale-ups, other startups, YC companies, enterprise? What are you thinking?
Bottom up. So this is a tool that every developer needs and every developer can use. So we're starting with the YC community.
Cool.
We're completely self-serve. So there's 23 people on the platform and counting.
Yeah,
more people sign up and start using it every time.
Is there an
were you guys iterating through the batch process?
We were. Oh yeah, we were. So the first version of the product. So it's like we watch videos of people using software, right?
Sure.
So the first version of the product was these two watching everyone's videos and just giving them issues and like sending them Slack messages and stuff like, guys, this is broken. You need to fix this.
Yeah.
So that we were basically like a services business, but we didn't tell everyone. We told them it was AI, and it was just these two. So that was the first version of the business.
Got to start somewhere. That's awesome.
True.
How's fundraising going? You guys in the midst of
great.
it?
It's going great.
Oh,
We're
yeah?
in the midst of it. Still, still trying to finish up the round.
Yeah. Good luck.
But yeah, we're excited.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
What were you doing before?
I was at Greptile, which is a code review company.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I think you guys,
Crazy
their
website.
website.
We love their website.
Dragon with eating the bug.
That's amazing. That's a great website.
Yeah.
And you too?
I was a software engineer at Palantir.
Oh, cool.
And I worked in product at Johnson & Johnson.
Oh, very cool.
Nice.
Okay.
Alex
Give it up for Big Pharma.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So Lan and I met in high school, and then all three of us were at Georgia Tech together.
Oh, cool.
But
Yeah,
Alex
Georgia Tech,
actually had a
great.
post on LinkedIn this morning about how he left $850K a year behind at Palantir to come work with us. So
there we go.
Well, I think you'll make it all back on this
burn the
startup.
boats.
Just burn the boats. Anyway, good luck with the rest of Demo Day.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Nice to
Great
meet
to meet you guys.
Cheers. Take care.
We are ready
Later.
for the next guest on the YC Demo Day
And
stream.
we got
Tyler is
10
crushing.
minutes left.
10 minutes left, and then we gotta go. Yeah, we can speed through this as much as we can. We got 10 minutes until we gotta go to the airport. Is that right? Or start packing? Till
I
wrap.
think it's
Okay,
just
10 minutes.
the show's
we got
gonna
10
be
minutes
over.
more. Come on in. Don't even bother introducing yourself. Just tell us what you do. What company are you building? How you
We
doing?
are Climb. We are Perplexity on internal documents.
Okay.
So search is being heavily disrupted by AI at the moment, as
Yep.
you know. Google is being disrupted by Perplexity, and we're doing that for internal enterprise search.
Okay, competition with Glean. They just raised a bunch of money. How are you thinking
We're
about
going
it?
to replace them.
You're going to replace them?
Love it.
They're just getting started and you're replacing the
Perplexity is
replacement.
replacing Google.
Yeah.
We're replacing Glean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Shots fired.
how do you do it? What's different? How do you actually integrate? Are you building a bunch of integrations or are you building on top of an integrator?
We have our own integrations.
Okay.
We found that the only way to do this, to actually build AI agentic search, is to build it from the ground up.
Yep.
And that's why all these legacy players have to do that as well.
What's more important in integration with Google Docs, for example, or integration with like the data lake? That maybe somebody has a Snowflake installation.
What's more important?
Yeah,
I mean,
for you.
it's important to have both of them that you can connect them together.
Integrate both and then you connect
We
them
have
together.
about 45 connectors.
45 connections. Okay. How about customers? How many of those you got?
We have 8. We only launched 2 weeks ago. And we signed them all up.
Congratulations.
What's the biggest challenge? Is permissioning hard? Maybe at smaller companies, it's not as much of an issue, but as you go kind of up market,
it's dealing with all the different types of data, and this is why B2C companies don't play in enterprise space, because when you have to look at Salesforce data alongside messy Excel sheets, then it becomes harder to connect them together. But that's the value in it.
Where can companies go to get started?
They can go to clom.com. They can try our live demo now.
The 5-letter domain already. Congratulations.
5-letter domains.
Congratulations on Demo Day.
They can talk to us directly.
And fantastic JLC reverse.
Thank you very much.
It's a fantastic
Love
watch.
it, guys.
We'll
Awesome.
see you soon.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much for hopping on.
Guys.
Cheers.
Let's bring in the next team. We're doing lightning round at YC Demo Day 2025. Welcome to the stream. What do you do? What are you building?
AI co-pilot for solopreneurs.
Wow, exactly.
Okay, get out of here. Good job. Now, how's it going? How many customers do you have? What data are you sharing today at YC Demo Day?
Who's more cracked?
He's definitely the most cracked engineer we have ever seen.
He's the most
There we
cracked
go.
engineer.
Absolutely, he's the most. So we have gone from 0 to 300K ARR in just last 9 weeks.
Let's go. Congratulations.
Yes, so
Fantastic.
that's what we're doing.
Absolute dogs.
And yeah, we're seeing this future where solopreneurs are going to completely wipe code and run their entire business on Cactus. So, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're building.
Okay.
Great name.
Thank you.
What were you guys doing before this?
We built a previous YC company. He was a founding engineer. We scaled it up to 2.5
Founding
million
engineer.
ARR.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm cracked.
He's that guy.
He's a cracked sales guy. I'm the cracked engineer, and together we are the cracked founders.
So crack sales guy, how are you actually selling this thing? Is it hand-to-hand combat with these solopreneurs, or are you doing like viral marketing? We've seen Levels get a lot of attention for solopreneur stuff. How are you actually attracting people?
Absolutely. So it's mainly through word of mouth that's been spreading. What we also do is outbound, where we call them. So think about a caterer, a private chef. They're busy cooking all day long. Call them. They don't pick up as expected. They're busy. We leave them a message saying, hey, you just missed an opportunity, guys. So yeah, they get back and then they set up Cactus. They get incremental 10 to 15K in a month revenue. And the biggest thing is the headache for them is gone, right? They don't have to answer the phone.
Yep.
That's the best
That's
thing.
amazing.
Yeah.
300K ARR. How's the fundraise going?
It's going great. We just got completely oversubscribed.
Exactly. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the stream.
Right.
We're bringing in the next
Thank you.
team.
Thanks, team.
Have a great rest of your demo day. Come on down. We're live from YC Demo Day 2025. And we have our next team in the building.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm John.
Nice to meet you, Shawnee.
Welcome.
Good to meet you guys.
Hi.
What's happening?
Would you mind introducing your company? What are you building?
Yeah, for sure. So we are building Lumari, which
Cool.
is essentially helping go-to-market teams build tools internally instead of having to buy super expensive SaaS.
What tools do go-to-market teams need?
Like it could
Like
be
golf
anything
clubs,
from
like,
Golf club buying machine on subscription and steak dinner booking.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. I wish we did that. But we are helping them like from anything from deal scoring, qualifying leads, making contracts, like anything down like the sales pipeline.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
What does the future of the stack look like? Are you guys gonna are you trying to verticalize effectively and allow people to build custom software at every point?
For every point, yeah. I really think we're gonna look back to this era of SaaS of like having all these generic tools that you're using and think that was really silly because why wouldn't you have software that's custom built for your company, for your process? And so I think exactly that. We're gonna start with replacing some of these really point solution software, but I think in the future, every company's gonna have their own CRM.
What were you guys doing before this?
What were we?
What were you doing before
YC?
YC?
I was at Stripe. Sam was at Google.
Amazing.
We were
Sort of a non-traditional background.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who's the key person actually using the tool? Is this for a non-technical person?
It's a non-technical person
Interesting.
within these go-to-market teams, often like a revenue operations, sales operations.
That makes a ton of sense.
Awesome. How's traction?
It's been great. We're at 90K ARR in 3 weeks.
Congratulations.
Yes. Obviously, we're out of confetti.
Yes. Yeah, we are.
We're pretty much out. We got a couple left.
Okay. I'll let you say
They're kind of busted.
Anyway, thanks so much for coming on the stream.
Thank you so much.
We will
Really
talk to you
great
soon.
meeting you. Yeah.
Goodbye. Let's bring in the next team. We have 5 more minutes, right? Something like that. Let's go. 5 more
John's
minutes.
losing his voice.
Let's go. I'm losing my voice. Welcome to the stream. Introduce yourself. Introduce the company. Good to meet you. What are you building?
All over your shirt.
I'm Yoav, and this is Shurya.
Okay.
We're second time exited YC founders.
Let's go.
Our second time startup. Thank you.
Addicted to startups.
Addicted to startups. We're building Third Chair.
Okay.
It's agents for in-house legal teams, and we're starting with media and entertainment companies.
Oh, interesting. Very niche down. Not just like legal AI, but you've actually found a real.
You want to dominate a small market?
No, it's a massive market.
Oh, it is.
But we're starting by dominating media and entertainment. Yes.
Okay.
So we're starting by helping media and entertainment companies find IP infringements.
Oh, interesting.
And we collect evidence around it.
And then that's revenue driving immediately, right?
Exactly.
Yep,
It's
so
a
you just
revenue
take a cut of
generating
that.
workflow.
Is that the business model? You take a cut of whatever you get, or is it more seat based?
We have a software model, but we also take a cut of what we get.
Both.
So it's kind of a
Two
mix.
bites of the apple. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And we're
That's
exploring
great.
a little
That's
bit.
great. How's traction?
So you guys
What have you
full
shared?
stack. You're
Oh, yeah.
finding the IP infringements, and then you're actually sending demand letters.
Someday we're going to be a vertical AI law firm, and there's a lot of we're handling the entire workflow right now, and a lot of it is being done through agents. But our customers just think of us as people who get things done, and they don't care about how the black box is working.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What metrics have you been sharing? How's demo day going? Is this your 3rd demo day then?
It is
second demo day.
Second demo day.
Second demo day. Second demo
Were you
day.
guys co-founders
It's going
last
great.
time?
What's that?
Were you co-founders together last time? Or?
No, we had separate startups.
Separate
different
startups.
companies.
Rivals
Finance company
joining
before
forces.
this, social media analytics. Now we're in legal.
So
team
YC
of
Alumni
rivals.
Network is strong.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
great.
we teams up, and traction's going great.
Cool.
We just crossed 100,000 ARR. We're working with
Congratulations.
the biggest media and entertainment companies in the world now, expanding to brands, doing stuff like marketing compliance. So yeah,
That's great. Well, congratulations on all the
Thank
progress.
you guys so
Thanks
much.
for stopping by the stream. We will talk to you soon. Let's bring in the next team. How are you doing?
Q.
Ooh, I like this hat.
QFX.
Mets and Capital.
What's
Here,
going
take a
on?
seat. Introduce yourself. How you doing? I think solo founder. We got to give him a hat, a TBPN hat.
Oh yeah,
How you
definitely.
doing?
I'll
Introduce yourself.
swap.
Introduce
That's
the
amazing.
Swap.
Here. you have
Perfect.
this.
Let's swap. Yeah. So hi guys, I'm Anani. I'm CEO of QFX.
Cool.
We're making a 24/7 stock exchange.
Okay.
So we're going to let institutions and retail trade traditional assets like U.S. equities and commodities, real time 24/7 without brokers with loads of leverage, just like you.
Loads of leverage.
Loads of leverage.
Exactly. Yeah. Who doesn't love leverage, right?
How's the traction been? It feels like it's really hard to
And
get
what's
these things
the
off.
underlying? Is this a sneaky blockchain company?
There's no blockchain.
No chain.
There's no blockchain.
It's off the chain.
It's completely off chain.
Okay.
It's basically it's like a crypto exchange, but without the blockchain parts. We've taken those improvements and moved them over to the traditional assets world.
Okay.
And the traction is good. We've been running it. We've not been running it to the YC batch because we're not licensed yet.
Sure.
But we've
been running some internal experiments.
Yeah, some internal experiments to the current YC batch, and due to those experiments, we're launching in a couple of months with a license. And
Are you
we'll
launching
be
offshore? Or are you gonna be
offshore,
launching-
offshore in Bermuda.
We'll get you
Bermuda.
back.
Bermuda.
It's okay,
Bermuda's
you
a
know.
nice place.
If you guys have,
it's
it's
you're gonna be
a great
taking a lot
place.
of trips there.
Yeah, exactly. Free rum if you come visit our office.
There you go.
Fantastic.
There you go. How do you get into this?
I was a quant, Tower Research before,
Okay.
And my co-founder was at Citadel.
Well, you're our
Fantastic.
quant now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congratulations.
Awesome.
on Demo Day.
Congratulations.
We'll
Excited
talk to you
to
soon.
follow the progress.
Yeah.
Great to meet you guys. Cheers.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Come on
Loads
down.
of leverage.
Loads of leverage. We love to see it. Welcome to the stream. Tell us what you're
Minerva.
building.
Wait, were you here last? You were here last time, were you not?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, sorry. I thought I recognized another company.
Minerva. Yeah,
had
it
like a
does
similar
seem
name
like a
in
similar
the
name.
last batch.
Anyway, introduce yourself. What are you building?
Yeah, I'm building an AI accounting for small businesses.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So-
How's it going? Do you have small businesses on the platform already?
Yeah, we have a few small businesses. We're just trying to automate all of their bookkeeping.
Yeah.
So, chase people down for receipts, make calls.
I feel like there's so much that's already built into the accounting suites. Like, do you have to sit on top of QuickBooks, or do you actually pitch people, hey, let's rip out what your existing accounting solution?
No, we're sitting on top of QuickBooks.
Okay.
There's no point replacing the
That makes
software.
total sense.
Yeah, we're
Right.
just replacing the service side of things.
Sure.
So consolidating all the scattered data.
That makes total sense.
Sits in all different kinds of places. Your WhatsApp, your email, your Stripe.
Sure.
Everything.
What were you doing before this?
Sorry?
What were you doing before YC?
I was building a health tech business. We were selling AI patient triage software to clinics. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. How's traction been? How's the raise going? How's demo day been?
Yeah, demo day's been great. We are raising $2 million and roughly like 3/4 finished. So just trying to wrap it up.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Classic 2 on 20.
That's great.
20.
Love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congratulations. Hope
Thank
you have
you
a
so
great
much.
rest of your demo day.
Thank you. Cool.
Last one. Bringing it in, closing it out strong with
What's going
is it
on?
Sim Studio?
Studio.
Are you simulating things?
Yes, we
I'm
are.
simulating.
What's
We're
going on?
Hey, how are you? Nice to
We're
meet
simming.
you.
We're simming.
Okay,
How
yeah.
you doing?
Great. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Break it down for us. What are you building?
It's an open source platform to build AI agents.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's developer focused. It's like a Figma-like canvas to build agents.
Interesting. How many GitHub stars you got? We got to ask.
50 to 4,000 in the last 2 months.
Wow. Wait. You were at
50 to
50
4,000.
and now you have 4,000.
Yes.
Wow.
There we go.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
I
great.
appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah.
Oh, 4,000 GitHub stars. You'll love to see it.
Yeah.
There's smoke coming out of
Congratulations. We got 2 more.
I can't believe Gary let us bring these in.
Oh, yeah, he let us.
Yeah, the cleanup after is going to be interesting.
Anyway, how's traction been on the sales side? I imagine you have a product that you actually sell on top of it, not a nonprofit.
Yeah. So we can't disclose revenue numbers, but we have a lot of great customers.
Cool.
So Department of Defense.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Mercor, Epic Global.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a bunch of
Huge,
cool names.
huge.
So the round's definitely done.
Definitely done.
Definitely done. Do another one.
The round's done. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing before this?
So I was at Berkeley and my co-founder.
Berkeley! Oh, let's go! Let's hear for Berkeley, baby! Right across the bay.
Go Bears!
Right across the bay. We love it. We love Berkeley. It's so funny.
Yeah,
I'm completely covered.
it's everywhere.
Anyway, congratulations on the
I
cloud.
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's great. What's next for you guys?
Next is just making our
What do you
customers
get
happy.
after the Department of Defense? Where do you even go from there?
Yeah, I mean, just making developers happy, like building
Yeah.
the product out more and more.
Yeah.
And I think developers love us and big customers love us, so we're just like keeping that energy going, keep launching new products, building the team.
Yeah.
We have a really great like killer engineering team from friends at Berkeley, so yeah, we're excited to just keep growing and keep building.
What's the key value prop for building a platform for AI agents? Is it like interoperability between different models? Is it the ability to scale? Is it just price and cost
I think
and
the
speed?
question I have is like, even last YC batch, there was companies with this pitch, and I think the challenge is everybody wants to build infrastructure and picks and shovels for agents, but then it feels like you can build good software, but it's maybe even harder to get the kind of companies that can build high quality agents that actually have value. What's the secret to like finding even customers that are not just going to sign up but actually get value out of the product?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think a lot of people, especially right now, it's very in vogue to adopt AI, and so there's a lot of push, like top-down push from companies to adopt these AI implementations. But I think the biggest thing for us is that we're focused on not creating easy abstractions to make it easy to use, and I think that's where a lot of people fell short. It's like you're creating these abstractions that make your platform easy to use, but it's actually not powerful enough to really put AI into your production system. And so for us, we're really focused on actually, might be a little more, like might be harder to use, but because we remove the abstractions, you can actually power relatively complex applications like real world simulations, deep research, data transformations, because a lot of companies are sort of going after the sales and marketing use case, and for us, we're more focused on the developers and actually production systems.
Interesting.
Awesome.
How much is real world simulation like scaling right now? We've talked to some of these companies, and it seems like it's almost like video generation. It feels like very nascent. We really haven't had like this breakout Studio Ghibli moment for real world simulation. Like, how is adoption going there?
Yeah, it's actually going quite well.
Okay.
I think.
What are the applications?
Yeah, so the applications of that are essentially simulating like, I guess like one that would be interesting would be like, international affairs. So like understanding how like global events are going to play out, like with
conflict.
using agents.
No way.
Yeah, so that's like a broad topic that we're kind of interested
I've heard
in
about that with
exploring.
like economic modeling
Exactly.
even, and like housing prices. You can actually have agents running, and it was always like just like Grand Theft Auto level.
Right.
But now it's like, oh, what if each of them has like an internal reasoning engine powered by an LLM and has like 130 IQ instead of like turn left, I'm running A star.
Right.
Like, it's much better.
Yeah, and I think the thing that really our platform unlocked was being able to run thousands of agents in parallel at the same time. And I think that was one of our grounding thesis was that, we wanted to create this environment. Like Sim Studio comes from building simulations of things. So launching, 10,000 agents at a time. And perhaps some of them are going to come back and give you an accurate result, or some of them, might inform you in an interesting way. And so you take those aggregated results and you go do something with it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Great meeting you both.
Fantastic. And that is the end of our demo day stream.
Thank you to all
Tune in
of
tomorrow.
our partners.
We will be back in
tomorrow.
Los Angeles tomorrow, live
And,
from
thank
the
you to
TBPN
Gary and the
Ultra
whole
Demo.
YC
Yeah,
team
thank
for
you to the
having
Y
us.
Combinator team.
It is
fantastic. We're
major
so
white
back.
pill.
San Francisco's back. Gary Tan's back. He never left. YC never left. But
the Rosewood is back.
It's just a fantastic time in San Francisco. Fantastic time to be here at YC Demo
Have a
Day.
great afternoon.
Thank you for watching. We will see you